what we thought before. And again, as this begins to move into the west at 50 miles an hour, we're going to find that coming in here very shortly. So we're going to take a moment. We're going to reset everything, get you updated with the latest.
All right, you are watching continuous coverage here on CBS 12, and Chris Farrell has been doing an excellent job. It is our policy here at CBS 12 to stay with a meteorologist when there is a tornado warning. And Chris, you've been going for, I don't know, almost an hour now, and we need to go until 12:45. So I believe at some point we're going to give you some reinforcement and get Lauren Oleski in here. But I did want to point something out as we are now also in our area approaching high tide. We are watching the tides very closely and coastal flooding. Downtown Miami is already flooded with multiple feet. They are seeing a 5-foot storm surge, and it is rising quickly, according to reports that I'm seeing on social media. So as Chris is continuing to cover these tornado warnings, which is extremely important, I just wanted to reassure everyone that here in the background, we are following all the developing stories for you, and also we'll keep a close eye on those rising tides. And Chris, if there's any immediate flooding, we'll break in with that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Eric and Suzanne are over there, and they're taking all the notes and following social media where we're getting your pictures and the latest instant updates. You know, people see things, they take a picture, they tweet it to us, we get it, you get it, and in a span of less than 2, 3, 4 minutes, you're updated immediately, and you can't get any more immediate than that. We are still tracking this particular tornado warning right here, and this is for northeastern Indian River County, Sebastian and Vero Lake Estates right here, and over toward the coast right here, and this tornado warning goes up into southeastern Brevard County right here. And again, this warning is until 12:45 this afternoon. We've had several shear markers pop up like that one right there, and they tell us that there's rotation in the radar, which can lead to the possible tornado on the ground. Now, that could be a water spout, because it is out over the water in the Atlantic Ocean right there. But if that moved on shore, it would do the same damage and be considered a genuine bona fide tornado. Again, there's Melbourne Beach right there, and Malabar right there, and Valkyria right there, and we'll get down into Sebastian right there. That's one tornado warning. We have another tornado warning, and that's still in effect, I think, right down here in St. Lucie County, in northeastern St. Lucie County. And Lauren, we're getting a shear marker right here again. This one has popped up, and it's sitting there, and the longer these sit here, the more likely we have something on the ground. Can we zoom in here a little bit more? This is Selvets Road.
And I'm noticing, I'm looking at an app I have on my phone that does a nice job of also showing some of that radial velocity, because I know our viewers don't necessarily know what that is, and it's matching up pretty nicely to this rotation. So potentially the Indian River Estates area.
Yeah, exactly. And so let's kind of hold on to that picture there for just a second right here. There's Sunset Boulevard right there, and we had sunrise over there, and we're looking at some of the wind gusts that will be coming in tonight between 80 and 90 miles an hour. What I want to show you here is that this shear marker is for Indian River Estates right here, and move the camera around there just a little bit, for Indian River Estates right here and up through Midway Road and Sunrise Boulevard, and this is in Fort Pierce right here. There's the Turnpike, and there's Crossroads Parkway right there, Selvets Road. And in this area where we're seeing this, this is probably between somewhere around Midway Road right here and 25th Street. And if we could pull this down just a little bit more right here, we'll get some more definition on some of our cities. Again, Sunrise Boulevard, 25th Street right there. That's Midway Road right there. So that's White City right there. Sunrise Boulevard in Fort Pierce, 25th Street, Okeechobee Road right there. And this is where we're seeing that big shear marker, which could be indicating to us that we might have a tornado trying to form and trying to get on the ground. These are moving at 50 miles an hour, so that's why they come and go so quickly right there. Look at West Palm Beach over here towards the right there, as we look towards, looks like the Intracoastal right there, and already seeing the higher than normal tides, and that's from the CBS 12 storm tracker right there. So once again, these tornado warnings are popping up. There's nothing we can do about them except keep you informed on them, and we're going to get more throughout the afternoon and throughout the evening hours as Hurricane Irma continues to move slowly north into southwest Florida. By the way, we've got these shear markers up, and if you can tweet to us, let us know, either Suzanne and Eric. You can tweet you, Eric, at what? Eric_Roby?
Eric_Roby. And Chris, we do have some breaking news. I promised to tell you if we found some flooding due to the high tides. You can see the live pictures there at Curry Park, and it is literally just inches. But this picture is from West Palm Beach Fire Rescue. This is along Flagler Drive. It has started to flood here. Now, this is one of those low-lying areas where you would expect to see flooding first, but it is very close to the homes in this area. If you're not familiar with it, this is Greenwood Drive, right off of Flagler, and that is 1 block north of Southern Boulevard. So we are definitely starting to see those tides rise higher, and we are now seeing Flagler Drive start to flood. Okay, Chris, we're going to give you a break since you are Superman, the Energizer Bunny. Let's get over to Lauren Oleski and continue to follow the tornado warnings that we're now watching very closely.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. And yeah, we're going to let Chris sit down and not talk for a few minutes. So I'll take over here for a little. So if I could get Max 1, are we able to pull Max 1 up behind me instead of having Max 2? Because I've got the Max 1 controls. There we go. Thanks, producers. We're in front of me right now. So again, we do have that other tornado warning. This was our most recent one that was issued. This is for portions of, St. Lucie County there. This goes until 12:15 this afternoon. So we've got another 10 minutes or so of this. So I'm using other apps on my phone that do a better job of helping me specifically find it. And I do agree with where these specific shear markers are. We call these shear markers, these areas that show you rotation. So we'll take down the warning marker and you'll see right over there, right over the Indian River Estates area, there's Citrus Avenue, South 26th Street. That's where I am seeing some of that rotation. I'm also looking at it on some of my other applications that I have. So you already should be indoors. Your houses should have been boarded up. You're all likely sitting inside watching us through Facebook or listening to us on the radio if you did, in fact, end up losing power. So you're already in the right place where you need to be during a tornado warning. And Eric, we're going to constantly see these. And over the past 15 or 20 minutes, we've had 3 issued. Remember, these tornadoes spin up very quickly. They typically don't last too long, although I think one of them actually did make its way from Indian River County into Okeechobee, luckily into a more rural area. But again, we are still seeing these tornado warnings getting issued. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer for you. Again, there's Indian River Estates, Citrus Avenue, there's Tropical Isle Way, and Sunshine Boulevard as well. And these are the same areas that have been dealing with those very strong rain bands coming on shore. We'll zoom out, and you'll notice more of these shear markers, again, extending off northwest. This is also, I'll shift over there for you. Is this better? I have my producers talking in my ear. I want to make sure that you guys are able to see what I'm seeing. Okay, perfect. So there's the Okeechobee Road. We'll zoom in a little bit more for you. You'll notice the intersection there of, there's the intersection of Okeechobee Road with the Turnpike and I-95. That's also where some of that rotation is making its way. So again, just keeping an eye on a lot of these tornado warnings that we've had issued. They spin up with these very fast bands coming in. The bands move in quickly. We have the forward motion of Irma, and that creates that spin there that ends up popping up those warnings. So again, noticing
Lauren Lesky, I'm going to butt in
Yes.
here because I'm starting to get questions from concerned viewers on Twitter. They are asking if they have shutters up, do they still need to go into a safe room if they are in one of these areas where a tornado has been spotted?
Certainly. Yes, you should still go into the most interior room of your home. You want to put the most space, Eric, between you and the outside as possible. And you might hear, we've been kind of getting some of those reports from our fans that were, and our viewers, excuse me, that have been tweeting at you guys saying they've been hearing some of those almost train-like noises. And so you could be hearing that. But yes, if you are in, you should already be inside. You need to go to the most interior room of your home if you are under those tornado warnings. We're going to pull the warnings back up. We'll see where they are still issued. The National Weather Service issuing one for St. Lucie County. We also have another one issued for Okeechobee County. The one for St. Lucie goes until 12:15. So that's another 7 minutes. And we'll scoot over toward the Okeechobee County area right now. And again, to make sure that you guys are able to see this over my shoulder, this one is going until 12:15 as well. So this is a specific band that's been giving and indicating some rotation on radar there. We'll turn the radar off, let you guys see where that actual band is. So this extends from the coast of St. Lucie County inland toward Okeechobee County. Heavy downpours moving in as well. And another light just went off. That could be indicating maybe another tornado warning was actually just issued for our area. I'm waiting to hear the printer. I'll see if this actually just came through on my phone for you guys. So that was just another flood warning, actually, that was issued for some of our area. Johnny's here is with me as well. He's going to pull some of those papers up for us, see what some of those warners are.
On the floor. That's just the preliminary. So we haven't got a post.
So we're getting some reports as well from the National Weather Service. This is a tropical storm force wind gust that was measured in St. Lucie County, a 58-mile-per-hour wind gust. So really powerful.
Is that the strongest one we've had?
I think we had a a 64-mile-an-hour wind gust measured in St. Lucie a couple of hours ago, but most of the reports we've been getting in have been coming from Miami and Dade, and now that Irma's moving north, we are seeing more of these reports coming through.
Would you like me to run the radar for you a few minutes so you can do the full wall thing?
Let's do that. So can we have our producers take radar full, either at the wall, and then we'll have...
We can see the whole storm. And
so we can see all of it, so I'm not standing in front of you blocking. There we go. So let's do this. So we're getting these shear markers here. You guys see this, and John, if you want to switch it all, let me know, because I'm happy to drive radar for you as well. So we are seeing those shear markers, again, those little things that kind of spin, and they say the word early. That's kind of detecting some of the, there we go. So that's actually detecting some of the spin that we are seeing in the atmosphere. So this is St. Lucie County, Fort Pierce. There you are. There's Lakewood Park, the Turnpike, Okeechobee Road, at where it intersects with I-95 and the Turnpike, and then where the Turnpike and I-95 actually switch. We're also seeing this warning extend further out to the west, further along areas near the Turnpike. Again, that's mostly rural locations. That's, I believe, out near Fort Drum. So that's the good thing. These aren't in super heavily populated. Nonetheless, still have them. You'll also notice winds picking up as well off of West Palm Beach. There's the surge actually crashing into some of the seawalls there. Notice those palm fronds blowing off in the breeze. Still dealing with these early shear markers and detection. So if you are in Fort Pierce, tweet at Suzanne or at Eric. Let us know if you guys are hearing any of those really loud winds moving through. Another area of rotation getting picked up. There's north of the Turnpike. This is in northern St. Lucie County, and this really heavy band extends further off to the north. Toward southern Indian River County. If we could go even further to the west, John, and see how long this. So this extends even further west. There's Ossawa Junction as well. There, Eagle Island, you are further to the south of that. So this Okeechobee County warning, it does include areas near Ossawa Junction. Eagle Island, I believe you are not, however, in that tornado warning area. And then further back to the east, there's that spin again that we're seeing along the Turnpike, just north of Orange Avenue, Lakewood Park, south of your area. We are seeing heavy downpours as well near the Vero Beach area. There's Sebastian. Sebastian, you did have that tornado warning issued for your area. That has now expired. But you guys notice these really heavy bands that are moving on shore. Vero Beach, this extends to the west. You see all those little shear markers there? That's picking up that rotation. So this is where we're potentially seeing some of those potential funnel clouds, and if they are strong enough, they are then making it to the ground, hence that tornado warning being issued. So the National Weather Service is seeing these spin up and get indicated on radar, and I haven't heard the printer. I haven't seen our little warning light go off, so I am assuming that the National Weather Service is going to let these warnings expire for us at 12:15, which is in just 2 minutes from now. But still, our radar still does a nice job of kind of indicating those spin ups for us. Now, Eric and Suzanne, we've been dealing with really heavy rainfall in the Fort Pierce area. I think some areas received almost a foot already over the past few hours since Irma's really moved into the area. The good news,
Lauren, I've been looking at some of those rainfall totals, and yes, you are right. More than a foot of rain has fallen today. It stretches from Lakewood Park, which I'm getting some pictures now on Twitter of that neighborhood flooded, stretching down to Fort Pierce onto Hutchinson Island. There's kind of a bullseye right there where they have received almost 12.5 inches of rain.
Yeah, that's a lot of rain in a very short period of time, and that's why we were dealing with so many of those flooding issues there. So this isn't necessarily good news, Eric, because the rain isn't stopping, but you'll notice that this heaviest band has just moved north of Fort Pierce, and it does appear that for some time, the rain will be much lower, a little bit calmer for you. Again, I know that's it's just adding on top of the fact that we are dealing with more rain in that area, but at least, again, it's not quite as heavy as what they've been seeing for a good portion of the morning. We did have some training in that area, and that's when we see just the rain not stop. Heavy rainfall continues to move inland, and really Fort Pierce is kind of the area where that training band has unfortunately decided to set up, and that's why the rain was kind of so persistent there for the entire morning. You'll see Eagle Island, Bassinger, Okeechobee. You just had that heavy band come through your area. It's a little bit calmer where you are. Vero Beach, that heavy downpour over your area right now, and then further to the south, Hobe Sound, Indiantown, Port St. Lucie. Rain right now, a little bit calmer, but still we've got that heavy band moving across the central portion of Indian River County there. So that tornado warning that we had issued is about to expire in about 30 seconds or so. So that showing the National Weather Service doesn't see that rotation continuing anymore. Johnny, if we can head a little bit further to the south, show some of our viewers down near Martin and Palm Beach County, what they're dealing with down there. So Indiantown, again, Hobe Sound, there comes the heavy rain moving in. And again, producers, I want to make sure that we are on max 1 when we are showing this. Still picking up a couple little areas of rotation there in the Fort Pierce area. So you might briefly hear some of the wind conditions pick up where you are. Might get loud briefly, but National Weather Service not indicating that this is an actual tornado warning on the ground there. So those tornado warnings have now expired for us. You'll notice further to the south, Indiantown, the heavier rain is starting to move into your area. There's Hobe Sound, also starting to see those heavy bands making their way further to the north. And again, producer or directors that are back there, if we can get max 1 pulled up behind me. That's what Johnny is controlling on those controls there.
You mean you're not
right
seeing
now.
what I'm controlling?
You are on. We need to get max 1 behind us up if we're able to. There we go. So
okay, good,
so there's Wellington, Boynton, Palm Beach, but West Delray, the Mission Bay areas, West Boca. There's that very, very heavy band. This is now we're looking a little bit further into North Broward, Coral Springs, and Pompano, but these are all starting to kind of rotate further off to the northwest. So the Belglade area will start to see some of those heavy downpours moving in. There's West Palm Beach. The heavier downpours in northern Palm Beach County are a little more scattered, but this area right here, very persistent heavy rainfall in the Broward County area. That's going to kind of move up to the north and into the northwest. So some of our western communities in Palm Beach, southern Palm Beach County right now, West Boca, West Delray, West Boynton, that could start to make its way into your area. And then Belglade, these will start to reach your area as well. Now these bands are moving very, very quickly, kind of around that 45 mile an hour or so range, really fast. That's why we see those spin-ups moving up really quickly as well with some of those tornado warnings. That's why some of these shear markers pop up and then they're literally gone before we can even attempt to get that tornado warning called. Heavy band, again, starting to lift up to the north. It will eventually be cleared out of our area, and so we will see a little bit of some lighter rain, if you will. Obviously, the rain's not going to stop, but the bands will come in, they'll get briefly heavy, and then everything will die down, and then the wind will pick back up. You might get some of those tropical storm force and hurricane force wind gusts, and then they will die back down again. So Eric and Suzanne, the worst of it, maybe not until around 5 o'clock or so in the afternoon, but it will periodically just kind of intensify, if you will, for us over the next several hours.
All right. Thank you, Lauren Alessi. Great job getting us through all of those warnings, tornado warnings. If we have any more that pop up, we'll go immediately to our weather team. But we do have more breaking news just coming into the newsroom right now.
Yeah, Martin County School District has just announced that they also will be closing school on Tuesday, September 12th. So we heard Palm Beach County closing school on Tuesday. The superintendent just announced that about an hour ago. And now Martin County Schools is following suit, saying that basically they cannot guarantee that schools will be ready to go on Tuesday. There's going to be a lot of assessing damage, making sure that all of the schools have power and AC. And they are expecting that at least to go through Tuesday of getting all the preps after the storm moves through.
Yeah, the problem with a lot of the schools, the problem with some
County.
of the schools while you do that, Suzanne, is that many are shelters. So the longer that those shelters have to be open, the longer it's going to take for those schools to have to reopen. You know, they have to go through, they have to pick up after what is a massive project, clean, and also make sure all their facilities are secure and ready to go. They also have to inspect all of the facilities, especially with all the damage that we are now starting to pick up from around our area.
All right, St. Lucie County Schools also closed through Tuesday. So now Martin, St. Lucie, and Palm Beach County, I know, have confirmed schools will be closed on Tuesday. I'm looking for the 2 other, Okeechobee and Indian River. Once I get that information, I will bring it to you.
All right, let's get to breaking news anchor Linda Figueredo. She has been piecing together a lot of the pictures, and a bizarre phenomenon is happening around Florida because Irma is so powerful. Explain this.
That's right. It's so powerful. It's actually sucking away the water from the beaches. This is the video that's just coming out right now. This is out of Tampa Bay. Let's take that full. It's being pushed out. As soon as those winds change, though, that water is going to surge back in. But look how bare it looks at this hour as you're seeing some of these videos coming out. Now, we saw similar video of this strange scene out of the Bahamas. You can see a tweet right here saying Irma sucked up all the water. There's literally no water. The beach and ocean are gone. But there is a warning out there that even though the water is sucked away, it will surge back in. And those are some of the images we also saw out of the Florida Keys where folks were trying to take photos of water surging back, and then all of a sudden a huge surge came back in, overpowering those folks that were trying to capture those moments. So do be careful. Do know if the waters do recede in this area that they will be coming back very soon. And we've heard storm surges 10 to 15 feet along the coast. So that's something to be aware of.
You know, Linda, as you're talking about it, we've seen that in the Bahamas, which is what that video is. We've seen it in Tampa Bay. We've seen it on the river in Tampa. I've seen some pictures of that as well. But I just saw one also in Key Largo. Also, all that water being sucked out to sea. And, you know, if that water is being removed from one area, the storm surge is going to be that much more in another area. All right. Very interesting, Linda. Thank you for following up on that.
All right. Let's get over to CBS 12's Maxine Bensel. She was live in Jupiter earlier. Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
That has changed dramatically, Maxine.
Wow.
It
look at
sure
that
has, Suzanne. I mean, I'm sure you guys remember. Yeah, here comes. Here comes one of those big gusts of rain and wind. And look how far the water has come up the parking lot since we last talked to you. I mean, just look at it rolling in. And this is one of those moments I was telling you where you can hardly see, if you look across the water, you can hardly see the Jupiter Lighthouse. It is just whipping. This rain and wind is just whipping across the water. I mean, it's hard to see. And this is starting, it almost looks like a beach here, the way the waves are lapping into the parking lot. I mean, there's white caps coming in, and I would say that we're about halfway full in this parking lot. I'm going to step back into the frame to give you some perspective of where we are. I mean, this is probably the halfway line. It's starting to get really windy here. We've seen a tree or two come down, and take a look at my feet. I mean, every time one of these gusts come in, it takes it that much further up the parking lot. I mean, now as we walk, we're here, and there's only a couple feet until the parking lot's over, and there's a few buildings there, so I would expect that it's probably going to end up in the grass and maybe into some of those homes. One of them is on stilts, so that's good. And like I said, you know, we're right by the Square Grouper here, a popular spot in Jupiter, and they're having some of the same issues. That dock now, look at the dock, completely covered since the last time we talked to you. So...
We just lost her audio, and that obviously happens, especially in conditions like this.
But
yes.
If we can keep with her pictures, if that's all right, because, you know, we are watching this, and we're now in about high tide there. And the pictures, or the, if we can maybe tell the photographer, if we can keep showing the inlet there. There we go. I know they're trying to stay safe as well, so just bear with us. You can see that dock there that Maxine was talking about that has been cut off. You can see the white part there. That's where normally is land, and that's how much the water has gone up. We are tracking the storm surge that is higher than normal tides because of the storm surge. We're expecting anywhere from 3 to 6 feet. We are starting to see that now. Not only are we starting to see this minor flooding in Jupiter, but we're also seeing it in West Palm Beach. I showed a picture about 10 minutes ago that Flagler Drive in the low-lying spots has started to flood as well. And this could be a crucial high tide for us as we're starting to see the rain, not only with the runoff, but also with the higher than normal tides. Right now, I'm seeing downtown Miami a 5-foot surge, and that continues to rise as well.
All right, we, once again, I wanted to go back to the schools, too, because I just got some new information. I've been looking up all the schools in our area to find out which ones have decided to close on Tuesday. Originally, they all said they were definitely closing through Monday. Well, I just got confirmation on 4 of our 5 local counties that they are closing. Palm Beach, Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, and Okeechobee counties have all closed school through Tuesday. Still trying to find out about IRC. If they have made a decision, I have not been able to find that. So if you know about Indian River County schools, if they've made a decision about Tuesday, please let us know so we can get that information.
But it makes sense, you know, obviously they're the northern part of our viewing area, so they are still starting to feel the impacts a little bit more than the rest of us. I do have some more information on on that crane that has collapsed in downtown Miami. We had showed you that one of those cranes, one of 24 cranes, cracked and actually fell onto the building. No one was injured, so that's the good news. This is right in front of the courthouse in downtown Miami. Right now, a structural engineer, a building official with the city, is on his way to inspect that crane and an armored SWAT vehicle. That's how bad the conditions are in downtown Miami right now, that just to get someone to that crane. This fell, I want to say, at least 2 hours ago, and they still have not been able to get someone there. That's how bad the conditions are.
Pull up that picture. I don't know if anyone. You know what? Let's see if we can get that picture up. But let's go over to Sam Kerrigan. She is. Sam,
there's the picture.
There's the picture. Sam, you are monitoring outages. I know this is a concern for a lot of people. Twitter is kind of blowing up with people asking how they can watch us and watch our radar if their power goes out. So I assume power outages are growing.
Yeah, and we're actually getting a lot of viewer calls and emails about this, wanting us to continuously update you on the outages. So we do have full screen here with some of them. The major ones here, Palm Beach County, there are now over 214,000 customers that are in the dark right now. Broward County, 450,000 customers without power, and Miami-Dade, nearly 681,000 customers who are in the dark. Also locally now growing in St. Lucie County, over 12,000 customers, and Lee County over in the Cape Coral, Fort Myers area, now over 25,000 people in the dark. So this will probably continue to increase, but we will keep you updated throughout our coverage.
I'm looking at some information from, we are monitoring a news conference with Governor Rick Scott that he's giving, and he just was talking about Fort Pierce and the flooding. He's saying that they have to get US 1 back open. Currently, a lot of that is flooded, and he said everyone south of the bridge there on Hutchinson Island is now stranded. Let's listen in to the governor now with this news conference.
For Friday. Kind of storms coming to Tallahassee. What are your plans the next 36 hours as this storm moves up the coast?
Well, I'll make a decision based on how I can be helpful to the state. My daughter and her family are they're gonna go to D.C. So she just had 2 little babies, and so she's got 5 little boys, and so it's tough for them to be if we lose power here.
First Lady?
She doesn't decide what she's going to do yet.
Governor, how do you assess the evacuation efforts so far, the availability of shelters?
Oh, you really have to be impressed. I tell you, you have to be impressed with what the number of people that volunteered, the number of shelters got open. I mean, you really have to be impressed. There's a lot of work left to do. We've got to make sure they have the food and the water, because we had to open up shelters really fast. A lot of shelters got open in the last 2 days. If you can't tell exactly the numbers on how many people evacuated, but if you look at all the cameras this morning, there was nobody on the roads. I think everybody was pretty much hunkering down. If you look at, I think you have to. I think Florida Highway Patrol did a good job on how to, in FDOT keeping the evacuation routes open. We didn't have to. We used the shoulders. I think one of my big concerns was because we started having fuel problems immediately. And I think everybody, the oil companies, the ports, the carriers, the gas stations, they worked as well as they could to try to get as much fuel down here as possible. So I'm hopeful. I'm praying that people got out. You look at my community where I live. I mean, 10 to 15 feet of storm surge. I don't know how anybody survives that. So I don't know exactly how far inland it's going to go. But I know that the Collier County and Lee County, I was in both those places this week. They were very focused on it, and they were tracking it, and they're trying to get information out as fast as possible. But you worry about. I hope everybody. I just hope everybody listened.
How soon
do you expect fuel will be making its way back to Florida? It's obviously been, the shipments have been cut off. When will they begin again? Do you think?
So step one, we've got to get the ports open. The big fuel is the ports. All right, it's Tampa. I mean, there's others, but it's really Tampa and Port Everglades. Those are 2. So the storm's got to pass. The Corps' got to get out there and make sure it's clear. But what we've been told is once that happens, there are tankers that want to come in. That's the big. That's the lion's share of the fuel. But on top of that, we have fuel trucks that are coming down from north. That's why I waived for 5 days the fuel tax. So we're going to have a run on fuel again, right? As people now want to go back home afterwards. So we're going to work hard to get it. Hopefully we won't have this issue where we're worried about a port being closed down again, which really slowed us down. But I think we're going to make good progress. People worked really hard to get more fuel here. I don't think I finished. Yeah, go ahead.
You know, the storm did switch track, and Northwest Florida is expecting stronger wind conditions, worse conditions. Are you confident that we're prepared up in this part of the state?
You know, the way you always look at it, I've been really impressed statewide with the emergency management team. All right, I've been very impressed with, you know, the response from everybody, whether it's FEMA or anybody else. In the end, there's always something, you know, that you could have done, because what happens is it changes. Something changes. The storm changes, moves path. It's more severe than you might have thought. But I can tell you, the people are going to be prepared. I've had calls every day with the utilities. I know everybody's going with their power back on. My understanding is there's 23. They already have 23,000 people coming down to the state to help with to restore power. Now, some of those, because of the storm, have been able to get pre-positioned, and some of them have not. So if it was a east or west storm, that would make it easier. But I know people are going to work hard. We're going to get we'll open up the shelters. But I mean, it is hard when it impacts your entire state. So.
Anybody else?
Governor, can you speak to the type of preparations that are taking place at the mansion?
Well, I haven't really hardly been there, so you'd have to ask somebody else. So I wouldn't know. I get there really late at night and sleep and leave.
Plan to be here at the EOC throughout the storm? Is that correct?
I'm gonna be here. I'll figure out my schedule at the end of the day, but I'm gonna be here throughout the day today, and then I'll figure it out late today. Thanks, everybody.
All right, you've been listening to a news conference from Governor Rick Scott talking about the state's next move as this hurricane continues to move up the west coast of Florida. Let's get over to CBS 12's, did we say Thomas Forrester, and he has been in Fort Pierce since early this morning when we saw that initial flooding. And Thomas, what is the situation there? Because I'm continuing to get lots of pictures from people out of the Lakewood Park, Fort Pierce area with standing water in the streets. Have you heard of any in homes?
Well, there's a lot of those going on right now, Suzanne, especially off of US 1 in Virginia, Orange Court, and all those other streets along there. Anything south, actually west of US 1 is being flooded right now. Police are telling people to stay off the streets. The water is so high. But right now I'm here at South Indian River, just right down by the ocean. Take a look. You heard Sam Kerrigan talk a few minutes ago about power outages. Well, here in St. Lucie County, Fort Pierce Utilities trying not to make any more happen. You see they're filling in this canal right here, and take a look at that power pole right now. It's about to give way, but they're trying to fill it in from the sand. They keep trucking in dump trucks full of sand to try to reinforce that pole so it won't fall down into the canal and knock out a lot more people without power. Now, if we take a look, you see a bunch of officials standing there. They just telling me they would affect close to 300,000 more people in St. Lucie County if all these poles started going down. So right now they're trying to reinforce. They're actually taking the sand right here just from across the street, putting it into bulldozers, and then shipping it over onto this side. So that's what they're trying to do right now. But you mentioned about all the water on the streets, especially along 25th Street, anything around US 1. It is right now it's been blocked off quite a bit as St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office is going around. They're actually helping a lot of cars, people who are stranded. They're recommending that people don't even go onto the roads, but people are sometimes not listening, but they're still, the first responders are helping them out. So this is just another way that they're trying to keep all the power going on here in St. Lucie County. Eric, Suzanne?
All right, Thomas, and really quickly, did you say if there are any homes that you're seeing with significant flooding inside? I know we have a lot of street flooding, and it's pretty deep as far as the streets are concerned. We did hear of one home earlier this morning, but are you seeing that being a widespread issue there?
Just in that section around US 1, Suzanne, a few people have come up to me and they said, well, water is starting to go into their house. It's high. They got to get rid of the water level. But as far as a large amount, not at this point right now. And again, St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office is trying to take away, make sure a lot of people are off the streets, trying to maybe direct that water off the streets, try to drain it. They're unclogging some of the drains along the US 1. But as of right now, not a lot of homes right now are actually having water seep in, despite a lot of those streets being flooded. Suzanne?
So basically there's some water maybe coming up to their doors and that sort of thing, but we haven't seen any significant flooding inside of a number of homes is what you're saying.
Exactly. There's a few, but not a large number of homes that are feeling that. And again, it's to the help, thanks to the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, who are busy patrolling those streets and trying to drain the water. But the water is very close to their front doors, Suzanne.
All right. Well, Thomas Forrester reporting live from Fort Pierce. We have had a crew that got stuck in those floodwaters this morning. They had to be escorted by Fort Pierce police to the police department and actually spent the night there. So I know it's been a dicey situation there in Fort Pierce, and continue to send us your pictures out of that area. All right, let's go back to Tom Bosco. He is in Boca Raton. Okay, no, we're going to Jeff. Okay, Jeff Baradelli, severe weather expert Jeff Baradelli, joining me now here on the set. He is in for his next shift.
Yeah, you know, I slept a couple hours here in the building.
Right, that's what we do. We sleep a couple hours and, okay, wait, we're going back to Thomas.
Oh, well, we're back on me now.
That's what I'm being told. Are we going back to Thomas? No, we're staying here.
Okay. All right, well,
Apparently, we can't make up our mind. But you have some wind gusts that you've been monitoring out of some of these intense feeder bands?
Right, so you know, we've seen wind gusts to like 66 miles an hour. It hasn't quite got to hurricane force, but to show you where those hurricane force winds are, I have a list of a bunch of numbers. I'm just going to kind of read them off.
We can just show the radar while
yeah, we will, because you know they're coming up through Broward County right now. In fact, there was a wind gust recently to 109 in Pembroke Pines. 109 in Pembroke Pines, okay? So that's near Miramar. That's to the west of Fort Lauderdale. That's in that band you see rotating into southern Broward County. We had a wind gust to 98 at North Perry Airport. That's Hollywood. That's in the Hollywood area, West Hollywood, really, not coastal Hollywood. Opelika, there was a wind gust to 85. Coral Gables, 82. Port Everglades, which is Fort Lauderdale, basically, wind gust to 87. And Deerfield Beach, 86. 86 Deerfield Beach, so that's just south of Boca. So we're looking at one of our coastal cams right there, and it's really, really nasty. The highest wind gust I found with the storm so far down in Big Pine Key, 120 miles an hour there.
Wow.
But, you know, the interesting thing is in Big Pine, they got hit by the eye wall. Their wind was 120. That was their gust. Pembroke Pines didn't come anywhere near the eye wall. Their gust was 109. So it goes to show you how the wind is kind of distributed almost evenly across the storm because it's such a huge storm.
This is Fort Lauderdale right now. Is this a live picture, guys? Is this a live picture we're seeing in Fort Lauderdale? Yes, this is a live picture in Lauderdale by the sea where, wow. I mean,
just south of there, Port Everglades had a wind gust to 87. Like I said, Deerfield had a wind gust to 86. So that's what you're looking at there. Now, it doesn't happen all the time. It's just when these squalls come in that the wind just gusts. But it goes to show you that the hurricane force winds are literally miles across the border of Broward County and Palm Beach County. And that whole band is about to push a little closer. In fact, I think we have it on Max 1. Go to Max 1 real quickly in that other box there on the right. Just so
and
I can
as
show you,
you pull that up, I think it's a good reminder to everyone. We're seeing damage already with the wind gusts that we already have.
Right.
And that's all going to only increase through the afternoon.
It's true. Now, we hit high tide in Palm Beach County, and so far the tide at Lake Worth Inlet's about 1.5 feet above normal. So that's not extremely high. It could come up a little more as those stronger bands come in. But you can see the hurricane force winds over Fort Lauderdale. Those are the bands that are gusting to 90 miles an hour in spots. So that is heading our way, folks. So batten down the hatches in Boca, Delray, and then eventually that will head north into West Palm Beach as well.
How long before you think it gets into the Palm Beach County area?
I think it's going to be in Boca
soon,
probably in the next less than half hour.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe West Boca already, because I can see that band's trying to...
Those reds looks like they're trying to get into West Boca.
You know, but the lesson here is that you don't need to be on the eye wall to have 100-mile-an-hour wind gusts. We were telling you yesterday we were going to see some wind gusts, probably close to 100. Sure enough, it's materializing in Broward. We're going to start seeing it in Palm Beach County. The storm is going to make an equal pass west of all these counties. People keep asking, how is it going to be in Boca versus Vero? Not much different, because it's literally paralleling all of our counties to the west. And it is, and Chris has been telling you, it's moving slightly further east than the National Hurricane Center track, so that puts us in those Category 1 to occasionally gust to Category 2 status. And the worst of it, as Chris has been telling you, from 3 p.m. today through about 9 p.m. Tonight. But yeah, the proof is in the pudding here. 109 mile an hour wind gust in Pembroke Pines. Wow. It's not verified, but other gusts are 98 in Hollywood. So yeah, it's probably true.
Jeff, you've seen a lot of these storms. You know, this one is massive. How does this compare as far as being a record for the size of the storm and how far these hurricane force winds go out? Because I think now it's up to 80 miles from the center.
That's it. Yeah. So
that's
it's expanding. When these systems weaken, and then they try to restructure themselves, they get bigger. So as they break apart and then they put themselves back together, they kind of become bigger and bigger, and they expand over time. I want to compare it to Charlie. You remember Hurricane Charlie?
Yes, we were talking about that yesterday.
That's a landmark storm and extraordinarily interesting to a nerdy meteorologist like myself, because Charlie concentrated all of its power in the eye wall, and its eye wall was literally only 15 or 20 miles across. So you could drive into the Fort Myers and Punta Gorda area, not see any damage at all, come across a line, almost stepping across with your foot, and all of a sudden it's complete devastation.
Like a bomb went off.
And then 20 miles later you get past whatever that tornado-type damage was, and there's no damage at all. This is not that storm. This is the complete opposite of that storm. The power is not concentrated close to the center only. It's concentrated, obviously, 90-plus miles across, and some of those bands in Broward County are heading here. And just to reiterate, if you're just joining us, we've had wind gusts over 100 miles an hour in Broward, 109 Pembroke Pines, 86 miles an hour Deerfield Beach, 87 Port Everglades, 98 at the North Perry Airport in Hollywood. Miami had a gust to 94 miles an hour.
Well, Jeff, I have a question for you as far as what we've seen in the Fort Pierce area, where we've seen what you describe as training, where it just keeps raining and raining in one location. They've now received a foot of rain. What causes that to happen in one location? Why does it continuously rain in that small, concentrated area?
The band just got stuck over Fort Pierce, and you have a lot of wind. At night, you have a lot of wind convergence right at the coast, so the wind flies in, it converges on the coast, produces a ton of rain. So what I'm going to do is, I just got to tell you, there's a tornado warning in effect for St. Lucie County in east central Florida, northern Martin County. So you know what? I'm going to head to the wall, and I'm also going to have to grab someone's IFB. So whoever wants to give me their IFB. No, it's okay. Chris is going to give me his IFB. So just give me a second, because I got to put this in. And if we can, Lauren, let's go over the velocities. I want to pick out exactly where this is right now. So let's do that. Okay, and everybody just give it a second. I'll be in front of that weather wall in 1 second. All right. Chris is also obviously geared up and ready to go, too, to talk about this as well. So basically, that's the storm. And there we are across Port St. Lucie and the Jensen Beach area. Let me read you what the National Weather Service says. Southern St. Lucie County, northern Martin County, so obviously right around the Stewart and Palm City area. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Palm City, moving northwest at 50 miles an hour. So that is it right there. Where you see the red and green come together, that's where the circulation is. And the system is moving to the west very quickly at about 50 miles an hour. It's moving fast. The storm will be near Tradition at around 1 p.m. So in about 15 minutes or so, this storm is going to be right over Tradition at around 1 p.m. Again, it's a radar-indicated tornado. By the way, if you want to send us pictures, you can do so. Send them to newstips@cbs12.com. Again, newstips@cbs12.com. Or you can upload them on our CBS 12 app, only if you can do so in a safe fashion. We want to get that information out to the public. Here's another view from a different radar. So this is from our Melbourne radar, I believe. And you can clearly see the rotation right here. It's on Martin Highway. There's Southwest Citrus Boulevard on the west side of Palm City, and it's moving like this quickly towards the west at 50 miles an hour. In fact, that's Alapata Road right there, right? Let's zoom out a little bit, and actually let's track it if we can. We'll track the circulation in that direction. That's where it's moving, just to give everybody an idea of when it's going to be reaching you. And again, we're tracking it at 50 miles an hour because it's moving that fast. So it's moving generally in that direction right there, and it's going to be there probably in about the next 5 minutes or so. So get ready for that. So this is the latest tornado warning in what has been a string of tornado warnings since yesterday. There have been a ton of tornado warnings all across the area, and this is yet another one. There was, in fact, a confirmed tornado earlier. Of course, one of the biggest issues that we had was that flooding up in Fort Pierce earlier today. Over 10 inches of rain in a very short period of time. We don't get flooding down here unless we get rainfall rates around 2, 3, 4 inches an hour. We had that last night in Fort Pierce, where we had the rain falling at 3 to 4 inches an hour. That's why there was so much water. Right now, the issue is this right here. Tornado warning for this cell. It's on the southern side of Port St. Lucie. It's really centered around Palm City. It's moving west, and it's located right around here, right around I-95, but it is moving into inland portions of Martin County and southern parts of inland St. Lucie County as well. So we're tracking it in that direction. No cities actually come up in our track simply because it really gets into kind of a unpopulated part of the county. So if we can, let's put this in motion. Let's track this action as it moves on off to the west-northwest. So that's it right there. And it's moving in that general direction. So it's basically crossing over I-95 right now. Here it comes. And there it is. And it's going to be moving generally across into fairly unpopulated parts of Martin County and St. Lucie County once it gets past Palm City. So Palm City, now's the time to take cover. The storm's basically right over you. You want to get away from windows in an interior portion of your home, like a bathroom or a closet. And you can almost see it even better right now. It's about to cross over I-95. So that's the tornado warning that's in effect, and it's moving at 50 miles an hour. So you have very little notice. Your weather can go from completely calm to a tornado being near your house. So again, inside your house, interior portion of your home, away from windows in a bathroom or a closet, the best place to be. We've seen so many of these, and this is actually a fairly good indication that there probably is a tornado in this cell. This is one of the better circulations that I've seen all night. I've seen several of these over the past 24 hours. That one is registering better on the radar, meaning we can see it more clearly, meaning it's more likely that there is a tornado with that cell, again, moving 50 miles an hour towards the west. And that's not the only game that we have in town right now. Lauren, if we can, let's pull out the radar. Let's keep it on velocities. Just to see if there are any other circulations happening anywhere else in our area. There's one right there. So there's another one developing off Fort Pierce. Now, they haven't issued a tornado warning on that yet, but this is likely to probably head towards that direction at 50 miles an hour. So Fort Pierce, if this holds together, you will probably be under a tornado warning pretty soon. This may move just on the north side of Fort Pierce. There's the other tornado, and that it does have a tornado warning. This is over land. This is a water spout over the water. So again, it's several areas that you have to watch all at the same time to make sure that you're covering the audience the right way, and that's what we're doing for you right now. Let's check down into Palm Beach County. We're going to have to use AMX, Miami radar, to look at this the right way. And so far, I don't necessarily see any circulations, at least in the northern half of the county. How about a little further south towards northern Broward into the Boca Raton area? And let's zoom into this area a little bit. Yeah, no real indications of true circulations here, but what I can tell you is that the bands that are coming through Broward County, and if you're just tuning in now, I was just talking to Suzanne and Eric. We were talking about wind gusts over 100 miles an hour in parts of Broward County. Now think about that. The storm made landfall in Big Pine Key. The highest wind gust I could find was 120 miles an hour. I just found a wind gust, unconfirmed, to 109 miles an hour in Pembroke Pines and about 100 miles an hour at the North Perry Airport in Broward County. So this right here, if we can switch over to base reflectivity for just 1 second, this right here is where those really intense bands are. And these are all kind of rotating north. And pretty soon we're going to be seeing the very heavy weather move in. So this is where those 90-plus mile-an-hour winds are, that band. So this really is the edge of what is the core of the hurricane force winds. Yeah.
And when there's a good time, I think we lost it. Oh, they're back on. We have some live pictures of downtown Miami just to take a couple seconds.
Sure.
It's very important. Look at the damage we are now seeing in downtown Miami.
Right.
Your mic's
Yeah,
not on.
Sorry. Yeah, okay. This is the damage we're seeing in downtown Miami now. We are seeing a lot of not only trees down, but the bigger problem there is the storm surge, as you were talking about.
About 2 to 3 feet in the Brickell area.
Well, actually, the new report that I just saw was closer to 5 because it keeps rising.
Was that in Brickell or was that on Miami Beach?
Brickell.
Okay, there's not many people on Miami Beach right now. They evacuated
and
Miami
the problem that the reporters on the scene there are saying that it continues to get higher, so it has not started to recede yet.
Okay, now our coastline, we're about 1.5 feet, maybe about 2 feet above our normal tide levels in the southern half of Palm Beach County, just to give you an idea. And high tide was about 50 minutes ago, so we're still basically at high tide. Tornado there, likely, and also a developing tornado offshore headed towards the Fort Pierce area. This is the one that's on land. It's right on top of Palm City. If you're in Palm City, obviously now would be a good time to be indoors, away from windows, in a bathroom or closet. This is a pretty impressive, we call it a couplet, because it's a couple of different colors together, the reds and the greens. Those bright greens indicate the strongest of the winds right there. You know, Lauren, if we can zoom in a little bit more, there was actually a very bright red and a very bright green located together. Take a look at that right there. This is something that I haven't seen yet with these tornadoes as they come in. So this out of all the signatures that I've seen over the past 24 hours, this is one of the most impressive, located right there. Let's keep zooming in. I want to get down to those streets. I want to see which streets this tornado is on. So there's Southwest Village Parkway. There's Becker Road. That's the tornado right there. If there is a tornado on the ground, that's where it is. And it's quickly moving to the west right now at around 50 miles an hour. In fact, we should show folks what's to the west of this, just to give everybody an idea. It's getting out of the populated parts of Martin County and St. Lucie County. It's going to be moving over Range Line Road. That's Southwest Alapata Road. So this storm's going to be moving probably near Cana. So probably in about the next 5 minutes or so, it's going to be moving near Cana. News tips at CBS12.com if you want to send us a picture or any information. If you live there and you want to get us information so that we can get it out to our viewers, please do so. Send us an email. What did you guys say?
We're going to take it from here, Jeff. We need to get a report out of West Palm Beach where we're starting to see some localized flooding due to those high tides.
Yeah.
Let's get to CBS 12's Kara Duffy. She's been following this for us. We've been seeing some pictures, Kara, of Flagler Drive in some places where the seawall is overflowing with the intracoastal. Where are you and what are you seeing?
So, Eric, we're just now coming out right now because no, we're here. We're just now coming out right now because it has been so bad that it's actually been dangerous for us to stand outside for too long here. Some of these of the waves are coming up so high and close that we've had to move and kind of stay in the cover here. So we're coming over this way. You can see here at the Intercoastal, we have the waves just battering the seawall here. We still have that boat, and since the last time I checked in with you, conditions have just gotten so terrifying out here. Really, I live just a block or two over, and it's already really heartbreaking to see the transformation in such a short little time, and to hear that, you know, this is just the beginning. We haven't even started yet. The worst is still ahead. That's so upsetting because it's just deteriorated so much so quickly. We're going to continue to stay put out here, but again, we're trying to stay as safe as possible, and I just suggest everyone else do the same and stay home. We'll have another check with you guys coming up in a few. Eric,
All right.
Suzanne?
Yeah, we do want to go back to one of our meteorologists. Maybe Lauren can take it over here. Yeah, and take Max 1, guys, because we're going to go back to this tornado warning.
into
I
Boca.
am getting
Okay.
some reports, just so you know, Lauren, out of Jensen Beach, which is in that tornado warning area. That Jensen Beach is like northern Martin County, right close next to St. Lucie County. You see it right there on the
So Jensen Beach isn't actually included in that.
It's not
in that warning box. It's close to it, so obviously maybe those winds are
It's just
picking up
outside
in the Jensen Beach area. So we got a lot of watches and warnings in this one layer. So I am going to try and take some of them off to make it a little bit clearer for some of you. And it doesn't want to listen right now. Okay, so here we go. So we'll take down the watch. There it is. Okay, so there's that. This is our warning, our tornado warning, and this is from the National Hurricane Weather Service. They're noticing
got a tornado
radar
warning, so I'm trying to get coffee.
spin up on radar indicated rotation, I should say. This goes until 1:30. This is over the Traditions area. This was near Port St. Lucie, was moving northwest at 55 miles an hour. So I'm going to put that velocity scan on here. We were looking at that before with Jeff, where that red and that green color kind of couple it together very, very quickly and very close together. And so let's see if we can kind of pick out where this is. So here it is still. This is probably potentially still on the ground at this point if it's been on air for this long or been showing the signature for this long. Obviously, we don't have any confirmation of it. But where that green, that bright, bright green and that deep red meet together, that's likely where this is. This is just west of 95. This is right near Becker Road, heading off toward that Canna area there. And we'll put the storm tracker on it. It's moving northwest at around 50 miles an hour. This could be near the Canna area at 1 o'clock. So in the next 6 or 7 minutes or so, and these are moving really, really quickly. Eric and Suzanne, these tornadoes are moving at around 50 miles an hour. That's really, really fast. And here it is again. We'll zoom into this really, really tightly. You'll notice there's that red and that bright green coming together right near Range Line Road, again heading off in the northwest. And I'm here with John Matthews. And John, this is a good thing. We're not seeing any cities popping up. These are very, very rural areas.
Thank goodness,
So, not really in super populated locations. We'll zoom this out. We'll put the radar back on for you. So there is a look at that cell that is, in fact, potentially producing that tornado. Range Line Road, there's Southwest Village Parkway, Southwest Community Boulevard also. Port St. Lucie Boulevard, this is west of you, west of the Turnpike as well. Again, really the only location that we have out here is Canna. Range Line Road there as well, and very heavy downpours are being produced in this.
You know, when we see that couple like we do right there, Lauren, that really does verify every time we get that.
Right.
That one's real bright red. For those of you who can't see us on TV or hearing us on radio, this is west of I-95, and it's right down that Becker Highway, southwest Becker Road.
Okay, so now we have this over, it looks like it's over Range Line Road there. So this is now just south of Canna. It's kind of hard to maybe notice specifically where these are. I'm going to head to the wall to point this out to you guys a little bit better.
I'll fly the radar for you.
All right, so Johnny's got radar for me. So you'll notice where that green, if we can go back to max 1, please, producers. Thank you guys so much. So where this bright, bright, bright green and that red are meeting, that's likely where that tornado is. I'll step off just for a second for you. This is moving just south of Canna right now, really, really quickly. When we get those really fast-moving bands, essentially kind of mixing with the movement of the hurricane itself, with the movement of Irma, we get those spin-ups really quickly. And there you'll see it right there, right now, moving over Range Line Road. There's another scan that just came through, really, really, really bright. So this is heading off to the northwest, 50 miles per hour. It's moving very, very quickly. There's that tornado warning, or potential tornado, if you will, headed northwest. It is going to be moving across Okeechobee Road. Again, these are very rural areas, but it's pretty easy to pick this up. This is in the St. Lucie County area. For those of you that are listening to us, you might have lost power. This is the St. Lucie County area. This is well west of I-95. This is essentially right now west of Range Line Road. Look at that. Those velocities, really, really fast winds, 56-mile-an-hour winds, maybe within that rotation there. This is south of Canna. This is heading off to the northwest at 50 miles per hour. So what this you're seeing here, 56-mile-an-hour wind meeting with a 31-mile-an-hour wind. And when you get those really, really fast winds moving against each other, that's what's creating that rotation. So you see how this is minus 56 essentially? That's because we're seeing those velocities moving away from the radar. So these winds are moving in two opposite directions. And when you see that and it's fast enough and strong enough, it creates that spin in the atmosphere. So again, you see that very, very bright green with that bright red there. That's where our tornado warning is. And if there is a tornado on the ground, this is likely its location. That is west of Range Road there. And there's our storm tracker also helping to pick that up. This might be a little bit easier for you to see now where that yellow rotation is. That's picking up the broad rotation. There's the cell. Got a nice heavy downpour in there moving across Okeechobee Road. This could be heading toward the Eagle Island area also, and about 18 miles or so from Eagle Island. If this does hold together, Eagle Island, you could see this in your area within the next few minutes with 50-mile-an-hour movement right now. And look, you'll see off to my right side, it's very, very windy out there. there in West Palm Beach. Our winds are actually going to start to pick up rather quickly here in Palm Beach County. So just about 55 minutes or so. I think that might be actually a little bit long, and you guys might have to adjust the time on that distance there. But heavy downpours within that cell, and we're still getting that rotation indicated there with our velocity couplets. So within about 20 minutes or so, Eagle Island, this could be in your location with that really fast-moving potential tornado. We had 50-mile-an-hour winds there. There's our couplet. It's very, very easy to see. I know this essentially just looks like a bunch of green and red to some of you, but where you see the really bright green colors, it almost looks like it's almost like a white color, if you will. That's that couplet. This is probably a water spout that we have off the coast of Vero Beach there. So Vero Beach, this might get issued as a tornado warning. If it does it, let it be known to you that there could be a water spout that is moving toward the coastline right now. You might see that at your location within the next 20 minutes or so. So you're all already likely bunkered down in your homes. If you are in the Vero Beach area, I'd go to the most interior room of your home right now. Anytime a tornado warning is issued, you do want to be at the most interior room of your house. Put as much space as possible between you and the outside walls. We're heading down to southern Palm Beach County to see if we're picking up any more rotation down there. Not really getting any indications of that. I do believe that the Storm Prediction Center lifted the tornado watch for Palm Beach County, but it is still in effect for Okeechobee, Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River counties. We're heading back up to the north to pick out maybe some of those spinning couplets, and there it is, Vero Beach, off the coast. There's a chance that we have a water spout that is moving northwest, probably around 50 miles per hour. So with under 20 minutes or so from now, this could be north into your area. Maybe even Sebastian, this could be approaching you in the coastline there within the next 15 to 20 minutes or so. And again, you'll see that really bright green kind of right next to and coupled with that red color there. We'll head back to through St. Lucie County. There's that other tornado warning. This is the one that goes until 1:30. I believe it's until 1:30, so another half hour or so with this one, and correct me if I'm wrong. But this is moving across Okeechobee Road there. See that really, yeah. And as Jeff was saying earlier, he hadn't seen any of those bright colors. Jeff, I haven't either. This is probably the brightest return I've seen so far on a velocity sweep there.
Yeah,
so
closest contrast as well.
Yeah.
So the green is right up against the red. In fact, we zoom into those two colors right there. There we are.
That's probably where it is.
To have a really bright red and then the really bright green right next to each other, there's likely a tornado there. It is located over a fairly unpopulated part of the county there, but it is headed now into Okeechobee County as well. So we do have to worry about it headed toward Eagle Island if it holds together. And it's held together for the past 20 minutes, so there's no reason it can't.
This might be one of the longest tracks we've seen. I think there was one other warning I was watching earlier this morning with Chris that actually moved through. There was the warning for northern St. Lucie County, and then they issued another warning into Okeechobee County. So if this still holds together, if we see this couplet actually survive the trek across Okeechobee Road there is the chance that we could see that tornado warning then get continued and reissued for portions of Okeechobee County. Yes, Johnny.
Just off the press, a couple of things here. Number one headline, number two headline.
Okay, so the tornado warning for Central Martin County was canceled, and then a tornado warning remains in effect. Okay, perfect. For until 1:30, this is for southern St. Lucie County. This is that couplet right there that we are in fact following.
That's very helpful, Johnny, because Martin County's not in danger anymore. It's western, southwestern St. Lucie County. Yeah, they're
not even. Usually they show they'll throw up some city names that are in this warning, but because this is such a sparsely populated area, they actually don't in fact have any of those cities in there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Johnny. So there we got that really, really bright color, and you'll see this shear marker kind of helping you guys pick it out. I think it's a little bit further to the east, but this is likely where that rotation is. The really, really bright greens, and that's heading off to the northwest at around 50 miles per hour. So this is a pretty long track and quite some time that we've seen this tornado potentially on the ground. So this is moving northwest 50 miles per hour, Eagle Island. Within 17 minutes or so, this could be in your area. So you should be inside. Now is the time to move to the most interior room of your home. You want to put as much space between you as you can, I should say, between you and the outside. There's that water spout, still watching that off the coast there. Hey, Vero Beach, heads up, 15 minutes, that water spout could be moving onshore in your area. That really, really bright green coupled next to that red does indicate that we're seeing, fast moving wind in one direction with fast moving wind in the opposite direction. And when you see that, we call that shear. it essentially creates rotation in our atmosphere. And that's probably exactly what's going on right off the coast. So this is probably a water spout right now that's moving northwest toward the Vero Beach area, the coast there of Indian River County. Could be there in about 15 minutes or so from now. There are those shear markers off the coast also kind of indicating that potential rotation. Now these appear, Jeff, I think they're a little bit further east, maybe popping up a little bit later.
Things are moving. Usually they can keep up with the radar, but today things are flying so fast that literally the storms are outrunning the shear markers. But we know, as meteorologists, where the tornadoes are, where the water spouts are. You've been pointing it out perfectly. You're exactly right. It's probably about 15 minutes from Vero. They haven't issued a warning on it. They may or may not. Some of them they have, some of them they have not. But the bottom line is you have been forewarned in Vero Beach and Sebastian. Water spout could move on shore as a tornado in less than 15 minutes.
Yeah, and your winds might start picking up. You might be hearing, and I know Suzanne and Eric have been getting a ton of storm reports coming in, that the sound of a train, if you will, could be popping up outside your window. Look at the immense flooding we're dealing with in Fort Pierce. I set our clock back. I measured some of our Fort Pierce rainfall totals. Some areas picking up over 11 inches of rain right now. There we go. We have literally seen a band of rain sit on top of Fort Pierce. And this is really, excuse me, the only area, look at that, 18.8, is that 18 or 10?
That's 10.8.
That's 10, excuse me, I'm sorry. That is 10.8 inches of rain that has fallen within the last, how far back is this clock, Jeff?
12 hours.
This is the last 12 hours we have seen the Fort Pierce area right near I-95 and the Turnpike, right where they get really close together.
Yeah, it's interesting, too. It's by far the heaviest rain total.
Over any location we have.
I mean, we can go, let's go further south and see if even the Keys have seen that much. And no. The answer is no. Fort Pierce, believe it or not, and that's what we say. You know, the hurricane's not a point.
It's not a point.
You don't concentrate on the eye. You don't concentrate on the eye wall. We've had 109-mile-an-hour wind gust in Pembroke Pines, unconfirmed, but nevertheless shows you that the energy distributed within this hurricane is not concentrated necessarily right near the center. Same thing with the rain. Heaviest rain that has fallen in this whole storm has been in Fort Pierce, which is hundreds of miles away from the center of the storm.
Of the eye. And the Weather Prediction Center actually put out a precipitation discussion on this, and this was the only one that they had issued for Irma throughout portions of the morning, saying that training was experienced here. And for those of you that don't know what that word training means, it basically means a train, if you will, of water. It's a constant flow of water moving on shore, and Fort Pierce was stuck under that band that didn't stop moving, and that's why you guys were seeing such large accumulation amounts. So again, our storm tracker and shear tracker picking up some of that rotation off the coast. We've got a nice big band that's getting ready to move onshore in the Sebastian and Vero Beach area. These are traveling really, really quickly. Sebastian, in 10 minutes, your rainfall rates are about to increase significantly. Vero Beach, within the next 6 minutes, your rainfall rates, you're going to start to see heavy, heavy downpours. The Sebastian as well, about 5 or 10 minutes or so from now, your rainfall rates are going to increase.
Hey,
your
Lauren,
winds are going to start to get really gusty as well.
So, Lauren, I'll track from the heaviest of the rain.
Okay, let's do that.
Because that's going to be slightly behind the leading edge of the rainfall rates increasing.
All right, so Sebastian by 122, Vero by 118, South Beach at 114, Queens Cove at 112. Your rainfall rates are going to start to pick up. It's going to get louder outside where you are. You're going to hear the downpours much faster. They're going to be much louder. You will, maybe those winds are going to start to pick up for you. Also, we've also been watching the potential for some of those areas of rotation, maybe some of those water spouts moving on shore. So within the next 10 minutes or so, the coastal area of Indian River County, your weather is going to deteriorate pretty quickly. And again, that's because we're seeing these bands all moving so fast. It doesn't really look like that couplet kind of survived there. And this is where it would be. There it is. I'm seeing those bright colors returning. So this is where that would be, that rotation, that potential water spout off the coast that might be making its way on shore there. And Sebastian, again, Indian River Shores, Vero, with that band moving on the coastline, we are going to start to see your weather deteriorating kind of quickly. And there's the heavy band further south that Jeff was mentioning, had those hurricane force wind gusts, Cat 1, Cat 2 wind gusts out of Broward, and that's now moving north right now.
Yeah, going into Boca. Chris Farrell's sitting there. Can you just check to see if WeatherBug has updated their gusts in Boca Raton? I have to imagine we're starting to get close to hurricane force winds in the Boca Del Rey area, just because that band we've been tracking and telling you produced hurricane force winds in Broward's now moved into southern Palm Beach County. So it's likely arriving right now, those hurricane. And I got to tell you, it's right on time. We said it would probably be around 11 a.m. or noon, and here we go. Hurricane force wind gusts are starting to move into southern Palm Beach County as we speak.
Yeah, and we got maybe some heavier downpours as well between the Boca and Boynton Beach area. And so all morning we've been getting reports of those hurricane force wind gusts coming out of Miami. And I've been looking at them, and they've been very, very fast. And here comes that band right now, Jeff. So
I just think it's incredible that we had a wind gust to 86 miles an hour in Deerfield Beach. It's right over the border. It's just a couple of miles from Boca. That was about an hour ago. So Chris says still 62 in Boca. That's the highest we've seen there. And 69 in West Palm Beach. But I can tell you pretty soon those winds are going to start gusting over hurricane force.
That's close to Cat 1 hurricane gust, so it's picking up. And I think Chris and I saw 66-mile-an-hour wind gust in the Delray Beach area as well.
Meantime, we're zoomed into Okeechobee Road. This tornado is about to cross Okeechobee Road. Let me go a little further south here. There it is. That's likely the tornado. Oh, it just updated again.
Okay, so this is basically just east of Okeechobee Road, heading to the west right now, really, really quickly, essentially the west-northwest at around 50 miles per hour. So Eagle Island in 15 minutes, if this tornado, if it's on the ground, if it's still there, it is going to be moving in your area. So that's in about 15 minutes from now, so around 1:25, this could be where you are. So you want to get to the most interior room of your home. You guys should already be inside at this point as Irma's barreling through our area. The most interior room of your home, put as much space as you can between you and the outside walls. We'll head back over to the coast, or off the coast, if you will, where we were looking at maybe those water spouts forming for some of us, trying to get some of those bright returns. And I believe, Jeff, this would be it if that was still holding together. But I'm also seeing another couplet maybe forming even further south of there. So, yeah, I think that would be it. That's the
one there,
band we
and
were
then
watching.
there's one there. And that would be moving closer to Indian River Shores and Sebastian. And, you know, the bottom line is the National Weather Service kind of has to pick and choose which one of these
they want to warn and which ones they don't.
Which ones they don't. So we're going to see if a warning will come out. They haven't been shy about issuing warnings, but this doesn't look as robust as it did just about 5 or 10 minutes ago, so it may have loosened up and weakened a little bit. In the meantime, Johnny Matthews is getting the latest information off the printer behind me. And I should mention the 1 o'clock update has come out on Irma. Winds are still 130 miles an hour.
Category 4.
Yeah, it has not changed its strength at all. And I don't think we should expect too much change. Maybe some fluctuations. Could go to 135, could come down to 125. But it looks like it's coming on shore as a 130-mile-an-hour hurricane around Naples. But again, why bother concentrating on the core of the storm when we're getting wind gusts to 90 and 100 miles an hour in Broward County?
And the highest rainfall accumulation, I think, so far of the entire storm in Fort Pierce, due to one of those training bands that are coming on shore, Jeff.
So
it's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing. It's crazy. 11 inches of rain in Fort Pierce, a lot of it falling in a short period of time. In the Keys, the highest rainfall total so far, 6, 7, 8 inches. So we have seen by far the most rain, and we are hundreds of miles away from the center of that storm.
Yeah.
You want to switch places with me?
Let's do it.
All right, why don't you come over here?
Okay.
Well, you're at it. Here's an update for you.
All right, this is from Johnny Matthews.
Yeah, this just came off. It says gust of 103. Reported near Naples Municipal Airport. So that's picking up the speed now.
Great, thank you, Johnny. I appreciate it.
And Jeff, just really quickly too, I know you're focused, on this this issue right here, but I will tell you we are getting some Twitter messages from people, and they would like to know where the eye is now.
You know, your brain is on the same wavelength as mine, because I was just about to ask Lauren to zoom out so we can actually see the storm and see how close it is.
These are people on radio because they've lost power, so if you can explain it too.
And zoom out one more time, Lauren. I want to show everybody something. Hurricane force winds are here to here. So now through southern parts of Palm Beach County. So this is how large the hurricane winds are. Notice they only extend that far on the western side, the weaker side of the system, but they extend this far on the eastern side. So it's kind of a lopsided, if you will. That's the eye. It's about to make landfall in Naples. It's likely going to do this. It's likely going to move onshore, but kind of keep its circulation slightly offshore until it gets to Fort Myers and then make its way probably, I would say, maybe over Tampa or just east of Tampa, slightly further east than the National Hurricane Center's track. And that might explain why the wind gusts are increasing a little bit higher than perhaps you would have expected, because the storm has nudged its way a little bit further to east. Just a couple of miles makes a difference. We saw that with Matthew last year. So there it is. How far is the eye wall from making landfall in Naples? That's Naples, by the way, right there. It's about 30 miles away. So the eye is about 30 miles away. It's moving. How fast, Lauren, is it moving?
I think it picked up speed. It's around 9 miles an hour. It's moving at 6 early this morning.
So landfall is probably less than 3 hours from now. So we're figuring it's going to come on shore around 3:30, 4 o'clock. That's the eye. The eye wall will be on shore in about an hour or so, and we're going to see how strong the winds will be once that happens. But outside of the eye wall, we just had a 103-mile-an-hour wind gust at Naples Municipal Airport. But remember, in Pembroke Pines, in this band, we had a wind gust unconfirmed to 109 miles an hour in Pembroke Pines. In fact, Suzanne, I'm just going to go grab that sheet of paper right there. Yeah, I want to go over it. It's just really amazing to me. So, every hurricane's different. Every single hurricane produces a different type of phenomena. The winds are distributed in a different way. So bear with me. Big Pine Key, as it came on shore, had a wind gust to 120 miles an hour. Key West on the western side of the system, 91. Key West was literally just west of the eye wall, and they only had a wind gust to 91, maybe 92 or something like that. But in contrast, Deerfield Beach had a wind gust to 86. Pembroke Pines, an unofficial wind gust to 109. North Perry Airport, a wind gust to 98. That is Hollywood. So literally, the winds are gusting higher in Hollywood, 98 miles an hour, than they are in Key West, which was right next to the eye wall. So it shows you that every hurricane's different. In Hurricane Charlie, all the energy was concentrated near the eye wall. What was amazing is that Charlie passed just a couple of miles east of Tampa. Their winds never went above 20 miles an hour because they were on the western side of a very small hurricane. When it came across Punta Gorda, it was like a tornado hit. All of the energy was concentrated right close to the core of the storm. If you went 20, 30 miles outside of Charlie, you didn't see any damage at all. This is a completely different hurricane because the wind is distributed in a much wider fashion across the area. So the hurricane force winds extend out about 80 miles now, or at least gusts. Maybe not sustained winds, but at least gusts. And the tropical storm force winds extend out from the center in a radius, not a diameter, about 205 miles. Now, this is not the official word from the National Hurricane Center, but we can tell you that based upon the observations we're seeing right here on this piece of paper. Just to give you an idea of a couple other observations. 85-mile-an-hour gust in Key Largo, 87 in Port Everglades, right there in Fort Lauderdale. Fisher Island in Miami, 79-mile-an-hour wind gust. Opelika, 85. Coral Gables, 82. I told you about Pembroke Pines, 109. Carey's Fort Reef, which is just off Key Largo, had a wind gust to 93. Alamorada, 93. Cujo Key, 106. Big Pine Key, the high so far, 120. Miami International Airport, 94. But what I find just incredible is maybe a tornado went over North Perry Airport and went over Pembroke Pines for those winds to gust to 90 or 110 miles an hour. Because you wouldn't normally have wind gusts that strong so far away from the center of the storm, but goes to show you that these are powerful, powerful bands that are moving to the north, and some of those hurricane-force wind gusts are likely moving into Boca and Delray. We're going to be looking for observations on. By the way, if you want to send us information, you want to send us pictures, please only do so if it's going to be safe. Send it to newstips@cbs12.com. newstips@cbs12.com. I'll ask my producers and the newsroom to please monitor that email address. If we get any information about hurricane force wind gusts or any pictures that we would like to use, please just let me know in my ear and I will convey that information to our audience. I'm really interested in knowing how strong these winds are gusting down in Boca. Lauren, do you remember there was a graphic that I showed you yesterday? It was in the current scenes folder of all the wind gusts in the Keys and straight up the coastline?
I believe so.
It's actually in my show. So
let's go find it.
So you can find, it's probably one of the first elements of my show. I want to load it in, and then I want to take it frame by frame, and I want to show everybody the current wind gusts right now. I have a feeling that we'll start to see some of those stronger wind gusts pop up. So as it stands right now, we are watching several unfolding events. One of those is that this band of hurricane-force wind gusts is starting to move now north across the border from Fort Lauderdale into Boca Raton. Some of that weather is now headed into Belle Glade as well. You should expect some wind gusts over 75 miles an hour as well. And the heaviest of those bands and the most solid of those bands are now in Fort Lauderdale and Miami. We've seen pictures out of Brickell where we have at least a few feet of water, a few feet of storm surge in Brickell. I have to imagine it's exactly the same in Miami Beach as well. The thing about Biscayne Bay is it's very shallow. You get offshore of Biscayne Bay, the water drops off very quick. Biscayne Bay is around 8, 10, 15 feet deep. That's it. So the water gets in there, it gets forced up and into Brickell because Brickell is on the nose or the northern side of Biscayne Bay.
Jeff, do you know what the scene was called?
It's in the current scenes folder, and it's something like Gus Wizard, current Gus Wizard, or something to that extent. And by the way, control room, if we have any live pictures right now, I'd love to see some live pictures of some of our Surfline cameras out there, or any of our WeatherBug cameras out there, or any of our live crews that are out there, because I'd like to see what's happening, especially down in the Boca Raton area. All right, so give it a second to kind of fill in, and go ahead and you can zoom in if you want. By the way, these are this hour, so 48-mile-an-hour wind gusts in Key West. And some of the stronger wind gusts are now being found up here into Miami-Dade County. So you can just manually drive it if you want. 68-mile-an-hour wind gusts, that's Miami International Airport right there. 64-mile-an-hour wind gusts just north, so that's Doral in the airport right there. If we go a little further up, there's some live pics. And where's this from? Lauderdale by the Sea. Okay, so we've seen wind gusts to 90 miles an hour or so in Deerfield Beach, and the result of that is that right there. Now, those are not 90-mile-an-hour winds, but we had it briefly. A brief wind gust moved across. There's a 70-mile-an-hour wind right now. This is Deerfield Beach.
That is Deerfield, yeah.
Right, that is. So you're seeing the result right there on the other side of your screen. Deerfield and Lauderdale by the Sea are right next to each other. So that's a 70-mile-an-hour wind at 64. That's Pompano Beach right there. Our winds have yet to kind of reach that. Don't worry about the zero. It just means that the sensor is just not working down there. So those winds haven't quite reached us yet, but they are on their way. They're literally a mile or two to the south of our border. And I suspect that there have already been some wind gusts to hurricane force, Lauren, especially in West Boca, because that kind of clipped the southeastern part of Boca, but really went northward into West Boca, and then eventually towards Waco. And I think in Belle Glade, we're going to start to see those wind gusts past 70 miles an hour. So there's one of 45 miles an hour located up near the Fort Pierce area as well. So can we go back to the radar velocities? I want to check on any active or potential tornado warnings that may be issued in the somewhat near future. And thank you for doing that for us, by the way, Lauren. All right, so now we're looking at the velocity map, and again, we're just searching it out to see if there are any circulations. I don't see any in Palm Beach County, so that's good news. We're headed north now into the Treasure Coast. The area that, you know what, let's zoom into this right here. Yes, so there's stuff up there, but that may actually go north of, Sebastian, this and that. That's definitely a water spout out there, but it's so far out there, it's a while. That's also probably going to go just north of Sebastian, but watch out, Sebastian. There is the chance that could come close enough to you to impact you. And then there's another one behind it. Those are probably water spouts as well. But let's go out to Eagle Island in Okeechobee County, because that couplet's still together. It's not as strong as it was before, but there it is. Eagle Island, take cover. There is a potential tornado moving your way. It's going to be moving over 441 in probably the next 2 minutes or so. It's going to move right over your neighborhood. Here it is. That is northeast 224th Street. There's northeast 240th Street. Here's northeast 160th Street in Okeechobee County. And this right here, which may or may not be a tornado, but it may be. There's a little bit of circulation left. That could cross over 441 and be right on top of you in Eagle Island in a matter of minutes. Best thing to do is get away from windows, get to an interior portion of your home, like a bathroom or a closet, because, again, we don't have confirmation that there is a tornado on the ground. We have radar indication of rotation that could produce a tornado. So again, one more time, if you want to send us any information, you want to send us any pictures, any videos, you can do so by sending it to newstips@cbs12.com or uploading those pictures to our CBS 12 News app. I'm going to toss it back to the desk. We're going to go monitor the weather situation. I'll be back on in just a couple of seconds.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. And if you need to jump in, you let us know. We'll do that, but we do have some messages we need to get across. We're getting a lot of questions about football. So we just want to pass this along, and then we'll move on. Quick mention here, New York Jets, Buffalo Bills. The game is supposed to be on CBS 12. We're going to be in continuous coverage, obviously, because we need to, especially with all the tornado warnings. But that game, we're going to put it on our sister station. It's going to be on My 15. That will start, or it actually did start at 1 o'clock, so you can tune in there if you need your football fix.
And a lot of people are asking, are we streaming that? I went on the WTCN website, and they do offer a live stream of their channel, their TV channel. So just go to I think it's WTCN/live, and you should be able to watch it if you've lost power and you want to watch it on your phone. If you're a big Jets or Bills fan, you can go do that on the WTCN website. All right, let's get to CBS 12's Mike Magnoli. We sent him to the other side of the state in Sarasota, which is going to be getting the brunt of this storm. Mike, what are the conditions there right now?
Coming to you right now from the parking lot of Bayfront Park here in Sarasota, the downtown area right over here. Photojournalist Chris Mills is going to give you a look at some of the condo high-rises. And you know, the higher you up, the more dangerous, the faster the winds are. Have met a couple of people already who live in these buildings, and they say that they are, in some cases, going to ride out the storm up there. Very important, if you live in one of these high rises, that you seal up any opening and that you stay away from the window. Now, mind you, after Hurricane Andrew, after downtown Miami saw so much devastation and a lot of those big glass panel windows blown out, building codes changed here in Florida. So a lot of the newer buildings have hurricane-proof glass, so they say, but it is very, very difficult to predict how they will hold up as you go higher up into the categories of the hurricanes. Now, last night when we checked into our hotel, a lot of folks that were staying in the hotel were from Longboat Key, and they feel that their chances are better in these sturdy concrete buildings than they would be if they stayed in their houses right there with exposure to the water. In our particular hotel, there are signs all over the lobby that if things get really dicey, the best place to be is in the stairwell. And management says that they'll come over the intercom and they'll tell us to do that. So some of the folks that live in these buildings, if things get really, really bad, that might go. All the restaurants, shops, boutiques in the downtown area have closed up ahead of Irma's arrival. Things are going to get progressively worse over the course of the day, but the absolute worst anticipated until the overnight hours into the early morning hours of Monday. We're coming to you from Sarasota. Send it back to you in the studio.
All right, we need to check back in with Jupiter. The last time we were there, we started seeing the high tide and the water starting to come in. CBS 12's Maxine Bensel is there at the Jupiter Inlet.
As the wind and the rain picks up here at the Jupiter Inlet just north of West Palm Beach, we're starting to see more and more water roll into this parking lot. If you take a look in the corner there, waves, whitecaps rolling into the parking lot, pushing the water further and further up. It almost looks like we're at the beach the way that they're rolling in here. You can see the violently whipping the water right across this. They're almost submerging it. And the thing is, we haven't even hit a high. Closer to that time, we're only going to see more water at the Jupiter Inlet. Reporting in Jupiter, I'm Maxine Bensel.
It is almost the bottom of the hour, coming up on 1:30. It is now 1:26 in the afternoon on this Sunday, and we want to kind of reset, and because we want to start each half hour kind of showing you what's happening, kind of the big picture here across our area as we continue to track Hurricane Irma.
CBS 12's Jeff Baradelli joining us now in the CBS 12 weather office with the very latest now on Irma, and this is a storm that has surprised all of us, and it continues to surprise us.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest surprise this morning is that some of the strongest winds are occurring 100 miles away from the actual storm center. So often storms concentrate their energy right by the eye wall, but this one has this eye wall. Really, you might even consider this another eye wall. This is now moving into the populated parts, moving through the Everglades, but about to move into Kendall, so the populated parts of Miami-Dade County. The eye is about 2.5 hours from making landfall, and it is coming in northward. It's not really making its way west-northwest. If you were listening to me last night at midnight, we talked about the fact we thought it was going to go more north. If you were listening to Chris a few hours ago, he said he thinks it was going more north. And in fact, you can see now, it was supposed to kind of make landfall around Fort Myers, move in that direction. More so, it's headed directly north into Naples. Now, it may try to slowly wobble along the coast of Fort Myers, then come on shore. But either way, it is a little further east. And as a result of being further east, some of the strongest wind gusts are further east. Now, again, we just had a wind gust in Deerfield Beach to 70. Earlier, we had a wind gust to 86 miles an hour in Deerfield Beach. There were unconfirmed reports of a wind gust to 109 in Pembroke Pines and 98 at the North Perry Airport. They're very close together. I wouldn't believe 109 if I didn't see 98 right next to it. So it seems like it's probably legitimate. All right, so that is Lauderdale by the Sea. And that's right by that 70-mile-an-hour wind gust we just had in Deerfield Beach. And remember, this heavy band is now moving north into southern Palm Beach County as well. And obviously, Lauren, as we're looking at all this, if any new tornado warnings come out, please let us know here in the Weather Center. So as we zoom in a little bit more, let's take a look at what's happening.
Hey, and
yeah, go ahead.
Jeff, just really quickly, I just want to make a point that 227,000 people in Palm Beach County alone are without power.
Right.
So a lot of people are listening to us on radio, and they're wanting like specific, very specific locations.
Well, that's what we're going to do. So, Lauren,
Yeah.
let's start. First of all, before anything else, let's change the velocity. Let's go up to the Treasure Coast. I promise you, Palm Beach County, I'm going to get to you in a second. There's just no tornadoes in Palm Beach County, but there could potentially be developing tornadoes on the Treasure Coast. So let me just pick through this radar. Eagle Island, again, that does not look as robust as before, but just to be safe, this circulation is passing right over your heads right now. There may or may not be a tornado with it. Just stay indoors, hunker down, get away from windows. This is going to be by your area and to the west of you in a matter of a minute or two. Lauren, let's check what's happening off the coast of Vero and Sebastian. And we're getting a new warning coming in, right? Okay, where's this for?
Indian River County.
Aha. So this is what we've been telling you about, and I was just telling Lauren, can you switch the radar to Vero Beach and Sebastian? Sure enough, we do have a tornado warning now in effect for eastern Indian River County, southeastern Brevard County until 2 p.m. at 1:26. Thunderstorm capable tornado is located just offshore of South Beach or near Vero Beach, the one we've been telling you about right there. That's it. There's a potential tornado right there. It's moving to the northwest at 50 miles an hour. And the storm's going to be near Vero Beach and Gifford at 1:30, so that's 1 minute from now. Sebastian, Indian River Shores, and Wabasso at 1:40. Sebastian Inlet, Roseland, Barefoot Bay around 1:50. Malabar and Grant Valacaria at around 2 p.m. All right, so this is what we've been talking about. If you've been watching us for the past half hour, you're not surprised at all by this tornado warning because we've been following this circulation off of the coast here. That's the tornado. If there is one, it's going to be headed right towards Rio Mar, right towards Castaway Boulevard. And for the folks in Palm Beach County that are waiting on us to do kind of a neighborhood-by-neighborhood look, we will do that, but we have to get through this tornado first. This is the most imminent, most dangerous thing on the radar right now. What's happening in Palm Beach County, there are no tornadoes at the moment, just these very strong bands. Some of the hurricane-force winds are making their way now into southern Palm Beach County. All right, so we're tracking this to the west-northwest, right into Rio Mar in a matter of 3 or 4 minutes, maybe probably less than that, to be honest with you, because it's moving so fast. And then eventually it crosses the Intracoastal Waterway into Gifford. That happens at 1:38. You can probably take a couple of minutes off of both of these because I think it's going to reach Rio Mar in 2 minutes and Gifford probably in about 6 minutes or so. Then it's making its way right across A1A and then eventually on the north side of Vero Beach. So this is where the tornado warning is out for. That is the area of circulation right there that we're most concerned about. But if you look closely, you can see that there are other areas. This one, there's another one, Lauren, to the north of this that we should keep our eyes on. And if we can, I think it might be a good idea if we can just put the warning on the map and nothing else, because I want to see. All right, so producers, take max 1 if you can. Lauren has something up there that she wants to show everyone. So she's going to have you take max 1, and there it is. Okay, so there is the warning. Okay, so, you know, it's basically the whole coast. And the reason why they did, and that's why I wanted to check to see what the warning was, because it's not just the cell we pointed out, although that's the most suspect. There are a couple of different circulations embedded in this squall line as it moves on shore. And right now it's located on top of Sebastian. Indian River Shores, Vero Beach, you are under this tornado warning that's in effect until 2 p.m. Right now it's 1:30, so we have about a half hour to go before this expires. Although I feel like some of these circulations will be past the tornado watch box or tornado warning box in a matter of 15 minutes because they're moving so fast. And whatever circulations we saw earlier, not quite as robust anymore. But as you can see, there's likely something right there. And we've been tracking the same one, and there's one there, too. So it's literally 2 circulations, and that's why the National Weather Service made kind of a large tornado box, because there were a couple of suspect areas. So if we can, Lauren, let's track this one up to the northwest in that direction, because it could be headed on the south side of Sebastian. Just want to make sure we got the people in Sebastian covered. I have some relatives myself in the Sebastian area. So we're tracking it into Sebastian at 1:45. We're tracking it to North Beach at 1:40, Wabasso Beach 1:38, Roseland at 1:47, and Mico at around 1:50, which of course is in Brevard County. So that is that particular circulation right there. And again, there's one a little further to the south, and that we're more concerned about places like Gifford moving in. But as of right now, these circulations don't stand out quite as much as the one earlier in the St. Lucie area. That was that tornado warning that was in effect for St. Lucie and for northern and western Martin County earlier. But nevertheless, this line, as it comes in, it's coming in right now. Even if it doesn't have a tornado, it is likely to have wind gusts to about 70 miles an hour with some of these storms as they move on in. And there's the strongest of the winds moving on shore right along A1A just to the east of Gifford on the north side of Palm Beach. And I wouldn't pay too much attention to the queries here just because, generally speaking, the winds are stronger. All right, so that's a look at Jupiter. And the water is we would call this overwash. It's not a storm surge flooding situation, but there is some overwash in the Jupiter area right now. And looking at the winds right now, they're probably gusting to about 45 miles an hour. So the heaviest of the squalls are still to the south of Jupiter, and those are going to be moving north. So there's a shear marker right there, and that's exactly the area we've been talking about in the Vero Beach area. We do have a camera in Fort Pierce. Whether or not it's actually working right now in the control room, I don't know. But we do, in fact, have a WeatherBug camera up there. Whether or not it's actually operational, just because of all the strong winds, it's hard to know. Lauren, zoom in a little bit more. I want to get some streets on the map here. There's Federal Highway. There's A1A. There's Indian River Shores. Here's Vero Beach. And it's moving right across this area. So here's Ocean Beach Trail. That's Rio Mar right there. Strongest winds are crossing the Intracoastal Waterway, about to move across Federal Highway in Gifford. So that's on the north side of Vero Beach. That's where the strongest winds are, and that's likely if there is any kind of circulation left with this, that's likely where it is. We're zooming out a little bit more. And remember, the warning is not just for Gifford. It's also further north along the coast to Winter Beach, Wabasso, and up to Sebastian as well, and even south of that as well. So as we zoom out a little bit more, just want to get kind of a wide view of where the most suspect areas are. And, you know, this is yet another area we're going to have to watch very closely right there. That could be a water spout. That would probably come on shore around Sebastian or just north into Brevard County. So we'll have to see if they issue another warning for that. But for right now, that's a little far offshore for them to do that. And the rest of the area south of there, if you're watching from Lakewood Park or Fort Pierce, I don't see any indications that there are any tornadoes there. So, Lauren, it may be a good time now to start doing a little bit of a quick radar tour of Palm Beach County, because those really heavy bands are starting to make their way onshore in Palm Beach County as well. And so we'll go a little further south. So the most steady of the hurricane-force winds are now making their way into Boca. And pretty soon I think they'll make their way up into Boynton Beach as well. And some of these gusts in West Palm and Jupiter, and also out to Wellington and Pahokee, are likely to probably be in about the 65-mile-an-hour range. So 65 up here, probably 70 here, and probably about 75-mile-an-hour wind gusts around Boca. Just based on what has been happening over the past hour or so in Broward County, I know that those hurricane-force winds are kind of coming our way. There's a view of downtown West Palm Beach. And as of now, no hurricane-force winds in downtown. But every once in a while, another squall will come in and kind of punch that wind up another 20 or 30 miles an hour. And watch out to Cuesta, Hope Sound. Some big squalls are kind of heading your way right now. Let's go a little further to the south. I want to show folks what's on the way. If you're located in Boca Raton, the rain really becomes much more solid here into Broward County. So there's Broward County, and it's very solid. And these bands are producing wind gusts to hurricane force, and they extend all the way down into Miami-Dade. And actually, in Miami-Dade, we have one squall, this one right here. Wait until this gets into our area. This one likely has wind gusts over 90 miles an hour, and that is kind of lifting to the north. So each successive squall, as we get closer and closer to this storm kind of reaching our latitude, is going to get stronger and stronger. All right, so now that we've done kind of a radar tour of our area, and folks, if you're listening to me on the radio or TV and you want me to mention your neighborhood, I promise I will get to it. It's just a matter of focusing on the areas where we have the greatest imminent danger, and that is on the Treasure Coast again, up towards the Fort Pierce area, north of that into the Vero Beach area. So let's bring the radar back north again if we can. And we're going to head up to that tornado warning up there. So little by little, we're going to get up there, and there's the tornado warning. This is the cell. It's moving quickly in that direction, very fast. It's actually, most of the cell is going to be in Brevard County in a matter of 15 minutes, Laura. People affected, 180,000 people.
It's not as
Can you put Lauren's microphone on? She's talking. Go ahead, Lauren.
And again, it's not as well defined, Jeff, but I would assume that what was that couplet that was significantly tighter offshore is somewhere in this area.
Yeah, and it could really be anywhere. We're looking at a thunderstorm that, has multiple circulations, and so you might have a tornado in one location, it may dissipate, and then a mile away, another one may just develop out of that same thunderstorm. So, it really, bottom line is if you're under a tornado warning, just assume that there's a possibility there could be a tornado near your home. And by the way, there's no reason to panic here. As long as you're in your home and you're away from windows, you will be just fine. We are here to kind of walk you through minute by minute, step by step, and you will be safe as long as you kind of listen to the advice we're giving you. Just stay away from the windows, get to an interior portion of your home, bathroom or a closet, and you're going to be just fine. So we talk about, sometimes we have to break down and every once in a while just tell you, hey, yes, there are a million tornado warnings and we are on top of each one of them. And it sounds like the world is ending, but the bottom line is that we're in total control of the situation right now. And what I mean by that is as long as you are protecting yourself by being in your home, away from windows in a bathroom, or bathroom or a closet when you're in a tornado warning, you are going to be just fine as these come on by. But there's going to be very little notice on some of these. We gave you about a half hour's notice on that tornado warning that was issued around the Vero Beach, Sebastian area. We saw it offshore. We tracked it the whole way. So there are going to be very few surprises here. We're going to keep on top of it very, very carefully. This is a live picture right now in Boca Raton. And man, does it look stormy. Hey, John Matthews, can you press the space bar on the WeatherBug computer? Sure can. All right, we're going to press the space bar and we're going to see what we come up with here. And thank you, John. I appreciate it. Yeah, here's the gust. So now we have that gust up to 69 in West Palm Beach, 66 in Delray. So we're getting closer to hurricane force winds. Not quite. 74 would be hurricane force winds. So we're starting to see those stronger winds.
Jeff, can I
sure, John. Yeah.
I got one little update because we had
come on camera.
Standing in the water in Jupiter.
And by the way, you're standing in the water now because you're standing in front of the Lake Worth Pier.
This is actually
right
Juno
What a
Beach.
mess. Juno Beach?
Juno.
Okay. The one thing I did was I checked the tides because I saw Maxine at the Jupiter Inlet there. I thought, where are the tides? She's right at high tide. In fact, we are at high tide. So all along the shoreline, our next tide will be, of course, low tide, and that'll be at Fort Pierce at 5:46 this afternoon. So that'll give us a break as the bigger feeder bands come in and start to affect us, especially around Fort Pierce, which has had a lot of flooding problems so far. And we're all about to see that as well, as that radar is reflecting a lot of rain. Jupiter Inlet, low tide is at 5:55 or 6 o'clock tonight. Palm Beach Inlet, 6:06. Boca Raton, I checked that, 6:04, where we're just showing the Boca Raton. So we're on the way down with the tide. That should give us a little break with some of the wash with the waves coming in. Those are pretty large, though, as I can show you on the picture there. You can see here's Jupiter under the water. This is where Maxine Benzel is, and you can see that's right up close to that marina there and by the Tiki Bar and all the areas there. Sustained wind of 81 miles an hour at Fowey Rocks. And,
Fowey Rocks down by Key Biscayne, John.
Yeah. So that's we're still seeing 80 to 90 mile an hour wind gusts to our south, which are all coming our way as that storm continues to advance. So Irma's giving a big problem. This is still Jupiter. This is by the inlet there. I'm on the wrong picture. That's right over here. And this is, of course, high tide that you're looking at, so we'll continue to watch that. But as that should help a lot as the big waves and the big winds start to move in across the area, we should avoid some of the beach erosion or some of the problems to that sensitive area there right in Jupiter Inlet, where we've got all these great restaurants and our precious lighthouse as well. So that's the story on that. Looks like a beach. Maxine Benzel was standing in the water. I'm going, ooh. The other advice, by the way, is don't stand in the water when it's in your streets if you get flooded like that. Maxine's doing that just for us, but for people wondering, yeah?
We switched the picture to Miami, but that's actually Lake Worth.
This is Lake. Oh,
this just got this picture in. That is Bryant Park, and you can see Storm Surge has covered it up.
Oh, really? Okay. Bryant Park, right there. It's on the inland area away from the ocean.
Yep.
So that's interesting in Lake Worth as well. Our problem is that this is not the worst of it. We're beginning to get into the worst of it, and that's why we've got everybody on team. We've got our whole 6 meteorological team here for you, along with a lot of people that are behind the scenes here at CBS 12 that you can't see, that are running all the boards and all the electronics and camera people and directors and producers. There are a whole team of people behind you. So you can can relax. We'll keep you well informed. We have power, but I understand we're missing about 250,000 FP&L customers for our area, Palm Beach County, and around the Treasure Coast as well. So a lot of you, we're going to have to kind of remember to talk radio talk, give you kind of radio-like descriptive, more description than just what we see on the TV. But we get an idea as we look at the pier there. Big rolling waves. There's got to be about 8-foot waves coming in across the pier there, making a big mess of the beaches. And you can see the wind gusting on the palm tree right there. So a lot of issues right there in the Lake Worth as well as up and down our coastline. We are still watching for the return of the big rain and the bigger winds that come with those feeder bands. And we're going to see some issues there with those winds already reported to our south, 80 to 90 mile an hour wind gusts, by the way, not sustained. So it'll get windier and windier. Then we'll get those wind gusts when we put this paper down. And then we'll start to have greater problems as we go through the day. So our afternoon, our late afternoon, and our early evening will be the big issue for us with Irma. What's this picture? What do we got here? Boca. Oh, I know Boca. We all love Boca. Beautiful. Still looking pretty windy, but we're right on the edge of that. We'll get back to the radar in a second, too. Should we do that, Jeff?
Yeah, we're going to go back on the radar. John, if you don't mind, I'm going to take over for just one second. Okay, I appreciate
jump right
it.
out of the picture.
Yep, I appreciate it. So we just got another tornado warning here for east central St. Lucie County and eastern Martin County until 2:15. So it's for the next half hour or so. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located over Port St. Lucie, moving northwest at 50 miles an hour. So that's the tornado warning right there. And it's located over Port St. Lucie. And there's another big cell right on top of Hope Sound. So these tornado warnings are coming out fast and furious. The tornadic thunderstorm will remain over mainly rural areas in central St. Lucie and eastern Martin counties, including the following locations. Rio. All right, so there it is. That's the tornado. So it still is overpopulated areas. So let's zoom in. I want to put some streets on there if we can, Lauren. Let's get a little bit closer in there. There's Federal Highway to the east. Okay, here we are. There's Port St. Lucie Boulevard. That's the tornado right there. It's about to cross over the turnpike. That's Port St. Lucie. And again, it's moving basically at 50 miles an hour in that location, so it's going to be moving basically right over Port St. Lucie. So we're tracking it into Port St. Lucie right now. So if you're in Port St. Lucie, take cover, get into an interior portion of your home, bathroom or closet. You will be just fine if you do so. There's no reason to panic here. First of all, these tornadoes are very small, so the chance that you will get hit by a tornado is obviously small, just based upon the fact that they're not wide like the tornadoes you see in Oklahoma. But nevertheless, the threat exists for literally downtown Port St. Lucie right now. If on the radar you see the circulation here, it's probably already over there by now. That's how quickly these are moving. You get a sweep every minute or so, and it's a minute behind, if you will. All right, so now we're looking at some live pictures of Jupiter there, and the tide is certainly rising and coming up. I'll tell the producers in the booth to let me know if you see any water kind of coming over the seawalls and spilling over onto the roads. We do not have any indication of that yet. So there's the tornado. If there is a tornado, it's a radar-indicated tornado. It's about to cross over through the heart of Port St. Lucie. There's Port St. Lucie Boulevard right there. Let me step out. It's headed towards Southwest California Boulevard, and there it is. So is this the new sweep that just came out, Lauren, or is this just a different? Okay.
Jeff, can I give you the latest
Sure.
here? This is kind of backtracking just a little bit, but I think it was a tornado warning.
Yes, okay, so
just what you're saying there.
Yes, exactly. So this is the same tornado warning, but they just put out another statement on it, just saying flying debris could potentially be dangerous, and it's a radar-indicated tornado. All right, thank you, John. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. All right, so that's where it is right now. We're waiting for a new radar sweep to come out. And Lauren, because this is moving so fast, I kind of want to zoom this out a little bit more. And even a little bit more than that, and maybe give me a little bit more room here, because I want to see this kind of heading in this direction. So there's I-95. This is a great view. This is perfect. And it's moving in that direction. So get ready on the southern side of River Park. It's heading your way. Get ready in Carlton. It'll be in your location at 1:55, so that's about 8 minutes from now. Oh, trees down in Boca. So that's a big tree branch. Doesn't look like the whole tree, but that's what happens when those bands that are in Broward County rotate up into Boca Raton and Delray. We told you there will be hurricane force wind gusts. That is probably evidence right there of wind gusts close to about 70 miles an hour. So we're starting to get into that hurricane wind zone gust zone, not sustained. By the way, there was that, and John Matthews mentioned it, that sustained wind of 82 miles an hour at Key Biscayne in Miami. And speaking of Miami, that's live video of Miami. Do we know where in Miami that is? If you know where in Miami is, just let me know. But nevertheless, you can see. That's a look at Miami Beach right now. I lived on Miami Beach for about 6 years or so. I don't quite recognize exactly where that is, but nevertheless, yeah, it's really blowing up a storm on Miami Beach. And just south of there, they just had a wind gust to 82, or excuse me, a sustained wind to 82 on Key Biscayne. So their winds are sustained at hurricane force there. And remember, they're over 100 miles away from the center of the storm. So this storm has a tremendous amount of energy, not just concentrated right near the center, but dispersed over a very wide area. So that means once the storm gets north towards Orlando and even eventually Gainesville, it's going to weaken as it heads in that direction. But as it heads in that direction, it is going to produce hurricane force wind gusts at the University of Florida, probably at UCF as well, and maybe even in Tallahassee as the storm moves north. But it will weaken. It's not likely to be a Cat 4. It's likely to be a Cat 1, Cat 2 once it gets way north towards Gainesville and Tallahassee. All right, so there it is. This is a look at the current sweep of the radar. We're waiting for the new one to come in so we can track it towards the west. And what we could do, Lauren, is try to see, being that this is close enough to the Miami radar, we may want to change this to the velocity from the Miami radar, maybe even PBI, see if PBI reaches it, because I want to see whichever one comes in first. So, is this PBI?
This is Miami.
This is the Miami radar. Okay,
There's
that's no good.
PBI.
There's PBI. Okay, all of them have it in generally the same location, which is right on top of Port St. Lucie right now. So, yeah, Melbourne is probably going to be the best radar to use for this. And I think we just got a new sweep, Lauren.
Yes.
Notice how it moved? So, as we said, it was going to move right across Port St. Lucie. It has now moved across Port St. Lucie. It's on the northwest side. Right there, it's about to cross over 95. And Carlton, get ready. If there's a tornado on the ground, this tornado will be on top of you in about 5 minutes or so. And there's the Glades cutoff. If you're kind of looking for a way to figure out what you're looking at on this map, that's River Park. So the possible tornadoes on the western side of River Park. It's about to cross over 95.
One for Palm Beach County.
All right, so now we have a tornado warning for... Okay, this is a large tornado warning. It's in effect for northeastern Miami-Dade, eastern Broward, southeastern Palm Beach County, likely because we have a long line of big thunderstorms coming in. So as we head a little further south, probably now we do need to switch over to Miami radar, and there we are. So that right there is a tornado offshore. I don't see any indications of any tornadoes up here. Can you put this in motion over the past 30 minutes? I just want to see if it should be moving in this general direction right here towards downtown Fort Lauderdale. There it is. One more time. Here it is. So yeah, the reason why they put the tornado warning out for South Palm Beach County is because it's likely going to come in around here on the north side of Parkland and on the west side of Boca. Whether or not it actually gets to Boca, that particular circulation, it may be just west of you. It may pass west of the urban corridor and head into what is a fairly unpopulated part of southwest Palm Beach County. Right now, the banner is right on top of where the tornado is. Okay, so we're tracking it to the west-northwest or northwest at 50 miles an hour. So we're tracking it into Golden Beach at 202, Broward County. Fort Lauderdale, 213, obviously also in Broward County. And then West Delray at 239. But this is likely to pass to the west of West Delray. It could clip... Is that Sandalfoot Cove? Do me a favor, zoom into West Boca if we can, Lauren, because the one area in our viewing area that most likely would be affected here would be the Sandalfoot Cove area, Hamptons and Boca Raton. So if it were to affect you, and I think it may just go just south of you, but be ready, and eventually, not right now, but be ready eventually because it's going to take a while to get there. Hamptons, Boca Raton, and Sandalfoot Cove, this area, Boca del Mar, for the possibility of a tornado moving away. Where's this video from, Control Room? All right, so that's a look at Miami. And that is what a hurricane looks like. You can see those bands coming in sideways, that iconic look at palm trees swaying in the wind. We've had sustained winds over 80 miles an hour at Key Biscayne. We've had wind gusts to 94 miles an hour at MIA, at Miami International Airport. And that's a look right now that's a look at South Beach. Can't tell it's South Beach because you can't see anything, but that's what it looks like in South Beach. And that is what's heading our way right now. In fact, Lauren, let's switch over quickly to base reflectivity on this. I want to show the band that's coming up through Miami because this is the most intense band we've seen all day today. There it is. This band right here will have wind gusts probably to 95 miles an hour. and it's moving up through Coral Gables right now. Kendall, it's about to move into downtown Miami. Miami Beach, this band is moving across there. That storm right there is headed into downtown Fort Lauderdale with the possibility of a tornado. That's why we have a tornado warning in effect. Again, till 2:15 for northeastern Miami-Dade, eastern Broward, southeastern Palm Beach County. That is the cell right there. Let's switch over to velocity mode. We'll take care of the cell here in Fort Lauderdale. And then after that, right there, that could be also another, there it is. So this is heading in that direction. So if you happen to be listening to us on the radio from Fort Lauderdale or somehow tapping into our signal from Fort Lauderdale, get ready downtown Fort Lauderdale. This is heading your way. Can we track this into Fort Lauderdale and then actually extend the track out to Sandalfoot Cove and Hamptons of Boca Raton as well? I want to make sure that they're in the track as well. So we're going to track this at about 50-something miles an hour. All right, so we're tracking it into...
Oh, no, hold on, sorry.
Well, that's okay. Fort Lauderdale at 209, so... probably quicker than that. I think it's going to be in there maybe 205. So take a few minutes off this at home. Just do the math. Pompano Beach at 216. It's going to go west of Pompano Beach. Coral Springs could definitely be in the path of this at 224. Hamptons of Boca Raton. So here's Sandalfoot Cove, Hamptons of Boca Raton. If it in fact does clip you, it's going to be there at 2:30. So you have about 30 minutes or so to prepare. But that is a potential tornado about to move on shore. Something else is coming my way.
Another tornado warning.
All right, another tornado warning.
Indian River County.
Indian River County. All right, let's head back up to the Treasure Coast right now. So just remember, because we have to cover all the tornado warnings and we have a bunch, just remember that in about a half hour, if you're in Southwest Boca, Coral Springs, Sandalfoot Cove, a tornado may move your way. I promise you we'll get back to that one in a couple of seconds, but I want to tell you about the latest one in Indian River County. Tornado warning for north central Indian River County for a cell right over what looks to be Fellsmere. Looks to be right over Fellsmere, and in fact, that's what they say it is. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over Fellsmere, moving northwest at 40 miles an hour. So there's the cell crossing over I-95.
There it is.
Right there. If there's a tornado, it's located right there. Fellsmere, you should be away from windows in an interior portion of your home, a bathroom, or a closet. No reason to panic. There could be a tornado overhead. It's not going to be 100 yards wide. It's likely to be, more narrow than that. But if it does impact you, it's going to rattle your house. You may hear that siren, that characteristic sound of a kind of a freight train going by. No reason to panic. Just get away from windows, get to an interior portion of your home. Your home is likely strong enough to support itself if, in fact, there is a tornado touching down right now. And I should mention that we've had just an unbelievable amount of tornado warnings. We knew this was going to be the major issue around here. But not everyone touches down. So just because you're under a tornado warning doesn't mean it's going to happen. Some of them actually do touch down. Some of them don't touch down. So that's the tornado warning that's in effect now for Indian River County. And we're going further south to show you the cell off Fort Lauderdale. It's getting closer to the coast. We just got a new radar sweep. This is headed towards the east side of Dania Beach, right across Fort Lauderdale Airport. Fort Lauderdale Airport's right there. And Port Everglades, that's Port Everglades right there. That's downtown Fort Lauderdale right there. So it's going to be moving right over that location. Then we also have another tornado warning that's out for the Port St. Lucie area. I want to check on that one. That was moving west into fairly less inhabited parts of the county. And we're going to have to switch that over to Melbourne radar. I really do have Lauren working overtime. I just want to mention thank you, Lauren Oleski, for rolling with my punches because I can be very bossy, can't I?
It's okay.
All right. Well, I'm glad. Thank you. All right. So that's Okeechobee Road. Zoom in a little bit more. So the tornado, if it's probably a little less, just zoom out a little bit more. Okay. So there seems to be a broad circulation. That's Shin Road. This is Okeechobee Road. That's Orange Avenue. This is the circulation somewhere in this area right here. Remember, if you just tuned in before, it was located over the northwestern side of River Park.
Let's backtrack
somewhere in there.
and see if we can see the velocity.
Yeah. And Eric, every once in a while, pop the banner off because we're going to be
Might be that.
because we're going to be kind of going backwards to show it. So go ahead, do the last 30 minutes so I can kind of track it for you. Okay, go ahead. Forward. There it is, right in there. Okay, so there it is. So likely, and there could be more than one circulation, but that's likely where it is right there. So just on the north side of Okeechobee Road, quickly heading northwest to the Florida Turnpike on the west side of Kings Highway. Again, we may or may not have a tornado with this. It had I think, a couplet or a circulation that was a little bit more robust before. It seems to have come apart a little bit, but there could still be a tornado there. So if you're just tuning in, let's give everybody the wide view, Lauren, because we have 3 tornado warnings active right now. One of them is on top of Fellsmere.
I do want to let you know, Jeff, the intermediate advisory for Irma just came in, and winds are now down to 120 miles an hour. So I'll give you guys a wide view of that on radar.
All right, so that's interesting. So we have 3 tornado warnings out, and I'll tell you about the intermediate advisory in a second. There's one possible tornado over Fellsmere. It's moving quickly west. It'll be gone out of Fellsmere and into rural parts of Indian River County very shortly, probably in the next 5 minutes or so. That's one tornado warning. Another tornado warning we just showed you in St. Lucie County, and yet another one that's in effect for Broward County and extreme southern Palm Beach County. Whether or not that circulation right there ever gets to southwest Boca, we are not sure exactly, because it's going to pass literally just west, so we may get lucky. It may kind of clip or just move west of Mission Bay. But be ready in Mission Bay, Sandalfoot Cove, Hamptons of Boca Raton, and Coral Springs, because this is moving your way. And if you're listening to us on the radio, this tornado is about to get ready to move on shore around Fort Lauderdale. We're tracking it to Oakland Park at 2:11, Fort Lauderdale 2:08, so that's probably less than 10 minutes. Tamarack at 2:18, Lakeview at 2:21. All right, if you want to, let's show everybody the latest on Hurricane Irma. Hurricane Irma is getting close to making landfall around Naples. The winds are down to 120 miles an hour. It's back down to a Category 3. You can see that the southern part of the eye wall is gone now. It's the northern part of the eye wall that still is very formidable, and the eye wall is coming on shore in Naples. So we're going to start to see those winds probably gust to 120 miles an hour in Naples within about the next hour or so. This is moving straight north. Of course, you can hear Mr. Johnny Matthews in the Weather Center. You can hear Lauren in the Weather Center as well. So this is the latest on the storm. It is moving north, or 350 degrees, so almost due north, at 12 miles an hour. So it has picked up its forward speed again a little bit. That's good news. We want it to move very fast so it can get out of here and things can start getting better around here. But what I find very interesting is that, maximum sustained winds in the center are 120, but yet there are unconfirmed reports of wind gusts to 108 miles an hour earlier in Broward County. So, as much wind as this has, these bands have almost as much wind, which is really incredible. And remember, these tornadoes have even stronger winds in them. So if you happen to be in the path of a tornado, take it seriously, because winds are going to be gusting past 100 miles an hour there. This is by far the strongest band that I've seen, and this is lifting north through Miami right now. This is also very intense band. If you haven't had hurricane force wind gusts in Boca yet, once this band rotates north to you, you are going to see hurricane force wind gusts in Boca and also in Delray. All right, that's a look at Naples. So we're getting ready for landfall in Naples. I assume that's one of our storm chasers that's over in the Naples area right now. That's our CBS station right now, and their live shot in Naples. I know that some of our storm chasers are kind of lined up in the Naples area as well, so keep an eye on them. Also, the Severe Studios storm chasers as well on the Severe Studios website. They are positioned right near the center, the core of that storm. So producers, you can take a look at that as well. If none of our storm chasers have a good shot right now, you can go to Severe Studios and take one of their shots as well. So you can see this eye wall kind of moving on shore. That's Marco Island. That's Everglades. Chokoloskee is how that's pronounced, I think, and Naples. A lot of people go fishing here. I used to be a fisherman, so that's why I know how to pronounce that name. Anyway, it's moving north, and it's about to make landfall in Marco Island. All right, so we should be doing right now is heading back to those tornado warnings in our area, because we have 3 tornado warnings that are active right now in our viewing area. One of them is in the Sebastian area. One of them is in, I see there's a lot of people gathered around the weather computer.
It's a very popular place to be.
Okay, I just want to make sure everything's okay over there, because there were literally 6 people. Okay. All right, which storm chaser is this? We're going to go to a storm chaser in Marco Island right now. Okay. All right, so this is one of our storm chasers in Marco Island waiting for the storm to make landfall. You can see how the conditions are really picking up there. That's the eye wall right there, so you can see the juxtaposition, if you will, the eye wall making its way north, and our storm chaser located in the Marco Island area. Not yet in the worst of it, but producers, about 15 or 20 minutes, that shot that you see on that side of the screen is really going to start cranking. All right, so let's go back to our area now. Let's put the velocity mode back on, and I want to look at all those three areas. The Fellsmere possible tornado. I want to look at the area in St. Lucie County, and then I want to look at the area in Fort Lauderdale from north to south if we can, Lauren. So when you get a chance, let's bring the radar up north again and put the velocities on, and let's just go over those areas. Tornado warning there, tornado warning there, and tornado warning there.
Which should we start with? The one in.
Let's start up north because that was right over Fellsmere, and I think it's actually west of Fellsmere now. It's actually probably located right there now.
Yep.
So
moving
so it
into
looks like,
maybe Brevard.
Okay, so just to let you know, we're not going to be concentrating too much more on Fellsmere because that, if there was a tornado, is about to move into Brevard County out of our viewing area. So let's cross that off the list right now just because it looks like the threat is over for you in Fellsmere. All right, further to the south, we had the tornado that was located around Okeechobee Road. And if there is one, it's probably located right about there. So let's go a little further west. Let's, if you can, put this in motion over the last 20, 30 minutes or so. I want to get an idea of, there it is. So it's heading across Orange Avenue. If there still is a tornado with this cell, it's moving into extreme rural parts of northwestern St. Lucie County, right across Orange Avenue. So just be aware if you live in that general area, get inside your home, interior portion of your home, like a bathroom or closet. But as it stands right now, that's moving out of the populated area. Lauren, go back north for 1 second. I want to check something I saw on the radar as we were kind of going by. Zoom into there, right by Palm City. Just want to make sure that we don't have anything there. Okay, so as of now, I don't see any distinct circulations. I just kind of something caught the corner of my eye as you went south. All right, let's go back south to the storm that's making landfall right now in Fort Lauderdale. I'll tell the producers in the booth that if we have a live shot in downtown Fort Lauderdale, that's the tornado, that's the airport. Fort Lauderdale Airport, Dania Beach, right there. And it looks like this tornado, if there is one, is moving on shore as we speak right now. So if we do have a live camera in and around the Fort Lauderdale area, that's where the tornado is. That's right at the end, by the way, of 595. So if you have traveled to the Fort Lauderdale Airport, you know you can go west or east on 595. If you go east, you run right into Port Everglades, and that is Port Everglades. So the tornado is likely right on top of Port Everglades. If you've ever taken a cruise out of Port Everglades, that's where the tornado is right now. That's a live shot of Lauderdale by the Sea. It looks like we just lost the camera a second ago. Every once in a while, we get a frame or two from that camera, but that just gives you an indication of how strong those winds are getting there in Lauderdale by the Sea. All right, so now the tornado is actually on land. It's right underneath where we have this white right there. And this is moving quickly to the northwest. So if there is a tornado, that's downtown Fort Lauderdale. There's Harbor Beach, and here's Melrose Park. Again, we do broadcast in some parts of Broward County, and we especially are broadcasting right now on the radio in Broward County. The reason why we're spending time on this is because it likely is going to be headed across Parkland and maybe into the Sandalfoot Cove area of southwest Broward County. So it's conceivable that it'll be moving in that direction. So we're tracking it through Broward County into Broadview at 214. If we can expand this out a little bit, Lauren, I want to track this into southwest Boca as well. I know a lot of folks who live there, and it really just, I got to be honest, it looks like this is probably going to pass just to the west of the populated parts of southwest Palm Beach County. But just in case, if you live within a mile or so of Sandalfoot Cove, just be aware that this circulation will be in your area by 2:24. So that is less than 20 minutes from now. And in the Coral Springs area, if you're watching us from there, at 2:21, if it holds together, and that's a big if. But the tornado warning is still active for Broward County and the southwestern portion of Palm Beach County as well. So that's what we're looking at on the radar right now. We certainly have a lot going on. We have. Can you put Lauren's mic on?
I think it's up.
Good. Now it's on.
So we were talking earlier about how we have this is a similar. On this day, Donna made landfall. So I want to bring up that comparison picture if you're okay with that.
Is it on Max 2?
No, I've got it right here on Max 1.
This is amazing. This is amazing. I'm going to step out of the picture. It hit on September 10th, Donna, back in 1960.
Waiting for it to load. There we go.
I mean, it made landfall almost in the exact same place, on the exact same date, with almost the exact same strength.
Yeah.
Okay, and it looks very similar.
Yeah, and Donna did Marathon and then to Naples. And then we also have now Irma did one of the lower keys and also is heading to Naples.
Right, so one of them made landfall. Donna made landfall in Marathon. This one made landfall in Big Pine Key, and they're both headed to Naples. So this is an amazing comparison considering it happened on the same day. By the way, today's the peak of hurricane season.
It is, and this is the first time that Florida has seen landfall by a major hurricane in over 10 years. The last one was Wilma in 2005, and it made landfall as a Category 3.
And we're breaking all kinds of records because this is the first year we've ever been hit, the United States has ever been hit by 2 Category 4 hurricanes.
Right.
So records are being broken all over the place, that's for sure. All right, so I think what we should do now is just kind of go back to radar. Let's show a current radar of Irma as it starts making landfall. And in the control room, be ready because our storm chasers that are there right now, or cameras that are there right now, are going to have some amazing shots that you're about to see as this storm makes landfall in T-minus probably 15 minutes or so is when the eye wall will start coming on shore. So I think we have a storm chaser that's right about there. So he's probably 10 minutes from the core of that storm. And also, while we do that, there's that tornado warning right there, barely creeps into southern Palm Beach County. This band is really heavy, and if you don't get a tornado in southern Palm Beach County, and you probably won't, odds are, because they're so small, you are going to get hurricane-force winds, and they are about to start right now. This other band right here probably has some wind gusts to around 65, 70 miles an hour. It's moving into the Port St. Lucie, Stewart, Jensen Beach area. We've been talking about that. There was a tornado warning earlier for that. And then we have this band that's right on top of downtown Miami, moving north into downtown Miami. That likely has some wind gusts over 90 miles an hour with it. And there is the center of the storm now moving north right on top of Marco Island in Naples. So it's about to make, now landfall is not the actual eye wall. Landfall is considered the lowest pressure, which is right in the middle of the eye. So that's still probably a good solid hour away from making landfall, but the eye wall is minutes away from making landfall. I know my control room is trying to tell me something. Okay, is this video or is this a lot? This is video. All right, so this is it, folks. Take a look at the storm surge earlier today in Key. Can we take that full? Let's take the video full if we can. I know it's going to be, I know it's a vertical shot, but it'll still look better if we take it full. And there it is. Look at that Atlantic Ocean washing into Key West. This is why we tell you, look at those waves crashing behind those houses. That's why we tell you it is not safe to be in the Florida Keys with a landfalling hurricane. Now, keep in mind, Key West was on the western side of this eye wall. I can only imagine what it was like in Big Pine Key. And to be honest with you, I'm a little concerned. I know there are a lot of folks that are concerned about the key deer population. There are only a few key deer, a few hundred key deer. They're basically an endangered species, and they survive only in places like Big Pine Key. And there was just about 10 or 15 feet of water that came across that island. And I know there roosters over there. And there are, like, John is right, but there are a lot of roosters in Key West and all across the lower Keys, that's for sure. So that's some video from Key West. Appreciate that, guys. Yeah, John, do you want to step into the shot?
I'm good. I'm loving watching you, man.
All right, well, come on, do a little bit of talking.
Make sure my microphone is on here.
I hear you.
Okay, mic is on. All right, good. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm right here, too. Who's also joined us behind the scenes is Michael Ehrenberg. He just did a Facebook Live a few minutes ago. You could check that on our website, cbs12.com, and go to the live information. By the way, for those of you that don't know it, you can pick us up on the Internet. If you're out of power at your house and you're listening to us on the radio, we are broadcasting live and simulcasting on just about every radio station on your dial. No kidding. All the radio stations have adopted CBS 12 with our super severe weather expert Jeff Baradelli, who is just doing a great job along with the rest of our staff. We're so glad that you're watching or listening to us. We are going to be with you all the way through the duration, as we have been for several days nonstop. And you can see that we have a serious problem here going on with this storm moving up the coast. And, of course, with it, the heavier rain just about to bring in the even more condensed rain bands across the area. And you can see we've got a lot of that flow. And within those bands, that's where we have the tornado watches and warnings a lot. In fact, this tornado warning right through, we're watching that box there, right through the area that we're looking at, Port St. Lucie, expires at 2:15. Yeah, Jeff.
Hey, John, I'm just getting this from the National Weather Service. A spotter confirmed a tornado. one southeastern intersection, I-595. So that's exactly where we were telling you about that tornado that probably was on the ground near the airport.
You're talking about Fort Lauderdale now? I-595?
Yeah.
Okay.
Spotter reports tornado on the ground near Fort Lauderdale
Whoa.
International Airport.
Okay, let's
and
look
that
at
was
that.
that was at 2 o'clock, exactly when we showed you it was on the ground there. Michael, you can actually bring that storm report up on the radar.
There's the inlet in Fort Lauderdale. My daughter lives down there. That's right down by Las Olas Boulevard. So that's where the tornado is being reported on the ground. You know, that looked very serious there coming through. You were showing that on the velocity a minute ago, Jeff. That velocity feature, for a lot of you that aren't accustomed to it, isn't quite as pretty as like a satellite picture or the radar, but it gives exact definition of the storms and the way we can analyze it. That's a great advantage to everybody. So many times I've seen Jeff say, well, it's right here, this little couplet there, and it always verifies. So when we give you those watches and warnings, you need to really, really be aware of what's going on around you. So that's right by the airport, Dania Beach. I think it's right by the, here's where all the ships go out to sea. Wow, that's right in there, isn't it?
The airport, John, as you can see there.
The airport is right down there. Yeah. And this is the exit at Oakland Park Boulevard, I believe.
Yeah, everybody gets off by
Jeff, wait a minute, I can't hear you, Michael. Say it again, Michael.
Everybody goes east on 595 to get to the airport from 95.
Right,
so
then you go around
that
the airport.
hopefully that hasn't done any destruction to the airport property itself. It could have. We don't see the airport having the destruction, the tornado report on the airport grounds, but very near it.
So that was 15 minutes ago, guys. So that tornado has likely moved on into central Broward County. So what we should do is put the velocity on and track it up to the Sandalfoot Cove area. So there it is.
Yeah, there it is, right there.
Which one is it, Jeff?
Well, there are a couple.
I'll let Jeff do this one.
There are a couple. So we're actually going to see. So actually, it's up there now, Michael. So,
yeah, there it is.
So it was right there.
Which is by the airport.
Right, and if we put this in motion over the past 30 minutes, we'll actually be able to follow it. So this is where it was near the airport. Watch it, it's going to move by really quickly. That was a little too quick. Actually, Michael, I think we're going to need to use the Miami airport velocity for this.
Yeah, let's use that. We'll switch over to that.
So just give us a second here. That's likely the tornado right there now. There's something else there. So there are actually two suspect areas. There's one that actually probably is a new one. Believe it or not, I know it's right by the airport, but that is not associated, I don't think, with the report from that we just got from the National Weather Service. It's that one, because that one would move right across the airport and move north towards Pompano Beach. So there it is, crossing over 441, and potentially now we have two other developing tornadoes to the south of 595, all kind of riding to the northwest right now. It's hard sometimes to pick them out, and there's even that, which is located in Coral Springs. The bottom line is there seem to be circulations in several different places right now in Broward County. This one is going to miss Sandalfoot Cove, so that's good news. That circulation is going to pass to the west of Parkland. Remember, we were telling you that Parkland was going to be very close to a potential circulation. And this looks just kind of like broad circulation. Doesn't look to be a tornado there. No, we're focusing on Broward County, but the reason why we're focusing on Broward, if you're watching us right now from Palm Beach County, is whatever's here is eventually going to move north. In fact, can we go to the Boca WeatherBug cam when we get a second, guys? You can access the WeatherBug camera without going through our computer there, and there it is. Yeah.
Chat have been monitoring. Another cell with rotation off Hollywood Beach moving rapidly northwest. Watching closely for possible tornado warning. These cells are moving at 90 miles an hour.
That's amazing. That's
really
incredible.
Is.
So you have to add the wind to it. So that's why these wind gusts are so strong. Okay, so we have some video to bring you from Fort Lauderdale. We're going to play that for you. At the same time, Michael's going to be examining a potential new tornado that's developing to the east of Hollywood Beach. How long ago was that statement?
Well, that statement was at 2:13, so just a few moments ago.
Well, is it already on shore? Because it's probably that.
Probably 90 miles an hour. Probably is.
That's what it is. So
yeah,
remember,
a
couple of minutes ago, I said that looks like a different tornado. Well, sure enough, it's already on land. So that right there near 595 is the tornado that 2 minutes ago we got a statement about that was here. So that's how fast it's moving.
Yeah, we can see that move very rapidly, Jeff, because of the hurricane gusts. You add that into the actual rotation of the hurricane, and these things are moving extremely fast. I never really heard of tornadoes moving at 90 miles an hour, but they're also watching another cell offshore Broward for tornadic activity.
You know what? These two are there, but there's another one developing to the south of Pompano. So let's zoom into that one, Michael. because that one, if any of these are going to get our viewing area, meaning southern Palm Beach County, it's the ones that are a little bit further to the north. So we have to keep our eyes on this line right here.
Yes,
and that's going to pass to the west. But there's likely some type of circulation in here. So again, even though it's possible these circulations may just kind of pass to the west to Sandalfoot Cove. If you've been watching from southwest Boca Raton around Sandalfoot Cove, it's going to be a really close call as to whether or not this band and the tornadoes that may or may not be associated with it right now kind of make their way through that 441 area, Parkland, Sandalfoot Cove. We just had a power hit in the building. My light stayed on because we're on generator. But just to give you an idea of what's happening, winds are gusting strong enough to start throwing power out here. And I know there are a lot of power outages. And control room, and if you want to let me know how many power outages we have, you can update me, and I'll get that information out to our viewers. I don't want to ignore, and we haven't been ignoring the Treasure Coast. This right here is a solid band of rain producing wind gusts likely up to about 65 miles an hour. Not quite hurricane force yet, but this is moving right up through Port St. Lucie, about to move into the Fort Pierce area. It's going to be rotating north into Vero Beach shortly. Another band moving into Indiantown and Okeechobee. So there's one band there, another one just to its south, and the strongest of the bands moving through southern Palm Beach County, now moving north. So you can see that this right here, this red, this stuff, those are wind gusts past 75 miles an hour right now. And also, the reason why we just had a power surge here is because that band that's moving across, that likely has winds to about 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, Jeff, I've been getting a lot of questions on Facebook Live about the worst weather. When is it going to start? Well, we've had sporadic on again, off again downpours and bands, but now the worst of the weather is beginning to move in from south to north, as you can see in the radar, the yellows and the reds. So instead of being on again, off again, it's probably going to be a solid, heavy rain with high winds between now and looks like late this evening.
And Michael, 254,000 people are now without power in Palm Beach County.
Right. I think that's out of 719,000 customers.
So that's
still about a third. Yeah, so that's not bad. There's still a lot more folks that will be losing power as we go into the late afternoon, evening hours. If you haven't lost power yet, well, guess what? Because of the worst weather is coming in, you probably will be losing power sometime in the next several hours, if not by 8 or 9 o'clock tonight.
I got to tell you, I think people care more about that in some respects than they care about damage to their homes. Exactly. My wife was like, what? House is going to blow away? I just want to know if there's going to be power. She's watching right now. She knows exactly. Well, if power goes out to a lot of people, it's going to take a while, days, if not maybe over a week, to restore power to some of our homes.
And Jeff, it's interesting. My experience from other hurricanes shows that typically the folks that lose the power are the earliest, are usually the last ones that get it turned on. So that's kind of unsettling. I've heard my sister lives down in Pompano Beach. She's there with my family and my mom, and they said they lost it at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I know winds weren't gusting anywhere up to tropical storm force at that hour down there. So hopefully the power goes on, sooner rather than later in everybody's neighborhoods. We'll just have to see.
We have to hope for that. In the meantime, so the question can be answered simply by looking at that right there. That line of rain, this red heading into Boca, those are wind gusts to hurricane force. Where is this live video? All right, this is a live look at Jupiter now, and conditions have really gone downhill all across Palm Beach County right now as the storm's about to make landfall simultaneously in the Naples, Marco Island area. And now what you see on the radar is the banding is kind of disappearing in a way. We can still see that band and that band and that band, but it's just kind of filling in and becoming a steady, heavy hurricane type wind. And if you're just tuning in, and we've been talking about this earlier today, there was a wind gust to 108 in Pembroke Pines, 98 miles an hour at the North Perry Airport in Broward County. In the storm, when it made landfall in Big Pine Key, the highest gust I can find is 120, and that is in the eye wall. So it goes to show you that the hurricane force winds are not just concentrated near the eye wall. They extend about 100+ miles off the center of the storm. Michael, do you have some new information?
A little bit new information coming in from chat, Jeff. We're talking about that tornado warning for north central Indian River County. That's been canceled. That originally went until 2:30 this afternoon. So looks like the weather winding down a little bit up there. Weather Service saying that the storm, which prompted the warning, has weakened below severe limits and has exited the warning area. So as we take a closer look up there across Indian River County, once again, the situation beginning to improve up there right now. We had that one band come through, but there is more, again, rotating offshore. And again, for those of you in the Treasure Coast, you've had bands on again, off again. But like Jeff was just saying, it's filling filling in on the radar down to the south and southwest. Solid, steady, heavy rain for hours and hours now, likely in Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast. It's heading up in your area shortly. Another report, Jeff, from Naples. Naples Airport, sustained winds of 61 miles an hour with a gust of 82 at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
And that's about to go up very quick because the eye is literally that far now from the Naples Airport.
Yeah, you're right.
It's about to move on shore. Michael, keep checking the chat for new peak wind gusts that I imagine every once in a while we're going to get some new peak wind gusts that come in. Just waiting to see what we get down in Boca Raton, in Delray. There aren't that many reporting sites. And also in my show, Michael, I have that graphic that I made, which kind of goes area by area from the Keys all the way up through Miami-Dade and Broward up to strongest wind gusts. It's in there somewhere. It may take you a second to find it.
Let's take a look at that.
In the meantime, I'll let you look at radar.
Another report, again, it was Pompano Beach. Wind gusts of 54 knots out of the east-southeast, so that's a little bit over 60 miles an hour. Again, that's northeastern sections of Broward County. That cell, rotation and cell, which produced tornadoes weakened, so in the process of expiring that warning. And that, again, was the one across Broward County. So right now, it's 2:22, and I don't believe we have any further tornado warnings in effect for a local viewing area, at least right now, Jeff.
All right, we're getting information out of Miami. Another crane apparently has collapsed in Miami. I still don't know why those cranes are allowed to stay up during hurricanes. I don't know the answer to that. I'm sure there's probably a good answer to it. But that's video. Is that live or is that video from Miami right now? I believe that was from the Miami area. If we do South Miami. Okay, South Miami is fairly far south of downtown Miami. South Miami is closer to the Kendall area, but nevertheless, if you've been down to Miami recently, there are cranes everywhere. There's got to be 20 plus cranes that are up, buildings that are being constructed right now.
They usually let them spin, Jeff. They usually let them spin around.
Well, John, come on in for 1 second, and while you're in there,
I'll play crane.
Go ahead.
Also, you know what I'd like to do is go to Liveline for a second. Whoever our director is, I don't know who's doing that, but go to Liveline. I've got the Boca Raton Inlet queued up, and you can see through the blur some of the wind going across the lake there that's coming across it along with those gusts, and it's kind of interesting. So anyway, what they do is they keep the cranes loose so they spin with the wind, but that doesn't save us if you're having a problem. That's Boca. And okay, so we actually have, can we pan that more to the right here a little bit? I was closer to the inlet. There's still some boats at the docks there in some of the condominiums there. Is that going to go right?
We're trying, John. The camera's having trouble because it may have gotten knocked out by the wind, but we're working on it right now.
Yeah, the wind is giving us a hard time. And this is crane video in Miami, I'm told, by the way. Look at that coming down. Actually, it's back over here again. I'm turned around. That is not a good deal. But see how it rotates around a little bit? And, of course, with that, we've seen those winds really, really gusting up over 100 miles an hour through parts of Miami.
You see that Miami Lakes gust? That was in the last hour on the once we come off the video and back to the map, John. I have a map up of the current wind gust right now, so you'll be able to kind of pick them out. There's one in Miami Lakes at 76 miles an hour.
Okay.
It's tiny. I know it's tiny.
Right there. I can see it. Yeah. I can see that without my glasses on.
I'm going to make my way up the coast for you, too, okay?
Okay.
So here 84 in Oakland Park. Look at that. That was literally this hour. 84 miles an hour in Oakland Park. There's 74 in Deerfield Beach. There's a 61 mile an hour gust in Boynton, and then there's 66 near Green Acres. There's nothing down in Delray and Boca because we don't have any reporting sites there. They must have the reporting sites must have gone down, John.
Yeah, these are limited again. You know, we count on these, and all of a sudden when they blow down, we go, wait a minute, we need the information. Yeah. Anyway, you can kind of extrapolate that the winds are up to 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts in some of the areas, and all coming up at us as those feeder bands continue to rotate up and around towards our area. Remember, this is where we see the heaviest rain is with these bands. The other thing I thought was impressive, because we've been talking about how large the storm is, these bands already go up to Orlando and parts to the north. I know you had a lot of family maybe evacuating to that area, but they're still getting clobbered with the feeder bands too.
All right, John, you mind if I change places?
I don't mind at all. I'll go back.
Okay, we have a brand new tornado warning that's in effect now for Boca Raton and Boynton Beach. Remember, we've been talking to you about the possibility of tornadoes here with this cell. So the the tornado warning is from Deerfield Beach to Boca Raton to Delray Beach to West Delray to West Boca to West Boynton, all the way to 441, Boynton Beach, all the way up to Green Acres. That's the tornado warning box. Let me read you what the National Weather Service says. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located 7 miles east of Pompano Beach. It's probably on the beach right now because it's moving at 90 miles an hour. It's moving northwest at 90 miles an hour. That's the cell right there. That's the cell, and this is going to be heading into Boca Raton shortly. Now remember, we get radar sweeps as quickly as we possibly can. It goes around, it gives us an image. It goes back around the radar, gives us another image. It takes some time for that to happen. When storms are moving at 90 miles an hour, undoubtedly they beat the radar. So whatever you see that is there right now underneath the banner is going to be here almost in seconds. That's how quickly it's moving. So if we can just
I've put it up to 90 miles an hour in the tracker, Jeff.
Okay.
So it's going this way. So, again, minutes from now.
All right, so there it is, Boca Raton 233. It's going to be before that.
Probably will be, yeah.
Yeah, and there's the Boca del Mar 235. So assume that these times are probably a little bit too late. It's going to be coming in a little bit earlier than that. And that's because the radar is bound to be slightly behind a 90-mile-an-hour storm. In fact, Michael, if I were you, I would track the front edge of this right here, not the actual circulation, because I know the circulation is probably already located right on Hillsborough Beach and making its way into South Boca. So Boca del Mar, get ready. Also, Camino, right on Camino is probably moving across your area right now. So there's Lighthouse Point 227, downtown Boca 229, so that's 1 minute from now. Boca del Mar 231. Sandalfoot Cove 233, West Delray 235. Again, this is a radar-indicated tornado. And actually, we have our Boca cam that, I see John Matthews is working on our WeatherBug site right now. So we're working on trying to get that camera up. And, we may actually be able to see it if it's working right now. The winds are so strong, we're having a hard time with our Boca cam. But this right here is a possible tornado. It's likely moving across the beach right on the south side of Boca Raton right now. Right around Camino Real, right around Camino Real. Could be moving right across downtown Boca around Meisner.
Okay, so
all right, we're looking at Dixie Highway headed south. Do you know where they are on Dixie Highway? Is this our Storm Track vehicle?
No, just Chris Jones.
All right, this is our reporter, Chris Jones, making his way south right now on Dixie Highway. If you can get me a location, Boca, Delray, where he is, he's definitely headed in that general direction because he's headed south.
Delray.
All right, he's in Delray Beach, so he's up here. He's going to be moving down towards the south. And I believe we have the WeatherBug picture up right now.
Yeah, it's raining so hard, the WeatherBug camera, you can barely see out it. But if Director, we can call that up for just a moment, the WeatherBug, because there's blinding rains in southern parts of Palm Beach County. And the reason we want to call that up, you can see it right there, because, again, you've got that tornado warning in effect for south sections of Palm Beach County, including Boca Raton, Delray Beach, West Delray, West Boynton, between now and 2:45. And, again, these tornado warnings are not lasting for 30 to 45 minutes. They're only lasting for 15 to 20 minutes, and it's because that these systems are moving to the northwest at a speed of 90 miles an hour,
I
as
got
you can
this,
see.
Michael.
And there is Boca Raton. It's just unbelievable.
So the cell is on land already.
The cell is on land already, as you'll notice there. Yeah, so it's moving very fast. So those of you in Boca, Delray, obviously you already hunkered down. You want to take cover because this is moving off to the north and west pretty fast. It's on land right there. You can see the very bright greens on the radar indicating winds of 70, 80, even 90 miles an hour. So it includes West Delray, includes Hamptons of Boca Raton itself downtown, the Meisner Park area, Route 1 probably getting impacted by this potential tornado here. Radar indicated so far. It extends north to Boynton Beach. And notice these colors here to the north and west here. The brighter the colors, the higher the wind speed. So the winds have already been gusting on average up to about 50 to 60 miles an hour. But we will see gusts with some of these tornadoes perhaps up to 90 to 100 miles an hour. And that could be an EF1 tornado. And there we go. There's the coupler right there as you track it off to the north and west at 90, moving into Boca Raton 232. Right now it's 232. So it's there right now. University Park at 2:33, coming into Sherwood Park at 2:35, and moving into West Delray at 2:37 this afternoon. Keep in mind, a lot of you are probably, just about all of you are inside right now, but these are rain wrapped. They'd be very hard to see. You really wouldn't be able to see them. You'd be sitting in your house and you hear the wind and rain just go up even more. Yes,
hey, Michael,
Jeff.
90-mile-an-hour wind gust at the City of Miami Fire and Rescue in Coral Gables just had a wind gust to 73 knots at Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport, which is about 80 miles an hour or so. And new information from Miami National Weather Service, tornado warning continues for Broward and Palm Beach County until 2:45. And
2:45, right. So that's his present tornado warning right now. So for the next 10, 12 minutes. And the indications of the winds down south gusting up to 80, 90 miles an hour, that's what's coming our way. It's rotating in around Hurricane Irma, which is now north of the Key West area. This is live in Boca Raton right now. We got one of our reporters driving around. And you'll notice Palm Beach County until 2:45, the tornado warning. Notice we've got some tree branches down, palm fronds on the roadways. This picture is a very good indication of really why you don't want to be driving around in South Florida. But, of course, our reporters are out there. They're in kind of sturdy vehicles. It's a little bit safer. I mean, just every once in a while you see some of the tree branches down. You see some of the palm fronds down. It's still drivable. We're kind of moving the camera around a little bit to see where there might be some more damage. Obviously, the windshield wipers are on full tilt because of the rain coming down so hard. Again, that's in Boca Raton due to that tornado warning in this area right now. And you can see the couple right there, just about ready to move on shore there, Jeff.
Yeah, so, we're getting some emails from Boca. Most people are listening to us. They can't watch us, but they are listening to us. They want specifics, and I can tell you we just got the latest sweep of the radar just now, and it is now moving onshore. So let's zoom in a little bit.
There, right?
Right.
Yeah, just east of Federal Highway. Very fast-moving tornado. Again, moving to the northwest at 90 miles an hour there. About ready to cross over Federal Highway, US 1. Not sure where those folks are driving, but the weather's likely to get a whole lot worse on US 1. A1A getting hammered right now.
It's going to move over Airport Road.
Airport Road, yep. It's going to be moving over US 1 there. Okay, we've got more live pictures up north. Again, the tornado warning we're covering in South Palm Beach County at 2:45. Pictures on the other side of your screen are the Jupiter area. We can see the waves lapping in and the storm surge beginning to rise across much of our coastal areas in South Florida. And you notice, getting rough out there. The wind, the waves, everybody's continuing to get hammered from this storm system. Here again, the radar down south. Every radar sweep that goes by is every few minutes. So the tornadoes are moving real fast. So this couplet, this rotation, if you will, on the radar, moving into Boca Raton now. It's 2:33, so moving past University Park at this moment, moving through County Club Acres in the next few minutes, moving through West Delray at 2:39 this afternoon. So the towns affected are the ones you see there. The highways would be US 1, I-95. Further west, you've got Military Trail. Further west than that, you've got the Florida Turnpike. You have 441, probably scooting just to the north of Hamptons of Boca Raton. Moving up through Military Trail and perhaps moving into West Delray, and if it holds together, maybe moving into western parts of the Boynton Beach vicinity, probably between 2:45 and 3. In fact, if it holds together right there is a couple, we may very well see this tornado warning extended off to the west and northwest. All right, here's a look at the reflectivity of the radar, and this is showing actually, the highest reflectivities, the heaviest rain, where the most downpours are. Solid area of heavy rain, Highland Beach, north and west to Sherwood Park. Dunes Road up to Old Boynton Beach Boulevard. If we could widen the radar out a little bit, we can see what's going on across northern parts of Palm Beach County. Lighter rains now, West Palm. There's a rotation marker there in the Jupiter vicinity, so we'll need to see whether that actually forms into a tornado. And areas further to the north, let's see. We don't see anything too crazy there right now, Jeff, as far as rotations. Here we go. Offshore, we see more red against green here. And wherever you see this, there is some potential for rotation. This would head northwest, so we need to watch if these aren't warned for tornadoes as they move into St. Lucie County and often also northeastern parts of Martin County.
So, Michael, you see, I know you're just talking about them, so I just put the Melbourne radar on. Look at those two couplets that are sitting just offshore.
Right there, 1, 2 here, and they're moving northwest really fast, Jeff. So areas that could be impacted and could go also under a tornado warning would be Jensen Beach, perhaps Indian River Estates, Fort Pierce. So we track this couplet to the north and west. We watch for rotation and the potential for a tornado developing, moving into Eldred at 240, which is pretty much right now within a minute or so. This moves into Indian River Estates at 242, tracking into Fort Pierce at 245. The potential for rotation and tornadic activity heading into Sunland Gardens at 246. So all within minutes. They're moving very fast. So if you notice a tornado, you'd probably be in your house and you hear the wind and the roar get even that much more, a little bit difficult. So this is one of the good things, that if you're in your house, you've got shutters on, you're just going to hear it rattle and you just get even louder out there. So fortunately, just about everybody is inside. And again, the tornado warning in southern sections of Palm Beach County expires at 2:45 this afternoon. It looks like that's moved on shore right here as we put the velocity data right in this area right here, this couplet where you see the red and the green indicating rotation on the radar. All right, here's some Boca video right now. And you'll notice, looks like off of somebody's porch or patio. And, you know, we're in this area because we're trying to see if we can't spot the tornado. The wind's whipping the palm fronds around. We've got a lot of rain coming in sideways. Heavy rain, visibility reduced. Again, this is the Boca Raton area in that tornado-warned area until 2:45 this afternoon.
All right, Michael, so on our weather bug system, just got a wind gust of 75 miles an hour in Delray Beach. So
wow.
hurricane-force wind gusts in Delray Beach just seconds ago. So the hurricane-force wind gusts are now basically from about West Palm Beach and Wellington south. And, you know, you were talking about this couplet. It's moving right over Atlantic Avenue, and it seems to be getting maybe a little stronger. Sherwood Park moving into West Delray right now. If you're in West Delray, you want to get inside a sturdy structure, away from windows in a bathroom or a closet. There could be a tornado moving your way. As you can see, it's located right in this general area. In fact, you know what I'll do? I will circle it for you, show you where it is, and I'll stop it.
Let's go over to Max 1 if you could,
right
Director.
Over there.
Take a look at where
yes,
the tornado
Max
is.
1. Let's go to Max 1. Sorry, I thought I was...
Right there. There is a circle of the potential tornado. Again, this was moving on shore east of Pompano Beach about 25 minutes ago. It's already into Delray Beach, West Delray right now. This couplet here indicating the potential for rotation. So it's moving over Atlantic Avenue, Linton Boulevard, the Sherwood Park area. You've got Florida's Turnpike right here. This is Atlantic Avenue right here. There's 441. We've got a lot of retirement homes and a lot of retirement communities in the area. This, the Kings area is a big retirement area as well. And this video, once again, Director, is from... This is Delray Beach. So we're getting an excellent... job of getting the videos on to show you what's going on in the tornado-warned areas. And this is Delray Beach. We see a lot of very strong winds. Look at that flag flapping there. I mean, not only is the flag flapping, but the pole looks like it's a swing as well. So that may actually be about to come down. The trees just flapping and whipping in the wind. The palm fronds, very rough. Again, we've seen winds already gusting up to about 70 miles an hour, and possibly, in the next several minutes or the next hour or so, winds will be gusting up to hurricane force, which is 74 miles an hour or higher. So again, we continue to watch this area, which is still in the tornado-warned area, for the next few minutes. Moving off towards the west, impacting Hagen Ranch Road, Florida's Turnpike, Atlantic Avenue, 441. Again, this is West Delray. We've got bright green against bright red. Now, let me explain this to you. Where you see the bright green, the wind flow is actually moving towards the radar site. Okay, the red is moving away, so you kind of can imagine a rotation right here, now just crossing over the Florida Turnpike in western parts of Delray. Here is Delray Beach. We've got other folks driving around right now. Do we know exactly where in Delray Beach this is?
Michael, listen.
794.
Michael, okay, so listen. We have another tornado warning that just came out. Why don't you switch places with me?
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, and the tornado warning, I'm going to grab it off the printer and head to the wall and let you know about the tornado warning that just came out. I'm making my way over to the weather wall right now. All right, so a new tornado warning issued for St. Lucie County in effect until 3:30. At 2:38, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Nettles Island, moving northwest at 40 miles an hour. So if we can get the Melbourne radar. I think this is probably the Miami radar. So if we can get the Melbourne radar on. And also because Michael is a towering presence, you might want to bring the camera down. Thank you very much.
Right.
Yeah, Michael's a lot taller than him. All right, so there's a couplet. There's a couplet right there. Both of these have the capability of producing a tornado. There's also that, Michael, which is actually on shore. Let me read that one more time. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Nettles Island, moving northwest at 40. Locations impact included Port St. Lucie, Walton, Fort Pierce, Stewart, St. Lucie nuclear power plant. So those are the areas that are in this tornado warning. So there likely is a circulation there. That's crossing on the west side of the turnpike. And then there's another one right here.
Another tornado warning, Jeff, just went up until 3:30 for the same area for, tornado warning for central Palm Beach County now until 3 p.m.
Okay.
And this is including Wellington, Loxahatchee Groves, and also Florida Gardens, Villages, Oriole, Aberdeen Golf Course, Aberdeen, and Boca Raton Equestrium.
Can you get John Matthews to bring me that, please?
Yeah, there you go.
And also,
bring
do me a
those
favor,
over.
just put one wide map of all the warnings that are in effect for our
we need to
area
put
right
the
now. I want to
warnings
give
up.
everybody an idea. People that are watching us on the radio, thank you, John, I appreciate that. Because we have a couple of tornado warnings that are active. We're going to put that up for you. And then one by one, we are going to go tornado by tornado, neighborhood by neighborhood, street by street, and show you exactly where it is. So there's one of the tornado warnings that's out for Port St. Lucie and Fort Pierce. Here's another one. This is now in effect for Wellington. If you're in Wellington, your iPhone just started ringing really loud and scared you. That's a tornado warning that's in effect right here. That's for Wellington. And then, of course, there's the other one down here around Boynton Beach. It includes West Delray and Boca Raton as well. Let's start here, Michael. Let's switch over to velocity from Miami because looking at all the heavy rain, we really need to pick out where the actual circulations are in this broad area of very heavy rain. Again, tornado warning now in effect for the Wellington area as well, and that includes the acreage as well.
And of course, for our viewers, Jeff, we want to try to, we got more and more people that are listening to us on the radar, so we want to actually try to tell them what actually we're showing.
Right, so I will do that while we kind of go through this radar. So looking at, right now what we're looking at on air is the Miami velocity scan, and we're looking at the reds and greens trying to pick up exactly where these rotations are. As it stands right now, I think that probably the biggest rotation is now around the West Delray area. That was that same storm we tracked into West Delray just a few minutes ago. Because it's moving very quickly to the northwest, we're concerned that this is now headed towards the Wellington area. So, Michael, why don't we put the tracker on this, move it to the northwest or north-northwest at around 90 miles an hour and show everybody and tell everybody who's not watching us on TV but listening to us on the radio exactly what time it might get there. And there it is. So we're tracking it into Palm Beach Equine Medical Center at 246. As you know, Wellington's a lot of horses out there. 247 Wellington Landings Middle School. 249 Loxahatchee. 249 Loxahatchee Groves Elementary School. So that's where that circulation will be. We don't know whether or not it actually has a tornado. We do know that it's a radar-indicated tornado on the screen. I see that both of our anchors, Liz and John, are here, and I see them looking over social media and emails. Guys, if you ever get any questions from our viewers, please relay those questions, and we'll do our best to actually answer them as well. That's the tornado warning box in effect for Fort Pierce and Port St. Lucie right now. That impacts about 208,000 people. Excuse me. And everything's moving quickly to the northwest at around 90 miles an hour, so it's very hard to keep up with it. But this is likely the circulation right here, right on top of the Florida Turnpike. And this is moving, again, west or northwest at around 90 miles an hour into more rural parts of basically Indian River County up here and St. Lucie County right here. This is likely it, and it's moving in that direction very quickly. So, Michael, we
fortunately
really
it's a more rural
full.
area of St. Lucie County and southern parts of Indian River County. So a lot of these tornadoes are moving out west into rural areas, which is good. But again, you know, this is nonstop, Jeff. We've had tornado warning after tornado warning since late this morning.
Yeah.
And this is not the heaviest and worst weather yet. We've got the main area, the main steady area of rain and our highest winds to come across our area rotating in late this afternoon and this evening.
I think the moral of the story is now's the time to be inside.
Of course, right.
Now's the time to be kind of hunkered down, bathroom or closet, if a tornado warning is issued for your area. There's going to be a lot of them. Some of the tornado warnings will materialize into tornadoes. Others are not going to, but you are going to be just fine as long as you listen to the advice that we're giving you and just stay indoors, play it safe. Don't try to run outside and take pictures. If you're inside your home and you see ominous weather, just send us an email, newstips@cbs12.com, or upload it to our CBS 12 News app. We have some video of damage in Stewart. Is that correct? So this is Stewart. Okay, I'm going to step out of this picture so I can see it, and we might as well take it full.
Wow, that is dramatic.
So my guess here is that we might have had a tornado that came across Stewart. Remember, earlier there was a tornado warning in effect for Stewart, Palm City, so that may be the result of it, or it could just be straight-line wind damage from hurricanes. There's some house damage. So this person actually had probably a tree fall on their roof. Okay, an elderly couple in this home was rescued from their home and taken to a shelter in Stewart. So this is what happened. See that tree? Looks like that tree in the distance probably fell right on that home. And that may have been from a tornado. So you can see all three of the pictures on the screen right now. So we're starting to see damage unfold in our area. And we're going to have a lot more tornado warnings. And the bottom line is we're going to do our best to show you every single one of those tornado warnings, street by street, where it is and where the tornado may be going. But the bottom line here is everyone should be inside. Everyone should be hunkered down. You should hopefully have your shutters up. If you don't have shutters, then please get away from the windows, get to an interior portion of your home. So these are the two tornado warnings that are out right now. This one for Wellington. So we're watching a possible circulation head towards Wellington and eventually towards the acreage in Loxahatchee. There's another one in Fort Pierce and Port St. Lucie, and there's another one north of Sebastian. So this is for Brevard County. So we have 3 active tornado warnings right now. Also, I want to show Michael I want to show everybody the storm making landfall on Marco Island right now. And for the folks in the control room, I'm sure we have a couple of storm chasers streaming from there. So at any time, the storm is actually making landfall at least the eye wall is making landfall right now, right here. And there's actually lightning around the center. We don't often get lightning around the center.
Marco Island.
All right. That's a live shot of Marco Island as the eye wall begins to move on shore. And just blinding rain and obviously some very strong winds as Hurricane Irma. And look at that boat. Look at that boat on the lift there, swaying back and forth. That's how strong the winds are with this storm. You don't see that happening very often, that's for sure. So that's one of our storm chasers live right now in Marco Island as the eye wall begins to move on shore. But as I said before, earlier today we had wind gusts over 100 miles an hour in Broward County. We had wind gusts to around 98 miles an hour at the Hollywood Airport.
Another wind gust, Jeff,
yeah.
Just came in 1 mile east-southeast of the St. Lucie nuclear power plant. Tropical storm wind gusts of 69 miles an hour from the east.
So
with
even the
sustained
Treasure
wind of
Coast,
58.
So even the Treasure Coast now is getting close to hurricane force winds.
Hundreds of miles from the center, a couple hundred miles from the center.
And it's amazing, and I mentioned it before, and I'm going to mention it again. The winds are 120 miles an hour close to the center of the storm. The highest wind gust we got in the Keys was 120 miles an hour. And would you believe 100 miles away in Broward County earlier, we had a wind gust to 108 miles an hour in Pembroke Pines. And at North Perry Airport, I think it was something like 98 miles an hour.
This just goes to show, the width of the tropical storm force winds, Jeff. The diameter winds of tropical storm force are 280 miles from the center. Hurricane force winds are 90 miles from the center, and those are sustained
That's radius,
winds.
right? That's not diameter. That's radius.
That's radius. That's exactly.
So let's measure just to see. Let's measure 90 miles from let's say right here.
Yeah, let's
see how far we get.
Okay.
Because I know the hurricane force gusts extend more than 90 miles out. But 90 miles puts the hurricane force sustained winds on Belglade, and then it also puts it probably right almost to the West Boca area and almost to Wellington. So the sustained hurricane force winds are here, and then the gust of hurricane force actually measure to Broward County here. I just want to see. Yeah. So that's the reason why we had those hurricane force wind gusts over 100 miles an hour here in the Miramar Pembroke Pines area, because it's 90 miles from the center of the storm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's just solid rain and some embedded heavier squalls in Palm Beach County. That's the tornado warning. Let's zoom back into the Wellington area, because I imagine that couplet, that circulation, as we call it, is probably right on top of Wellington right now. Now, this radar is not the best simply because it's located in Wellington. This is better. Here it is. So if there's a tornado It's located right there, and it's about to cross over the 20-mile bend area. It's moving in that direction, so it's going to move over the extreme western part of Wellington, extreme western part of the acreage. If you're located in East Wellington around Lyons Road, you're out of that. It's to the west of that. So we're tracking it into the 20-mile bend area. John DeCefalos wants to jump in. He lives out in Wellington. He knows the area very well. John.
Just got an update from the wife. They are huddled right now on the interior of the house in the laundry room, and she said the garage doors were rattling so loud it sounded like they were going to rip off, but she said she heard a very distinct sound, almost like a whistle of a train. Now, is that an indication that could have been a tornado?
It definitely is, and it would have passed just to our south. So now the circulation is on the southwest side of Wellington. Michael, if we can zoom in, I want to see if we can pick up any streets here. John's wife obviously lives in Wellington, a little further west than Lyons Road. Specifically, John, you don't have to give us the address, but specifically, what's the neighborhood?
Lake Worth Road, Isles of Wellington.
Okay, so
that's a little further down here. There's Lake Worth Road.
Okay, so it was
and
there.
West of 441.
Now it's out here. So now it's much further to the west.
Yeah, the signature is very close.
And it
to that house.
literally just missed the Aero Club Drive here. So it's just on the western tip of Wellington, and it's headed over the 20-mile bend area. I imagine Lion Country Safari, Michael, is probably in the path of this.
And I know some folks that live in the Aero Club, and there's a lot of airplanes there. They have great community to live in. Fortunately, hopefully, some of those planes are in the hangars and safe. But anything can happen when a tornado comes across.
Yeah, no doubt. I think we should check on the tornado warning in St. Lucie County as well right now. That
Let's take a look
expires at 3:30, so we have quite a while to go. We're just juggling tornado warnings for you right now. We will go back and forth and back and forth. We're going to put the Melbourne radar on here. So first of all, this is the tornado warning that's in effect for Fort Pierce inland. And we're going to put the velocity on for you. We'll put the Melbourne velocity. Melbourne's located up there, but that's the closest radar site. And a couple things to point out. This was likely why they issued the tornado warning. That's far inland. But now there seems to be something else developing right near the Fort Pierce area, right around Kings Highway. So as we zoom in a little bit, it's not as distinct a rotation as we've been seeing today, but there is the possibility we have a developing tornado now on the west side of Fort Pierce, right around Okeechobee Road, crossing over I-95. And remember, this is moving in that direction at around 90 miles an hour.
But Jeff, the rotations I think are a little certainly more distinct than they were yesterday with yesterday's tornado warnings.
Yeah, we had a couple of those last night too. Chris
a little
Farrell
bit borderline, yes.
doing tornado warnings all night last night. And here we are today. We're juggling multiple tornado warnings all at the same time. And the storm is making landfall on Marco Island right now. The system is a little further east than the National Hurricane Center track was, and therefore, and we told you last night at around midnight, and John DeCefalo can jump in, and so can Liz. Last night on the desk, we were talking about it together, that it looked like that storm was moving more north than it was moving northwest.
Yes.
And so therefore, it didn't move through Key West. It moved through Big Pine Key.
Wasn't that the American model?
That was me and the American model. It was me making an observation that the storm was moving more north, and the American model concurred, and sure enough, it is east of the National Hurricane Center track. And so instead of seeing those wind gusts to 80, 85, we're seeing some wind gusts, random, but some up to close to 90 miles an hour. And so just that 20-mile shift, we saw it with Matthew, and we're seeing it again, makes a very big difference in the actual weather that we experience. So very heavy rain moving into Fort Pierce. And by the way, we do not need any more heavy rain in Fort Pierce. If you're watching from Fort Pierce, you're worried about flooding right now. And you're worried about flooding because we had 11 inches of rain over the course of a few hours last night. There was water in homes and a few feet of water on the roads in Fort Pierce last night. And now more heavy rain is moving in. Let's query that. Let's see how heavy that rain is right there. Just to the west of Lakewood Park. That's over 10 inches of rain. So this strip saw 9, 10, 11 inches of rain, and we're getting more rain on top of that area. Ground is saturated. Watch out for the possibility of flooding to ensue again in this area. And I bet, Michael, that I have this set at 12 hours. If we set this at 24 hours, my guess is we're going to see these totals come up. I could be wrong. I may have it at 24 hours.
Let's see, 24 hours. Let's see if we can't re-query these. Yep,
That's
looks like
24.
a little bit more. So let's query some of the darkest, the grayest areas.
Yeah, like right
just
there,
west of
and
Lakewood
maybe
Park,
right there,
13 inches.
And then right around there.
Yeah, west of Fort Pierce, 12 inches.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the forward part of the hurricane. We don't have the main rain bands coming in yet.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Sometimes you can get a band that gets stuck over one area, and that's what happened in Fort Pierce last night.
It's like
Everybody
a fire
else,
hose.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like a fire hose. Everybody else gets 3, 4, 5 inches. It's manageable, 6 inches of rain. But all of a sudden, here's Fort Pierce. The band gets stuck over you, and we got another one on you now. And you're getting 13 inches of rain, and that's causing water to go into homes, and that's what happened last night in the Fort Pierce area. We have some more rotation markers offshore, Michael. So if we can put the Melbourne velocity back on there. And Michael, let me just say I appreciate you helping me on this and working hard, and thank you for kind of rolling with the punches here.
Sure, anytime, Jeff.
And I hope on the air, and I hope on the air to the folks that are listening to me or watching me, I don't sound bossy. I'm not trying to be bossy. It's just that we have a lot of things that are going on right now, and it takes a lot to kind of keep up with all the tornado warnings that we have. There it is. There it is. So let's zoom into that, because that does look like a landfalling tornado right now.
Really, yeah. Let's get the Melbourne back on in just a moment or so.
Yeah,
here.
East side of Indian River Estates, about to cross over the Barrier Island. If we can zoom in even a little bit more, this is headed towards Fort Pierce, and the Barrier Island just east of Fort Pierce. So
we're going to track it at 90 miles an hour here, right?
Yeah, and I think it's moving in that general direction.
Here we go. So moving into these towns. Indian River Estates at 2:59, Indian River Community Mental Hospital 3 o'clock, and Weatherby Elementary School at 3 o'clock. So, you know, within minutes, these tornadoes, Jeff, because they're moving so fast, they come on shore. And it seems like just about all of them are forming out in the ocean, these rotations, and moving off to the west and northwest, and then moving on to land, and then weakening thereafter. It's very interesting.
Yeah, and there's so many of them. I mean, it's one after the other after the other. And so, you know, we're going to go tornado warning to tornado warning for you.
Got some more storm reports coming in, Jeff, from the NWS chat. The latest is 3 miles west-southwest of Delray Beach. Mesonet reports a tropical storm gust. There's the gust of 75 miles an hour at the Delray Medical Center. So that's a hurricane force gust. Yep. Pompano Beach, down at their airport, they just reported a gust of 79 knots, so that's about 85 miles an hour.
85 miles an hour.
And West Palm Beach, the ASOS officially at the airport, a gust of 60 knots. I know so far, which is about, 68, 69 miles an hour. So I know I saw a report of 69 miles an hour last hour or so. So West Palm Beach north, not quite hurricane force gusts yet. But again, it looks like now from about Delray south, they are starting to get into those hurricane force wind gusts.
Yeah, my producer just said we have some video coming in. Where's this? Oh, is this from Miami? Wow, that's tremendous. Is that flooding on Brickell? All right, let's take that full if we can. Wow, the water is really pouring in off Biscayne Bay in Brickell. This is what it looks like. The streets have turned into rivers there. I know exactly where that is in Brickell, and that water is just coming in, and it looks like a few feet of water.
Some of the witnesses down there say it's 4 to 5 feet.
4 to 5 feet of water in Brickell. I lived in Miami for about 6 years or so. Spent a lot of time down in that area. And you know what happens, and this is the interesting thing, is that that's more than 100 miles away from the center of this storm, but because the water is forced into Biscayne Bay. Michael, let's go down to Biscayne Bay real quick. I want to show everybody what it looks like and why that water is being forced into Brickell right now. So Michael is going to kind of bring the radar down there in just a couple of seconds or so while we show you that video. But the way it works is if you have an extended period of onshore winds, Brickell is right here, so we'll zoom in to Miami. We're getting there. Little by little. Zoom out a little bit more, though. Zoom out a little more because I want to show everybody how the water gets in. So the water gets in. If we take that tornado warning banner off for just a second, if we can, just 1 second. Okay, so this is Biscayne Bay. The Barrier Islands, this Key Biscayne, there's a bunch of Barrier Islands like Elliott Key here. The water comes in. All the water is shallow, 10 to 15 feet. So this deep water gets funneled into the bay, through Coral Gables and right into Brickell. That is Brickell right there. There's downtown Miami. This is Brickell. So the water comes right in there, and it's forced into these crevices, these nooks and crannies, forced upward, and that's why we're getting 5+ feet of water in Brickell right now. So it goes to show you, and take a look at this. Is this video or is this live?
Look at what's happening with that.
This is video from Brickell, more video. All right, this is video coming in from downtown Miami. So downtown Miami, just south of that, if you cross the bridge, is Brickell, and it looks like the Atlantic Ocean has invaded downtown Miami right now. This is why we urge people to evacuate during hurricanes. I know there were people saying that, well, this storm's going to be on the west coast of Florida, so I don't need to evacuate. This is why we urge you to evacuate, because not every hurricane is the same. Every hurricane has different impacts, and this particular one has such a funnel of strong gusty winds, it's forcing that water right up into downtown Miami right now. And this band in Miami is headed up the turnpike. We have one really strong band in Fort Lauderdale that's headed into Boca in a few minutes. We have another one that's located over downtown Miami and Key Biscayne that's also headed up the coast. And so we're beginning to see some of the stronger wind gusts away from the center of the storm. The winds are gusting almost the same in the eye wall as we're seeing wind gusts here on our side, the sloppy side, the dangerous side, the northeastern quadrant of the system as it kind of rotates in. So let's go a little further north and show folks this band right here in Broward, because this is going to be rotating into Boca soon. Look at that. That's likely to have wind gusts over 90 miles an hour, and that's going to be rotating into Boca probably in about the next half hour or so. This is going to be rotating into Belle Glade, the area right around Weston, pretty soon. And then we have another band. These have winds of about 75, 80 miles an hour. That'll be moving into downtown West Palm Beach shortly, if not already. So this is what we're dealing with all across the area right now. Lots of bands of very strong winds and embedded tornadoes within that as well. So there's still a tornado warning, Michael, out until 3:30. I wonder if they're going to expire this early. But let's go ahead and look at the velocity scan again. That is coming ashore, right? That's another one.
It's another one.
It's
endless, isn't it? Right there.
Let's zoom in, and then we have to take care of the one that's going into Vero Beach and Sebastian right after that.
Okay.
But let's do this one first. So this is let's get even closer in, because it's literally making landfall on the Barrier Island. Watersong Way, A1A, Intracoastal Waterway, St. Lucie Village, Fort Pierce. This is moving in that direction. It's probably going to move right on top of downtown Fort Pierce and St. Lucie Village. It's a radar-indicated tornado. Whether or not it actually has a tornado, we don't know. But regardless, you're still going to get wind gusts over 70 miles an hour. And we're tracking it into Jensen Beach to Jupiter area, 302 it says. But let's pay attention to that. Fort Pierce, 303. Lawnwood Regional Medical Center, 304. Paradise Park, 304. Sunland Gardens, 305. For the possibility that may have a tornado, and it may be moving across Fort Pierce right now. Sunrise Boulevard, Sunland Gardens. And that's really, Michael, that is a very sharp and robust
That's a distinct rotation there. Yeah, right. So we have that one, Jeff. We also have the one further off towards the west, out there near Florida's Turnpike. Right here, a little bit weaker. That's moving in a more rural area, it looks like, of northern St. Lucie County. And further north, let's see. So the only warning that we have right now so far continues for that one. Of course, I think that's going to include that cell offshore. They just might be extending that warning a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, they already had that area under a warning. They did not issue the warning for the particular cell that's moving into Fort Pierce now. Just so happens that it's moving right behind the cell that they issued it for, so it's for the same area. Can we take a look at velocities off Vero Beach? There was a suspect area, possible rotation, that was just on the northeast side of Fort Pierce. So that one right there.
Right there.
It's right there. It's kind of off the screen right now. No, it's over here.
Hold on.
Okay. And if we can just take the banner off for 1 second. Okay, there it is. It's fine. Leave the banner. So now, and do me a favor, go back 30 minutes. I want to see the exact track that this is taking. I want to see if it's going to clip Sebastian or not. Okay, now go forward.
It's about 30 minutes, so there you go. There it is, just forming offshore.
Yeah.
And so getting more and more distinct, as you'll notice. We're going back and forth about 20 to 30 minutes.
So this is headed towards Sebastian, or maybe just north of Sebastian. Can we get
Let's
a tracker on that cell?
Yeah, I'm going to kind of go a little ahead of it, because like you said, they're moving like at 90 miles an hour.
Great.
So it goes northeast, northwest, Humiston Park, 313, Gifford at 315, moving in Indian River Shores at 315, and Vero Beach Municipal 315, all within 10 minutes. And look how far offshore, Jeff, that is. So it doesn't take long for them to come in.
Yeah, it's amazing. So Sebastian, 315. If this is headed your way and there is a tornado, 315. Let's go back down to this one again, because this is about to come on shore, the one right around the Fort Pierce area. And again, folks, and there it is. We just got the latest radar sweep, and it is now moving across the Barrier Island and the Intracoastal Waterway, and it's headed into Fort Pierce right now. So if you're located in Fort Pierce, get to an interior portion of your home like a bathroom or a closet. All right, so we're looking at our traffic tracker vehicle. Where is it located, Jeremy?
In Pahokee.
All right, so we have one of our vehicles out in Pahokee right now. And, you know, all of our areas seeing these really gusty bands of wind and rain that are moving through, and isolated tornadoes, too. So that's our live shot out of Pahokee right now as some of these bands rotate in. We have our crews stationed all up and down our coast and on the west coast of Florida, too. Yeah, go ahead, Liz.
I've got two questions from viewers on Facebook. Jeff
Hold on a second, Liz. They don't have your mic on yet.
Can you open my mic?
Okay, now the mic's open.
All right. Jeff McDonald has a question from Facebook. He saw some chatter on a touchdown in Boca. Can Jeff verify this?
I can't verify there was a touchdown in Boca. What I can tell you is there was a tornado warning in Boca. Remember, we talked about right in the Camino Real area. That's where it moved on shore, southern part of Boca. Let's go back down. Now, I imagine that email was from a little while ago, right?
No, 5 minutes.
Oh, five. Well, when storms are moving at 90 miles an hour, it is kind of a long
Yeah,
time,
you're
believe it
right.
or not. But, Michael, can you put the storm report layer on? Let's see if we've gotten any confirmed reports. So,
just a bunch of tropical storm force wind gust reports so far, so no tornado.
I think it would be a good idea to kind of query a couple of these and show folks how strong the winds are.
Yeah, because they're coming in all over the place. This is western Delray, Jeff. So we see a tropical storm wind, 216. Doesn't say the actual wind speed. I'm going to actually I'm going to see if I can't correct that.
And to answer the viewer's question, if there is a confirmed tornado, so far we don't have it, it will pop up on this map. This is, so emergency management, National Weather Service gather this information, they send it to our computer. So as soon as we get
As soon as you get it, he'll get it,
But you know what? News tips at CBS12.com. If you, the viewer, saw a tornado, got a picture of it, got video of it, send it to newstips at CBS12.com or upload it to our CBS 12 News app. I believe you can also text it, right?
Yeah, 44332.
All right. So you text, what do you text, though? You text the word?
You text the word, Irma or damage, and then 44332. We send you a link back, and that's how you download the picture, clicking that link.
Okay, great. So there's 3 ways in which you can send us pictures. Jeremy, you have some video for us?
We have live pictures of storm damage in Boca.
All right, this is Boca, and I'm going to step out of this picture. We can take this full if you want. Take a look at this damage, this storm damage in Boca. Trees over, power lines over, power poles over. We're looking at the winds that are blowing through on the left side of your screen. You can kind of barely make it out right now because the camera's pointed in a different direction, but there it is. Wow. Look at that. That was either a straight... I don't know what that is on the ground, but yes, that looks like perhaps what was on top of the building.
The top of the building, the cap, maybe, yeah.
It looks like the cap of a column or something, but they're big. And they're concrete, it looks like.
That is the cap of a building which fell. That cannot happen unless the winds are way past hurricane force. We must have had a wind gust to about 90 miles an hour. I'll reiterate, that's Boca. Where specifically in Boca is that for the folks that are watching? And we're not surprised, by the way, that it's in Boca because that's where these hurricane force wind gusts are coming in.
Look at that tree split.
Yeah, look at the light pole.
That's
Everything's bent to the left.
at Federal Highway in Boca Raton. We'll get a more specific location because, of course, Federal Highway runs north to south, so it could be anywhere.
So that's east.
Right. It would be yes, it's definitely east, so that we know it's east.
But look at
Boca.
the light pole. The light pole's bent. And the trees are bent.
I think we're going to see this type of stuff happen up our coast now because those strongest of squalls are still in Fort Lauderdale, actually, still making their way north. So still in Miami.
With that circulation and rotation of Irma, with that storm, Jeff, you were saying earlier, we're seeing a lot of stuff come from the southeast to the northwest, and that might explain that track that you saw earlier going from Boca and Delray up through the backside of Wellington.
Right. That was it. And that was probably what caused that damage. It's tough to know because outside of these tornadoes, this was probably a tornado. Outside of the tornadoes, we have hurricane force winds in the bands themselves. All right, across from what, Jeremy? Lake Wyman Park. Okay, that's what we're looking at in Boca Raton, Lake Wyman Park. That's the damage we're looking at. Power pole, light pole bent down, trees knocked down, and a part of a building on the ground. Not the actual structure of the building, but whatever's on top of the building. I don't know what they're called.
Hey guys, just want to butt in with a storm report here. Marco Island, where the eye is moving on shore right now, a wind gust of 130 miles per hour was measured by a personal weather station at Marco Island Police Department at 3 p.m. Bear in mind, that's a personal weather station. It's not certified, but, that kind of matches basically the wind speed that the Hurricane Center is reporting as the highest wind speed, and it's moving right on shore Marco Island right now.
Yep, and so, it's interesting to see 130 here, but we're seeing some wind gusts on our coast close to 100, 110. You don't normally see that in hurricanes. Typically, most of the energy is concentrated close to the center, but that's not the case with this one. We've been telling you, it's a very big hurricane. And you're seeing the result of that. John Matthews, get yourself ready. I need just a little drink of water, so we'll have John. And John's mic is ready. He has it on. Just make sure it's turned on.
Make sure it's on. I'm
okay.
off the microphone.
Come on, I'm going to drink some water and you take over coverage for a
Jeff
couple
made a
seconds.
good observation. We normally expect the worst of the storm, which is where it is by the center. But the other fact is that these feeder bands, as we now know, are loaded with strong gusty winds, hurricane force gusts, and with that, of course, heavy rain. So we're starting to get into it now, and you can see how this goes all the way up 80 miles north of West Palm Beach and Vero Beach. You can see heavy rain bands here, and actually there was a report of confirming some of the storm damage just to the north of Vero, in the Vero Beach or the Melbourne Beach area. Again, some of the damage reported from the Weather Service there in Melbourne. We have two different sources of information. The Melbourne reporting from the National Weather Service in Melbourne, as well as down in Miami, and we're right in between, so we have the advantage of all the information that we get. So the tornado warning is showing how this is really affecting everybody until 3:30, right through this general area, and we'll continue to watch that. Those little couplets that Jeff is showing really do verify as either a funnel cloud that's just above the ground so it doesn't do any damage, or some that do dip down and take out shingles on houses and tip things over like we saw in Boca Raton. We're watching that tornado warning through Boca, and that may be close to EF1 or EF0 in Boca Raton. We'll have to wait for the examination of all this after everything ends, because right now everybody is like not going outside with these storms. Here's Boynton Beach, heavy rain bands coming in. Heaviest is the orange and the yellow, and you can see there's some dry areas, and with that you get those strong gusty winds as well. Michael, can we zoom all the way back and see how big this is covering the state? Because we had so many people that evacuated from our area, and I've always said, you know, it's risky to take an evacuation, but look at how the feeder bands are now up around Daytona Beach and Orlando and up by Jacksonville. See those way up there? So if you sent anybody up in that direction, they're getting clobbered as well. And as the storm continues to lift up, they'll continue to see what we've already seen, the advance of these feeder bands and the advance of the heavy rains. That gives you a pretty good picture of how wide this system is and how big it is, covering our whole state right now. And in that includes, of course, that includes coast to coast on both areas in Fort Myers. So sometimes you get a little gap in those feeder bands, which gives us a little break, and then they come right back again. So we're watching this crawl slowly up the coastline, and with that we have heavy embedded cells right there, all the red ones, and that's where we get some of these little signatures of some of the, you can see those little rotating, spinning areas right there. Those are our little shear markers indicating the possibility of a tornado. This is Pahokee right by Lake Okeechobee. A lot of concern about how Lake Okeechobee is going to hold up with this as we go through the day and the night and before this all pulls out.
And
one
John,
thing, yeah, go ahead.
John, looks like we have a new tornado warning just issued for Indian River County. So it's an extension of the tornado warning that was across St. Lucie County right now. Tornado warning for northern St. Lucie County and Indian River County. This is basically extended until 3:45 this afternoon, and the Weather Service talking about a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located 3 miles southeast of Vero Beach Highland, or near Vero Beach, moving northwest at 50 miles per hour. So we'll take a look at the velocity and see if we can't find this situation right here, just to the southeast of the Vero Beach area. So right there near Florida Ridge, right there, and again, it's moving to the northwest at 50 miles an hour. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous. Those caught without shelter, mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. The locations impacted would include Fort Pierce, Vero, Fellsmere, Vero Beach South, and the Fort Pierce Inlet. So again, a new tornado warning, extending the old one really from 3:30 until about 3:45 this afternoon.
Wow. So we've got another half hour to watch that. And of course, it's taking up all of our coverage with watching tornado warnings. That's because we want to keep you all protected, which is the whole idea. But with that, we still have, there's the watch box right there. So you can see how that's loaded up for the next half hour. And that means if you are living in that area, you really need to be aware of what's going on outside and be ready to take cover quickly. What do you do if there's a tornado? Well, when we start showing things like that, remember, the best thing to do is to get away from any glass windows, to stay under cover if you've got a big heavy table, but stay away from the windows, get to the opposite side of the house, and take it easy and listen to Jeff. Jeff will point this.
And why don't you go sit next to Liz and John on the desk, okay?
Okay, great.
Because I mean, we have 3 meteorologists here. We might as well utilize everybody. And John DeSepolo, what do you got?
I got viewers that are emailing me, Jeff. What they're curious about is the winds that you were showcasing earlier along the coast as they continue to increase. As that eye moves north, and that eye becomes parallel with our viewing area, are those winds going to be sustained, or are they going to increase?
It's going to be the same for everybody, and what I mean by that is because it's literally paralleling, the storm is literally paralleling our area. What Boca gets is what Delray's going to get, is what Boynton's going to get, is what West Palm's going to get, is what Stewart's going to get.
Even as that eye moves up.
Yeah, I mean, it may weaken a teeny bit once it gets equidistant to Vero Beach and Sebastian, but everyone's going to see kind of the same stuff. The difference with that is that Lake Okeechobee may actually get worse conditions because they're a little bit closer to the center of the storm. All right, so we have a tornado warning that's in effect for northern St. Lucie County and Indian River County. If you're listening to us on the radio, if you're watching us on TV, we are live on Facebook behind this camera as well. So go to facebook.com/JeffWeather or go to the CBS 12 Facebook page. Share it to your friends. There's a lot of people that do not have power. And by the way, Katrin, if you have an interesting comment that you want to let me know, just shout it out. There are no rules when we're doing this kind of coverage, so it's okay. You can interrupt me if you need to. Where is this video from, the control room? Riviera Beach Marina. We're just kind of cleaning off the lens to give you a better view of stuff. So when we get some strong gusts into that area, and we have marginally strong gusts, we'll come back to that camera in a couple of seconds. But I want to concentrate on what's happening right now on the Treasure Coast. So tornado warning for northern St. Lucie County, Indian River County until 3:45 at 3:11. So that was a few minutes ago. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located 3 miles southeast of Vero Beach Highland, or near Vero Beach South, moving northwest at 50, so a little more slowly up there. And they're saying locations impacted Fort Pierce, Vero Beach, Fellsmere, Vero Beach South, and Fort Pierce Inlet. All right, so I'm putting this down. The tornado warning in effect until 3:45. All right, so they were talking, Michael, that the original circulation may have been located near South Beach. So I wonder if that's the circulation that they were referring to. At this point, there are circulations in so many different areas. Can you rewind it maybe 15 minutes or 30 minutes so we can see what specific circulation they were talking about? Maybe zoom out a little bit more.
Yeah, I'll zoom out a little bit here.
Okay. Here we go. Just bear with us, folks, because there's so many circulations coming in right now. To me, it just looks like they saw some circulations and just issued a warning based upon the fact that there were several different circulations. So at this point, if you're under a tornado warning, best advice is to get away from windows in a bathroom or a closet. John Matthews has been working here for 42 years, and he knows that we are all going to be just fine as long as we follow the advice of the people that are sitting in the studio right now.
Nobody's died on my watch around here.
That's right.
Nobody.
And that's what we mean.
Just
so
pay attention. Be careful.
It sounds a little frantic when you listen to this on the radio, you watch it on TV. We're not frantic. We're just trying to keep up with as many tornado warnings as there are. But we want to let you know that you will be fine as long as you just kind of heed the warnings that we're telling you. Get to an interior portion of your home like John Matthews was telling you. Stay away from windows. Everything should be just fine. So there's Florida Ridge. There's Nevis. There is Vero Beach right there. Everybody there is under the tornado warning right now. And everything's moving at 50, 60, 70 miles an hour off to the northwest. Moving a little more slowly on the Treasure Coast than it is down in Miami-Dade, Broward, and into Palm Beach County as well. So that's kind of a look at what's happening up there on the Treasure Coast right now. If we can take kind of a wider view of the radar, Michael, first of all, I want to get an idea if we have any other areas to watch on the Treasure Coast, and also if we have any other areas to watch down in Palm Beach County as well.
A lot of early rotations offshore St. Lucie County right now, Jeff.
Yeah, we might as well take a look at the velocity, see if we can pick out exactly where they are.
Pick out what's going on. Actually, they're moving so quickly. It's now the new scan that they're onshore. So that's probably the rotation we're talking about right there near St. Lucie Village.
You want to check the velocity on it?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, right there. We could probably see some broad rotation there.
Yeah, so John Matthews makes a good point, Michael. He's saying, can you explain what these colors mean?
Well, what the colors mean is we're looking at the wind flow towards and away from the radar. We're looking at the Melbourne radar. So the green will be wind rushing towards the radar site. The red will be the air rushing away. So you got a rushing towards, you got a rushing away, and you can imagine this kind of rotating around in a complete circle, so to speak. So where you ever see those bright greens and bright reds butted up against one another, chances are there's a rotation. And this is the way we look at tornadoes nowadays. Years ago, you'd have to rely on spotters. You know, with Doppler radar being around for the last 20 years, we can look at the velocity data from different radars and, you know, see where the rotations are aloft. We're talking about several thousand feet up. So typically the radar will see the rotation aloft, and sometimes they spin on down to the ground. Most of the time they don't, but you still have to put a tornado warning out, especially if you see the brighter greens and the brighter reds against one another. You can also look at little notches in there as well to
Michael,
give a better indication of tornadoes, too.
I just want you to show folks. So this is 30 minutes ago.
That's 30
Watch
minutes
the
ago.
first velocity scan, the first rotation move into Fort Pierce.
Look
There
at
it is
that,
right
yes,
there
right.
on the northern side of Fort Pierce. And then watch another one pop up right behind it right there.
Yep. So we have a lot, yes, a lot of rotations coming in. So
and this, let me track this for you because it seems to be heading in that direction right there.
So here's your rotation. There's your bright green against the bright red, moving into, looks like St. Lucie Village at 3:29, moving into Viking at 3:31, moving into Florida Ridge at 3:32 this afternoon. Again, these cells are moving at 50 miles an hour, so it doesn't take long for them to track on shore. So those of you in Fort Pierce, you're in the tornado-warned area, up north, up US 1, near Kings Highway, up to Florida Ridge. Again, within moments, right now it's 3:23, so in the next 10 minutes, this rotation will again move on shore. And I'm sure, Jeff, there are other rotations that we continue to try to pick out here. Maybe a very broad, weaker one right up there,
I mean,
right there.
I
right
can't
there.
say that I've ever
There's
seen.
another one. I mean, it's just endless.
Yeah.
We could be in tornado warnings all afternoon, evening if these continue to head off towards the north and west.
I mean,
it's really
you
mind-boggling.
know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop this and circle every single one of them. This
Good
is,
idea.
you know, honestly, I rarely have ever seen a landfalling hurricane with as many tornadoes, but there's one there.
We got this
there's
one
there.
another
there's
here,
one there.
we got one up here.
And there's
They're
another
just all
one
over the
here.
place.
And let me track every single one for everybody. So just bear with me, folks. So
and
this
again,
one,
folks, we're looking at, if you're listening to us on the radar, we're looking at red and green colors right next to one another. The brighter, the higher the indication that there is some rotation. So we're tracking this one right here. Let's take down the banner if we could just a moment so we can see all this.
I'll move it over here, Michael. Go ahead.
That's a good idea. Okay. Yeah. So moving into Fort Pierce at 3:26, this area of rotation, potential tornado, moving into Viking at 3:30, tracks into Florida Ridge at 3:32, and then moves into Vero Beach at 3:34. So that's that one right there. We've got others all over the offshore waters. We'll track this couplet or rotation area to the north and west, possibly moving into Wabasso Beach at 3:35 and Sebastian at 3:38. So those of you listening on radio or you're watching TV, if you still have power up, thankfully you're hunkered down in your house with shutters or the plywood on your windows, so you really don't have to do much. You're just going to have to listen. If it gets worse out there and you hear a whistling or the sound of a train, there could be a tornado going by our area. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's another area of rotation located offshore. We'll track this into the northwest, moving into Queens Cove at 3:43. Potential tornado into Vero Beach at 3:49, and then Wabasso Beach at 3:52. Again, fast moving at about 50 miles an hour. What happens here is you can see a lot of spinning. There's rotation. You might be hearing, a lot of torrential rain and just a really nasty situation as these tornadoes continue to come in. And then this one would eventually come in to possibly a similar area. They're all screaming off to the west-northwest pretty fast. So at about 10 or 15 minutes to these times, and this could be tracking into the same potential area. So we could be looking at multiple tornadoes coming into the St. Lucie County area and the Indian River County area within the next half hour or so.
And Michael, we have something else I need to tell everybody. We have a new tornado warning that has just come out. This tornado warning is in effect for western St. Lucie County and north central Martin County. Western St. Lucie County. This is it. Let me do it again. We're going to circle it. That is the potential tornado located right there.
Okay, it looks like a smaller couple, so maybe you can zoom in a little more here.
I'm going to zoom in a little bit more.
Martin
and then we're
Highway and the Florida Turnpike here. This is where 95 cuts west of the Turnpike. For those of you, again, near northern sections of Martin County and southern parts of St. Lucie County. Now, this area, very rural, moving off to the north and west, so we don't have a lot of towns to show you here. Kena at 3:32. Fortunately, this more than likely would pass west of Port St. Lucie, but nevertheless, you'll notice Martin Highway and I-95 right underneath this potential rotation or potential tornado. And again, this is where that new tornado warning hasn't put into effect until, what time was that, Jeff? 4?
New tornado warning in effect until 3:45.
So 3:45. Okay, it's 3:24 now. So,
and that's for this right here.
That right there. And the tornado warnings here are only of a short duration because they're moving by so fast. And they're moving by very quickly due to the rotation of not only the rotation of Irma now making landfall near Marco Island, but also just the fast movement of the winds pushing everything to the north and west.
So I put the streets on for you, Michael.
There are the streets. We got Southwest Meadows Avenue there. We've got Florida Turnpike being impacted. There's a lot of little neighborhoods there. If maybe we get closer, see more streets there, Jeff. I'm not sure if we can.
Although, again, remember, it's probably already
moving
there.
west because the radar scan is only every couple minutes. There's Southwest Meadows Avenue and some neighborhoods. Not as much population in these areas, but you got 39th Street there and several highways and streets to the south and west. Moving to the north and west, we'll be moving over Martin Highway shortly, Southwest 48th Avenue. Again, a more rural part of western parts of Martin County.
A couple of things, Michael. Just got some new storm reports. Pretty amazing wind gusts. Coral Glades High School in Coral Springs, 89 miles an hour. And that's, that's out of our viewing area, but barely, because Coral Springs is just below the border with Palm Beach County and Broward County. But that is rotating north into Boca Raton as we speak.
Exactly.
We are going to see wind gusts over 90 miles an hour. But you will be fine as long as you're away from your windows. If you don't have shutters, stay away from your windows, bathroom or closet. Here's another one, 91 mile an hour wind gust at Fisher Island, which is located obviously down in Miami. It's where a lot of the rich people live, down in Miami on the south side of South Beach. Also, let's see, we just got a new one that just came out. Opelika reported a gust of 81, 82 miles an hour. Pompano Beach Air Park reported a wind gust of 81 miles an hour.
So these are all hurricane force wind gusts, Jeff. And we've been talking about this. We predicted this yesterday, the day before. Even though the center of Irma is passing hundreds of miles to our west and south, we're still in the hurricane force wind gust, Category 1 gust possible. Got some new video coming in. And, Director, where was this? Live pictures in the Boca Raton vicinity, and boy, we can take a look. I mean, we've got something down. There's a light pole now kind of stretched down at a 45-degree angle. We also have trees down, numerous trees down in Boca Raton right now. We've got debris in the parking lot. There's that power pole. That's dramatic, bent over at a 45-degree angle. Again, we're looking at live video from the Boca Raton vicinity, and that right there, that looks like a top of a roof that came in. Some of those fancy things on top of roofs that was obviously blown right over. This may very well be confirmation of a tornado. I think it's pretty hard for the straight line winds to blow that over, but that actually could have been from a tornado as it ripped one of the decorative parts of a roof off. We pan around some more, and we continue to see trees down. These are medium-sized trees, looks like felled over by the strong winds or that potential tornado. Whole trees with the root systems coming out onto the ground. Again, this is the Boca Raton area. We did have tornado warnings in Boca. We don't have anything confirmed yet. The Weather Service will have to go up to take a look to see if there was a tornado in that area. But those caps over houses are pretty indicative of very, very strong winds in the Boca Raton vicinity.
Hey, Michael, we just got a hurricane-force wind gust to 80 miles an hour at the St. Lucie nuclear plant.
80 miles an hour.
80 miles an hour. So we had our first hurricane-force wind gust on the Treasure Coast just now. So everybody is beginning to gust to hurricane force across the area. We have a couple of active tornado warnings. You can see them right there on the map. In fact, what I'm going to do is put the velocity scan back on. And let me change this over to, let me just make sure this is the right one. Let's take that one off. Let's take that one off.
I think we got the nearest site showing, don't we, Jeff? But it's not working.
Well, and this is right. No, it's right. I just wanted to verify. So we have 3 possible tornadoes that we're watching. One of them is right here on the coast now.
Right there in A1A.
It's right at the inlet there in Fort Pierce. It's literally at the Fort Pierce Inlet, Bayshore Drive.
Bayshore Drive, A1A, the bridge, the causeway that goes over into Fort Pierce. Rotation tornado possible there. Again, moving to the northwest at about 50 miles an hour. So St. Lucie Village, St. Lucie, let's track that. And again, this is just one of many rotations. St. Lucie County, just about the entire county now, you're under that tornado warning until 3:45 right now. Tracking to the northwest at 50 miles an hour, moving into St. Lucie Village at 3:31. Tracks into Indriel at 3:33 and Lakewood Park at 3:36 this afternoon. So moving over US 1, Dixie Highway, A1A, and areas further west, More activity located right here. This is east of the Indian River County area, another couplet located offshore, and they all seem to be spinning up over the ocean in the main feeder bands from Hurricane Irma as it moves onshore Marco Island and the southwest Florida coast. Moving into Mico at 3:49. Again, let's see what time. It's 3:29 now, so in the next 20 minutes or so. And like we were talking about earlier, multiple couplets, multiple centers of potential rotation forming out over the Atlantic, moving northwest. This one right here heading northwest into South Beach at 3:56 and Vero Beach at 4:01 this afternoon. Again, the tornado warning in St. Lucie County until about 3:45 this afternoon. And here's another one here moving into Vero at 4:15 and Sebastian at about 4:24 this afternoon. Now, we're not saying all of these are going to produce tornadoes. We're not saying that all of them will produce tornado warnings, but there's an indication of rotation aloft coming on shore, and that's why we're here to tell you exactly what's going on. We got another video of a tree down. This is, where is this? This is Riviera Beach Marina. I'll step out of the side. Riviera Beach Marina, and we can see one tree on the left side of your screen there, which has been blown over. Looks like a pretty small tree. Some palm trees, as you'll notice, are blowing in the wind. It doesn't look like the winds are too strong in Riviera Beach right now, probably gusting maybe past 50 miles an hour. But we've got, our live crews out all over the place. So we've got several different vantage points of cameras showing the weather. Kate Wenzel, I believe, is out in the storm tracker vehicle, so we'll be hearing from her in a little bit. So again, you're looking at live pictures from the Riviera Beach area as Hurricane Irma's main rain bands begin to push north through Palm Beach County and up into the Treasure Coast. And I might want to add that the worst weather is starting to occur across parts of our area with the hurricane force winds. And they're going to be going on between now and figure about 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. That will be the worst weather. And then things will begin to slowly die down well after midnight tonight. Here's Kate. Kate, are you out there? We're looking at some of your live pictures from the storm tracker vehicle. Go ahead, Kate, if you can hear us. Keep them on, a little delay.
Jeff, I can hear you. I just got out of the truck. I'm going to be walking in front of the truck so you can see what's going on here. We are on the Indian Town Bridge. There's no other cars for obvious reasons. You can see over there is Harborside, and it's really gusting. In fact, we have our own weather center right here in the Storm Tracker 12 truck, and it registered a wind of 60 miles per hour, a wind gust. So it's pretty strong up here. Of course, it's a little elevated right here because we're a little higher on the bridge, but it is whipping out here, and of course, right now it feels like it's coming due east. Of course, that's east, and wish I could show you guys all around here what's going on, but you get the scene, you get the picture, and I know these winds are going to be increasing as we head throughout the afternoon, and we do expect things to stay pretty nasty right through this evening. It's quiet out here. Of course, there's no cars on the road other than police cars. That's about it. We've seen some debris driving around, and so far, no major issues that we've seen. We're still able to get around. You can see the wind kind of comes and goes right there, but at one point we did move the truck a little bit. It wasn't feeling very secure, and of course we want to be safe out here. We're going to be driving around all afternoon bringing you live ground truth reports from Storm Tracker 12. Kate Wenzel, CBS 12 News. Back to you, Jeff.
Okay, Kate, be careful because, the strongest winds have not yet arrived where you are. They're making their way up through Broward County right now. She didn't even hear what I said. That's how windy and rainy and stormy it is. You look at those trees in the distance. Every once in a while, usually the winds are 50, maybe 60, and then every once in a while the winds just fly by as some of these bands rotate in. All right, so let's kind of regroup here. The hurricane is making landfall in Naples right now as we speak with a bunch of lightning right around its center. We just recently had a wind gust to 130 miles an hour. And I'll tell the producers, anytime you want to take a camera from Florida's west coast, we can use that as well. I wonder if the Surfline cameras are working in Juno Beach and in Lake Worth Pier. Anytime you get any of those cameras, go ahead and let me know. Look at all these shear markers. Now notice the rotation is a little bit less as you get closer to the actual center of the storm. So we don't see as many shear markers rotation markers in Palm Beach County or Broward. We see most of them now up on the Treasure Coast. This is where the real tornado threat is, and there are tons of rotating thunderstorms. Any one of them could potentially produce a tornado. So, folks, I will get back to Palm Beach County in a second or two. I'll just tell you, in Palm Beach County, you're going to see hurricane-force wind gusts on a fairly consistent basis now. But it's the tornado threat that we want to concentrate on for a couple of seconds. So there's one right there, which has now moved on shore. We were telling you about that before on the north side of Fort Pierce. It looks like it's right by Lakewood Park area. So as we zoom in a little bit closer, right on top of Lakewood Park. We also have a picture from our Jupiter Beach camera right now. And yeah, I mean, obviously you do not want to be on the beach. High tide, by the way, was at noon, so the tide should be going down. That should be helping with any kind of overwash that we may have. And then offshore, we have that, and that, at least 4 waterspouts that are moving towards the coast right now. Each one of them moving at about 60 miles an hour or so. We're going to track that one because it's the closest to the coast. Heading into South Beach at 4 o'clock, Vero Beach at 4:04, and Vero Beach Municipal at around 4:06. Underneath the banner, Michael, there's another possible tornado. So it's just to the east of Palm City there. No, down further south. Okay, you actually have it on there. So go ahead and leave it there.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So let's track that into what looks to be Jensen Beach. It's going in that direction right here. Let's see how long it's going to take to get in there. So there could be a tornado right here, just offshore. Now, normally it would take 15, 20 minutes to get to the coast. Today, it's going to take 2 or 3 minutes to get to the coast. So we're forecasting that it could reach Witham Field or just north of Stewart there at 3:47. And I really think it's going to be faster than this, but nevertheless, it's possible. I mean, I had it at 60 miles an hour, Michael.
It was at 50. I just put up to 60.
Oh, okay. So let's try it one more time.
So let's retrack this
from
one
right
more
about
time.
Here, because I know that it's probably a little further along.
Right. It's probably a little further along. Let's track it off to the west-northwest, and there are some times for you.
Okay, thank you. So Witham Field at 3:46, Jensen Beach 3:47. It may go north of downtown Stewart, but just keep in mind if you're in Stewart, there is a circulation to your east, 3:47. Indian River States at around 3:54. So that very well could be a tornado, but I don't think that they've issued a warning on that yet.
No warning yet issued on that, Jeff. Again, we still have that warning up for the St. Lucie County area and also the Martin County area, and they've been pretty quiet on that warning, which goes until 3:45. So that's in about 7 or 8 minutes or so. Okay. And again, that for the area further north. Right there, you'll notice across St. Lucie County and also Indian River County. So we're going to put the warning on here and take a look at actually what specific cities, towns, and streets that we're dealing with right now as we take a closer zoom in right there. So there's one warning, Port St. Lucie, areas north and west. And so right there we see. And I think we got a new report from NWS chat here. Wind towers getting gusts over 50 knots, but that's up at the Kennedy Space Center.
Okay, so the winds are picking up at Cape Canaveral.
Yes, they are.
Now, as well as this system continues to move towards the north. All right, so we focused a little bit on what's happening on the Treasure Coast. We should go back down to Palm Beach County as well. And as we do so, I just want to mention Hope Sound because I know we've had some questions about Hope Sound. So let's just go a little further north to Hope. There's Hope right there. So, again, the cell with the possible tornado is right there moving on shore around Jensen Beach soon. So watch out, Jensen Beach. Get to an interior portion of your home. Hope Sound, you're under another band right here as well. So, and there's some heavy rain moving into your area. We're not ignoring anybody at all. We're live on Facebook right now as well. So check us out on Facebook if you want to see the pictures. If you can't actually watch us on TV, but you do have your phone, you have cell phone service, you want to watch us on Facebook, go ahead and do that. Please share it to your friends because there's a lot of people without power. And I'd love at some point if my control room or the assignment desk can give me an update on how many power outages. I think earlier we had about 250 or more.
And that was just for Palm Beach County.
Yeah, just Palm Beach County alone, it was about a third of the customers that were out of power.
And I think 1.5 million customers in Florida so far, Jeff, and that number continues to rise.
That's amazing. So here's some great advice, to take in case a tornado warning is issued for your area. Seek shelter immediately. If you have a 2-floor home, get to the lowest level of that home. You want to stay away from windows, get to a bathroom or a closet, and you want to get under a sturdy object in a worst-case scenario. I know Liz and John have been like looking at questions and asking questions, and I love when they chime in because I know probably the folks at home are thinking maybe different things than I am. I'm thinking as a meteorologist and kind of talking meteorological jargon sometimes, but we have questions that are coming in for our viewers. And Katrin, I know you're probably also getting some questions as well. What's the best question you've seen so far, Katrin?
I am going up.
And where'd you meet your boyfriend?
Northern PSL. How long is this going to last?
Northern. So a lot of people are asking about northern Port St. Lucie and how long this is going to last. Good question. So we've been talking about the radar right now. The worst of it is now through about 10 o'clock tonight. And then after midnight, things will start getting better. Now, it's going to take a little longer on the Treasure Coast, obviously, than it's going to take here. I'd say by tomorrow morning, by the time you wake up in the morning, all the hurricane force winds are long gone. Still maybe some tropical storm force wind gusts, but overall much better. The worst of it is going to be through midnight tonight, and then we're going to see gradual improvement after that. And that is for Port St. Lucie area, that specific question. Okay? So anytime you have a question, go ahead and just write it on a piece of paper or shout it out to me. Anybody else have any questions right now, guys?
No, that was pretty much the question I was getting also, Jeff, was people in Wellington and Palm Beach County, southern Palm Beach County, how long is this going to last? Because they're getting these gusts of wind. When those outer bands come through, they say it ramps up literally in 45 seconds from nothing to an incredibly screeching, howling wind.
Yeah, it's going to be a while. I mean, this is not the quickest moving storm as we've seen. It was moving earlier. It was moving at 6 last night, then 9 this morning. It was moving at 12 miles an hour, so it is picking up the forward speed. That's good news.
And our director just told us that it was about 320,000 customers in Palm Beach County now without power. 324,000 without power, and I believe there's about 719,000 customers in Palm Beach County. So that's 40 to 50. More than 2 million across the state. So in Palm Beach County, Jeff, still looks like a little more than half the customers have power, but a lot of those might be businesses that are closed.
Yeah, so this is pretty incredible. We're going to be having, it's going to take a while to get the power back to everybody.
A lot more power outages, I think, going on through the afternoon and evening as some more of those hurricane force winds come up from Miami-Dade and come up from Broward and continue to rotate across our area.
You know, we were showing you video earlier from the Brickell area. I wonder if that is still happening. There was several feet of water on the roads in Brickell. So we're doing our best to get the cameras, the video that we can to show you on the air of what's happening, the ground truth, if you will, to what we're seeing on the radar here. So anytime we have any of these cameras, I think we have our Boca Cam. You can barely see in our WeatherBug Boca Cam. I'm looking at it right now. And we also have our storm chasers that are out there. So that's our Boca Cam.
Quick note, Jeff, on some of the chat coming in. You remember we're getting these hourly updates on Irma. Radar circulation center of Irma is over Marco Island with extreme winds circulating about within the eye wall near Naples and vicinity. The eyes will be watching where the center of Irma officially tracks to see if there are small shifts to the east beyond the normal wobbling that we see. This will have bearing on eventual winds experience across Okeechobee County and all of Central Florida. Of course, this is coming out of the Melbourne National Weather Service office.
That's exactly right, and we were saying it last night, and we were saying it this morning. We thought this was moving a little east of the National Hurricane Center track, and that was going to have ramifications on our local area, and sure enough, it is. You know, I want to check the tide gauges in the Marco Island area. So, Michael, I'll let you take over for a second because I want to go check to see how high those tides have now gotten on the west coast of Florida. I have a link for that.
Yeah, it looks like Hurricane Center just chided in. It looks like they've had an official landfall of Irma. The center of Hurricane Irma makes landfall at Marco Island. I'm going to read it to you. The center of Hurricane Irma made landfall in southwest Florida at 3:35. Right now it's 3:42, so 3:43. So about 8 minutes ago, official landfall right on Marco Island as a Category 3 hurricane. And you might remember a short time ago, our WeatherBug, one of the local weather stations at the police station, reported a wind gust to 130 miles an hour in the Marco Island area. I've been there. It's a beautiful place. Unfortunately, there's probably going to be a lot of devastation there. A 130-mile-an-hour gust, again, like I just said, recently reported by the Marco Island Police Department. So you notice the radar on the other side of the screen there showing the landfall of Irma this afternoon, continuing to press slowly off towards the north. The rain bands, the main feeder bands, continue to rotate in all across South Florida, moving through Lake Okeechobee right now. Bands moving into Broward, rotating north and west into Palm Beach County. Notice a particularly really heavy rain band right now, moving from the West Boca area, stretching north and west to the Wellington area and Belle Glade, heading northwest. Some of these cells moving northwest at more than 50 miles an hour. And, of course, the rain bands continue to extend north and east through Hope Sound and Indiantown. A steady soaking rain for you. Right now, across parts of the Treasure Coast, we are still looking at you are under a tornado warning, and that tornado warning goes in effect until 3:45. This in effect for western St. Lucie County, northern central Martin County. Looks like it's 3:44 now, so in the next minute or so, we'll see whether or not this tornado warning expires or not. But when there are tornadoes, you know, there's flying debris. These are some of the hazards which are dangerous. You're inside now if you're listening here, and hopefully you don't want to venture outside to look at this. Mobile homes are damaged, roofs, windows. Damage there. This tornadic thunderstorm will remain over mainly rural areas of western St. Lucie and north central Martin County. So that's one tornado warning, which is about to expire. But like we've been talking about all afternoon, we have numerous couplets that continue to be located further offshore. So what I'll do is put on a velocity display and look off to the north and northwest. And you'll notice, again, a lot of rotation signatures offshore. We're looking at pretty much 4 of them right now on the radar. Wherever you see that red and the green right against one another. And as you'll notice, we can kind of take a look at some of these. There's one right there east of Stewart. We've got another one east of the Fort Pierce area, southeast of Vero Beach. Another one there on the radar off the coast, and another one developing further offshore or about to develop. So what we'll do is we'll track these one at a time. This area of rotation located east of St. Lucie County, moving off to the north and west. So although no tornado warnings have been put out yet for these, the Weather Service may be doing that shortly. So this area of rotation, a potential tornado, moves into Waveland at 3:51, heading into Eldred at 3:56, moving into Indian River Estates at 3:58, heading into Fort Pierce at 4 o'clock, and then heading into St. Lucie International Airport perhaps at 4:03 this afternoon. So we'll take that area off, and we're going to track the area further to the north. This couplet right here, which is not too far north of the one down to the south, this primarily moving off to the north and west, and I'm tracking them at about 60 miles an hour. This will move into Round Island Park at 3:54, South Beach at 3:55, heading into Vero Beach at 3:58. This potential rotation area, this couplet moving into Vero Beach Municipal at 4 o'clock, and then heading into Wabasso Beach at 4:01 this afternoon. Not saying that all these will generate tornado warnings, that they do indicate tornadoes reaching down to the ground or maybe water spouts offshore, but there is a potential that we do see some tornadic activity continuing to press in from the ocean and continuing to head on off towards the west and the northwest. So that's the second area offshore. We'll look at this other area further off the coast right now, and this will track into the probably into the Indian River County area if it holds together, moving into Ryomar at 4:14. This tracks into Vero Beach at 4:16 and Vero Beach Municipal at 4:18, and we'll track one more right here. This one just developing off the coast right now. I'm going to get rid of all these circles because every time you get a radar scan, you notice that these things move by really fast, and this one's further offshore out to the east, and this one will track to the northwest. Beyond the other is also potentially moving in Indian River County, Vero Beach at 4:34, and Vero Beach Municipal at 4:35. And what we're looking at, for those of you that are listening to us on radio at home, is the velocity product. Whenever we see bright green right against bright red, we're seeing that the winds are going in one direction in the bright green. They're going towards the radar site, and the bright red is the wind going away from the radar site. So when they're right next to one another, you can imagine kind of a rotation or a spin, so to speak, indicating there's a rotation aloft, and that's going to perhaps move down to the ground and produce a funnel up the ground as they head off towards the north and the west. So let's take a look at some chat here, okay? It looks like we don't see any tornado warnings right now. We're 3 minutes past the expiration of the last one. Across the St. Lucie County and Martin County area. We don't see any, reissuances of those right now. But we do see, still an enhanced risk of severe weather, according to the Storm Prediction Center here. And we can read some of it. There's an enhanced risk of severe storms across much of east central Florida and the Florida Peninsula. The tornado risk associated with Irma will affect much of the Florida Peninsula today and tonight. There's another one, I think, coming in.
That's right here. That's in effect
right
for us.
here.
I'm going to head to the wall.
Okay. Let's see if we can't get anything printing here. Tornado warning until 4:15. Okay, this is for Palm Beach County.
All right.
This is right over our studios here, saying take shelter now, check local media. So let's take a look actually at the official warning here coming out, and I'll bring that over to you, Jeff, as soon as we possibly can.
Yeah, you know what? I'll get it, and you position the radar
Yeah, let's
down
position
there.
the radar. It looks like
And
until
I'll head back to
4:15
the
for
wall.
East Central Palm Beach County. Radar indicated tornado. It was located near Delray Beach, moving northwest at 75 miles an hour.
All right, so I'm going to head back to the wall, Michael. Let's get Miami velocity scan on, and we'll take a look at that one. So we now have a tornado warning that's in effect for northern Palm Beach County as well. What we're looking at right now is the Palm Beach County radar. We're going to switch this over to the Miami radar. They've been a little bit better, actually, and it's for that right there. So let's zoom in a little further north here, just a slight bit further north. So there is the potential tornado that the warning was just issued for. Again, they said it was just to the east of Delray Beach, so that is it right there.
Yeah.
And it's moving at 75 miles an hour. So why don't we put the tracker here and bring it straight up through Palm Beach County?
Yeah, let's take a look. I'm going to change this from 60 to 75 miles an hour for the track, and then we're going to save that quick and take a look at our tracker tool right here. So we'll move it a little bit further to the west of where it really is, and track it off to the north and west. So moving into these areas, very populated area of eastern Palm Beach County, Jeff.
Yeah, so Boynton Beach 352, Fair Oaks Hospital 352, Seminole Manor 355, Aberdeen 357. Michael, can we do one thing here? I know we're out of paper, so maybe we can get John Matthews to fill that up because I think he's in the newsroom right now, so he's probably a little closer
John, we need
to
you.
that.
Come back in.
That's right. But you know what? Let's go backwards with this over the past 30 minutes because I just want to see exactly the direction it's going, and I think our tracker is correct as it moves to the west-northwest. So, yeah, this is the correct location. But, you know, it's interesting because the tornado warning they also issued for us here at our station. Now, we're in Riviera Beach, so I wonder if they see something else to the east there. Maybe they just broad-brushed it and made a big tornado warning.
Well, we're going to put the polygon on and see exactly what we got going on here.
Okay, so they have it all the way up there.
So it includes the northeast corner of it is really right over a station, Mangonia Park,
Right.
Jeff, it looks like.
And maybe up
very northeast corner.
Yeah.
A big broad brush for most of the populated eastern parts of Palm Beach County. Very interesting. A broad brush tornado warning.
Why don't we try the velocity, and I want to see what's going on off of northern Palm Beach, just to make sure there's no other circulations there. And again,
change over to the Amex.
Yeah,
later.
thank you. Appreciate that. Well, I don't see anything specific, but there are obviously a lot of rotations embedded in this. Undoubtedly, the one that is really catching our attention is the one that's off Delray Beach. So if you're watching from Palm Beach Gardens or listening from Palm Beach Gardens or Riviera Beach and the tornado warning went off for you, West Palm Beach, the actual tornado that we think is going to be moving in is to your south. Doesn't mean that other tornadoes couldn't possibly fire up, but to your south. And as you can see right there, the actual tornadic circulation is located to the east of Boynton Beach, and it's moving to the west-northwest quickly now at about 65, was it? 75 miles an hour. So there it is. One more time, we'll track it for you. Boynton Beach 353, Ocean Ridge 353, Palm Beach County Park 356, Seminole Manor 356, and Green Acres at 359. Yeah. So these systems are moving very fast. So if you're located in central Palm Beach County around Boynton, especially, you want to get to an interior portion of your home. Same thing in the Green Acres area. You are under this tornado warning. It extends out to Wellington. You know, the system actually is far to Wellington's east, but it actually could be there in less than 20 minutes, even though it's so far away. So just to give you an idea, Wellington, you should also be aware that this could be moving your way. And the circulation is located right about there. That's where the circulation is
So here are some of the streets and cities, Jeff, that are underneath this. You know, this includes Delray Beach, Gulfstream, Boynton Beach, you know, the major roads, US 1, 95, the Turnpike. I mean, if there's any really good news here with a hurricane, and it's hard to find, is that everybody's already hunkered down indoors. Yeah. There's shutters on their homes. I mean, this is an ideal situation if a tornado were to come in because everybody's in a safe place right now. Nobody's on the highways this afternoon. We got the curfew for the entire Palm Beach County area. So we're getting these tornado warnings, but I mean, at some point, we know these are just part of the hurricane activity coming in.
Yeah, and you know, we should mention that even if you're not in a tornado where the winds are, you know, gusting over 100, you're in the hurricane bands where the winds are gusting to 80. So either way, either way you slice it, there's damaging winds out there. Obviously, the tornadic winds are a little bit stronger and a little bit more damaging.
That was our director.